just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to an episode of Bloke in a Bar. And don't forget, we will be reviewing Origin as soon as Game 2 finishes live on YouTube, so be there. Also, a massive shout out to Engage for sending me some new threads. Appreciate it. Oh, man, I love my Engaged threads. So thank you, Engaged. Go check their stuff out. They've got some great, cool rugby jerseys, or like that. At least they look like rugby jerseys on the site right now. But let's just get straight into it, shall we? Let's get straight into it. Let's face a bit of music brought to you by our friends over at Sports. But give us a follow. I'll put my Origin same game multi on. You can copy that. Hammy, how you going, mate?
Yeah, look, I've been better.
Yeah.
The only appropriate response when your team gets flogged 68-0 is to flee the country for 3 weeks. So that's exactly what I'll be doing tomorrow. So perfect timing for that trip. But I thought...
Running away from your problems is a very Tigers thing to do.
Yep. Only appropriate course of action. But especially when you sat through all 80 minutes of it out there.
Oh, you were out there.
At the 10th wonder of the world.
Oh, my God.
I took friend of the show, Sammy Phillips, out there. He goes, oh, you know, it's out there. I don't really want to go. I was like, come on, I've got some tickets. And dragged him out there for his one game at Combank of the year.
I just like to clarify something. He's not a friend of the show. He's an enemy of the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sam Phillips is an enemy of the show.
Speaking of Sammy Phillips, obviously well known for jumping ship, bandwagoning, et cetera, et cetera.
No
I
spying.
believe you lost
Not
a
funny.
bet over the weekend that will essentially see you in the last 3 weeks of the season. 1 week wearing a Manly jersey and the next week wearing a Panthers jersey.
Yeah, that's right. Flaxy came to the party and he said if the Panthers 13 plus the Tigers, me and Mort from win, learn or draw have to go to round 27, also at Combank. To be fair, it is a neutral venue. The away team's got a really good record in that fixture over the last, as of the weekend anyway. So hopefully we can put it on him next week. But yeah, we've got to wear Penrith jerseys.
So what
to
did
round
he?
27.
What was the bet that he had?
So if the Tigers won, he wasn't allowed to cut his hair for 12 months from June 7th.
So it's
this
pretty
year.
extreme. Okay.
It's very extreme. So
Yeah, okay.
He probably in the big scheme of things, he probably let us off easy. But yeah, I will have to wear a Penrith
You
jersey.
see the West Tigers put their raw stuff out on the Panthers bench
Oh
to
yeah. Before
teach
the
them a
game,
lesson.
Yep, that taught him.
You showed him.
Yeah. It was tough stuff. But I thought, listen, I will come in today. I'll do face.
Do you have a Tigers clap curse right now going on?
It hasn't gone particularly well for us since that moment. There's
Yeah.
probably a few other factors as well. You know, the captain signing with a new team around that time also.
Yeah.
There's been
Yeah.
a few factors that have probably come into play, but it's been a tough.
I'd like to say it's a Tiger clap curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, he flew too close to the sun.
Bulldog Richie's certainly running with that at the moment.
Maybe read it. It's a story about Icarus flying too close to
Yes.
the sun. Maybe Tigers fans just have a little dabble on that one.
Yeah. Back at Leichhardt this weekend, though, so I'm sure we'll 13 plus the Titans.
And don't forget, NordVPN Defense Player of the Week. It is back.
Is this a farewell to Leichhardt this weekend? Or is
It is
last
for
a while?
18 months or whatever. Yeah,
right.
while they do it up. But yeah, so I thought I'd come in, do face the music. I'd also face my own music for the Tigers.
Wasn't forfeit like the weekend.
Oh, come on. That is a low blow. A low blow. I'll come here, do face the music for the Tigers performance. Then I'll have to bounce to get ready for the trip. So,
Coward stuff.
apologies.
Yeah.
I'm happy to stay for the Broncos game as well if you want to do that off the top. But we'll get to that
Man,
when we
the
do.
Titans, how good are they looking? That club has turned around.
They're looking pretty good. We'll sort them out on the weekend though. All right, first game. Manly 28 defeat Souths 14. Fosball extended. Well done to Manly. A lot of loves on the panel from Souths though. Only Roo took his beloved Manly head to head for $1.57. Well done, Roo. Friday night, this was a great game. Storm 32 defeat the Warriors 30. I was the only one to get any points here. I had the Knights plus 4.5. Cracking game. Second game on Friday. Raiders 0 defeated by Chooks 26. Only Kempy got points in this one. Chooks head to head, $1.67. A lot of love for the Raiders on the panel. Roo had Raiders 13 plus, not quite, mate. Then we get on to Super Saturday.
Well, I missed by 39 points.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yep. Super Saturday. Cowboys 14 defeated by Dolphins 40. Matty took the Finns head to head for $1.61. I took them 13 plus for $3. Broncos 23 defeated by Titans 28. Kempy took the Broncos head to head. Got a $1.36 pot beat. Well done, Kempy. Rue and myself had the Titans plus 9.5, which was an absolute steal. Matty had the Titans 1-12 for $4.40.
Nice, Matty.
Good going, Matty. Tigers 0 defeated by Panthers 68. Kempy took the Panthers head to head. Well done, Kempy. $1.22 there. Matty took him to cover the 12.5. Good stuff. Rue, you went Panthers 1-12, so try to get a bit cute with it there. We get on to Sunday. Sharks 34 defeat Dragons 12. No points for anyone. A lot of love for the Dragons. Kempy, you did like the Sharks. Again, a bit too cute. You had them 1-12. And then for the last game, what a poo slinger this was. Dogs 14 defeat Eels 12. No points. We all like.
You know what they should do? You know how we've got classic matches? They should have classic slingers.
Oh, yeah.
And they replay them on Fox League of just like the biggest slingers you've ever seen. That would rate.
Well, how about the KO Mini?
The KO Mini had the kickoff, and then it had the video referee decision in the 39th minute. Nothing in between.
That's fucking
Fucking unbelievable. It is so impressive.
We came in here yesterday to do Winley on a draw. We were just talking about it in the green room. And Yvonne Sampson at halftime goes, all right, we're going to take a break. First half highlights coming up right after this. I'm like, what are they going to show here? What are they actually going to show? Anyway, not a great game. Round 14 results. Matty, $7.91. Myself, $6.80. Roo, $3.47. Kempy, who, by the way, is tipping properly now, $2.89.
No, I'm tipping properly this week. I'm tipping properly this week. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I
Oh,
said
good to
last
know.
week, I was like, I'm tipping properly next week.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Overall, Roo, $118.83. Myself, $114.93. Matty, $104.80. Welcome to the 100 Club. Daylight, Kempy, $65.48. And Timmy Williams, who hasn't been playing for 2 months, $45.72.
Yeah. Well,
Yep. Good
you win
stuff.
some, you lose more.
You do. You
do.
certainly do. Now, while I'm here, maybe we should lock in our tips for
yes.
this week as well. Thursday night, we've only got a shortened round this week, but Thursday night, we've got the Rabbitohs $1.44. They will host the Brisbane Broncos $2.81. 6.5 is the line out at a course stadium.
By the way, how are we monitoring how he's putting in his tips for the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, I thought while I'm over there,
Is that an allegation of not being able to trust that bloke?
Without a doubt it is.
Wow.
I thought maybe what I'd do is send Matty a walk and talk style video
With a newspaper in it to show it's
with a copy of that day's newspaper.
Each Monday?
Yeah, like Monday morning your time. I'll get it to you before the show starts, and Matty can play it, roll it in. Thoughts?
Yeah,
Yeah,
love it. Yep.
sure.
All right, sweet. So yeah, what do we like for this first game?
Broncos head dead.
281. Yep.
Give me the Bunnies 13 plus.
250. Tommy.
Yeah, I'll follow Ruin there.
250. Yep. Matty. Okay, Matty's going to text him too. I'll just yell it out.
I think he said Broncos 13 plus.
The acoustics in here are terrible.
Super margin.
What? South 13 plus.
Broncos 13 plus.
Yeah.
Are you
South
worried
one.
that Tommy might catch you this season?
That'll be good.
Listen, first of all, you're speaking to the reigning premier. You're speaking to the reigning premier. And I don't appreciate it.
Premiership hangover.
Look, it's been a tough... Look, I had to clean my son's shit off the floor this morning, all right? So let's just go easy. Let's just go easy on poor old B.
Yeah, I've had to clean your shit off the floor of this bloody spreadsheet for the last 14 weeks as well. All right, Matty's going to take a minus line. I'll take him minus 6.5 as well. Dolphins versus the Roosters as my laptop shits itself. Let me get it up on my phone.
Roosters $2.11. Dolphins $1.73. 1.5 is
Yeah.
the line.
Dolphins playing some sexy footy at the moment, I got to say.
I'll just go Dolphins head dead.
Yeah, $1.73.
Give me it's Origin. Shit. Yeah, give me Dolphins head to head.
Yep.
I'll back the Bondi Wall in. Roosters head to head.
Yep, 211. $1.73. I'll take the Dolphins head to head as well, $1.73. Then we get on to the Warriors. They host the Sharks, $1.35. The Warriors, the Sharks, $3.25. The line is 8.5 points. Geez, that's a big price for the Sharks. Warriors Origin affected.
So they got so much depth though. I'll go Warriors 1 to 12.
Yeah. Warriors 1 to 12 get you 290.
Warriors 13 plus.
220?
Yeah, was 13 plus.
Yep. Which is 8.5. I will take the Warriors minus 8.5 as well. Eels versus the Raiders. Eels $2.22. The Raiders $1.67. The line in this one is 3.5 points.
Raiders 13 plus.
Raiders 13 plus will get you 315.
Raiders 1 to 12.
$3.
Raiders to cover.
Yep. Yeah, I'll take Raiders 1 to 12 at $3. Then we get on to Sunday at the 8th one of the world. Tigers, I don't know about this. Tigers $1.42 favourites after what they served up on the weekend. The Titans $2.87. The line is 7.5 points.
Titans 13 plus.
Titans 13 plus get you $7.
Give me Titans head to head.
287. Yep.
I'll go cute. I'll go Titans 1 to 12.
Oh no.
390.
Picking Tigers. Oh no.
Titans head head.
Oh no.
I hate the price, but I'll go Tigers 13 plus $2.45. All right, Origin.
That's fucking so shit.
Origin.
245 for a 13
Yeah.
pluser.
I don't know what's going on there, but got to support the boys. All right, Origin as well. Give me your result. Give me the man of the match as well. New South Wales $1.79. Queensland, $2.07. The line's 2.5 points. And then give me your player of the match also.
Queensland head-to-head and Kalen Ponga, man of the match.
Kalen Ponga, $10.
New South Wales 1-12.
That'll get you $3.15.
And give me Cam Murray MOM.
Cam Murray, I whacked him on the feed earlier today, $41. He's 34 now. Still not starting though, apparently. Good stuff.
Team started. Blues 1-12, and I'll back Teddy in his man of the match. I was going to say Haumole, but that was taken out of my hands.
Give me his rations. Teddy, $8.50. Matty? Blues on a 12, $3.15. Payne Haas, $10. I will go Queensland head to head, and I'm going to chuck Cam Munster down there in Melbourne at $13 dues. Although Selwyn Cobbo, if he plays like he did on the weekend, $41. Worth a look as well. But Cam Murray. Cam Munster for me.
Alrighty, boys, let's get into it, shall we? Origin chat. Let's get into it. We'll go straight to New South Wales. Huge news. Now, we all probably were aware that Strange was going to be put to the bench. Moses come straight back in. I think we've all said our opinion on that quite a bit. So let's just get straight into Olakau'atu. Now, if you want our opinion on that, just go back to some of these other shows, guys, like Packer Up Boys or Guru Show. You'll see our opinion on the Strange thing. I think we all kind of agree. We're quite surprised that Moses comes straight back in, out of position, over a guy that was one of the men of the matches. But the huge news is Olakau'atu being dropped from the side. So he is named at 20th man. And the Bushranger Battler of the Week is Olakau'atu. It's brought to you by Bushranger Power Equipment. Tough, reliable gear, built for hardworking Aussies. Whether you're on the tools, on the land, or sorting the backyard on the weekend, Bushranger is built to get the job done. Dylan Lucas goes from 20th man last game, all the way into the starting side. Now, I want to be clear, this is absolutely, we have been Dylan Lucas's champions on this podcast for years, saying that he'll play Origin. So it's no knock on Dylan Lucas. He could go in and absolutely kill it. I am shocked beyond belief. Now, if you said to me, I'm going to move Olakau'atu to the bench, because he's such a big body, we want him to come on there for 20 to 30 minutes and just go crazy, I would say, okay, I get it. Like, I can get on board with that. But to remove him from the side just point blank and Lucas come all the way in, I think it's outrageous. And I think that if you're a Blues player, you're sitting there going, I genuinely don't know if I'm getting selected next week. Unless your name is like Nathan Cleary, Mitchell Moses, Payne Haas, and maybe Toto, you genuinely could get dropped no matter how well you play in game one.
I think this is an insane decision. Genuinely insane. It is, we've spoken about it, in the green room before this today. It's so crazy that we haven't even got to Cam Murray not playing lock again. And the way that I look at this as well is that he has essentially made a decision to pick Mitch Barnett, who has played no football in 6 weeks, over Olakau'atu, who I think is arguably one of the form forwards of the competition.
It's insane.
It's crazy. He was, if you go back and watch that first half when we were getting absolutely decked in the first half, he was our best player on the field. He was incredible. His line speed was sensational. Did he struggle at the back end of the game? Yeah. Poor coaching. You left him out there too long. He's fucking waving at the sideline, telling him he needs to come from the field.
I agree with you, because this is what I don't get. How can you not know that Olakau'atu would fatigue in Origin? Like, how could you not know that? We were saying before there was a ball kicked that he will fatigue because he's such a big body.
And if you didn't know that, he fucking told you during the game. He was, how did I know from my lounge in Alexandria? But you didn't know in the coach's box.
It's bizarre.
Insane. Like, you've got Victor Radley sitting on the bench, who was great, by the way. Good pick. He's played right edge a heap. Use him there.
Makes no sense whatsoever. And then, so you've got a guy that arguably was in your top 5 players. He ran for the most metres of any forward in New South Wales, in Olakau'atu. And you've got another guy called Ethan Strange, who was essentially your best player. That's 2 of your top 5 players that essentially are being replaced by 2 players that haven't played rugby league in a month, essentially. Like, I know Barnett's played a little bit, but essentially haven't played in a month or so.
Barnett didn't back up after Origin. They played the Sunday night game. That's a nod to where Barnett is out, in my opinion. Even take it a step further, like we're picking Mitch Moses at 5'8". He didn't play for his club yesterday. They named that team almost a week before that. It was a Monday game. They named it on Tuesday. They didn't even name him in the squad. They didn't even give him an opportunity to play. And 8 days later, we're expecting him to back up in Origin after not playing in 5 or 6 weeks. I can't make any sense of it whatsoever.
And what's crazy, and look, both Moses, Lucas, and even Barnett could go out and kill it. It's more the argument against the thought process. Like, what is the clear thought process with these selections? If you're a player trying to play for your state in New South Wales, at least, for example, when Michael Maguire made some controversial selections for the Blues, you could see the thought process. So when he picked Jakey Trbojevic, it was pretty clear he was selected as a spiritual leader because he came on, he played 15, 20 minutes and he got brought off. He was brought there for the intangible things. With this one, I don't know. I've got no idea what the thought process is. And the message it sends to a prospective Blues player is there are certain guys with mortgages on the jersey and then there are certain guys who can go out and play really well but still get dropped.
Mate, I would pay so much money to hear what Laurie Daly has said to Olakau'atu. Because he's come out in the media about Deluge and says, he's playing good footy, he deserved it. If I'm Olakau'atu, I'm sitting there going, what in fuck's name have I been doing?
What did you watch the weekend? 136 post-contact meters, 266. Olakau'atu was the player of the round, literally.
Genuinely insane. I cannot make any sense of that whatsoever. And this also, as we've mentioned before, this also means he's essentially chosen Mitch Barnett as a starting player instead of Olakau'atu in the team. Pick Cam Murray at 13. Yo in the front row. Solves your problems.
It's bizarre. And like what, Olakau'atu can't come in the middle for 20 minutes if you need him to? Like you're telling me that he can't play through the middle? Tommy, what do you think, mate?
I think it's the worst selection decision in Origin history by a mile. Like, I'm sorry, I'm actually serious.
You're
like,
too young to remember the 8 in a row, my friend. But you're too young to remember the 8 in a row properly. But
in your lifetime.
I grew up during the 8 in a row. It was awful. I just think that like it's probably not even an argument now that Haumole is the form back row of the comp. You could make a very strong argument he's the form player of the comp. And there's some great back rows getting around. Like, we've got a couple of them there. Like, as you guys alluded to, it's not a knock on Dill. Like,
he's a gun.
The whole state's behind him.
Yeah.
I know he'll do well. It's more the idea that Haumole's not in the team whatsoever, like you guys said. I don't understand. Like, we would value him so much. For most of that game one, there was like 2 or 3 guys on the field for us that were actually playing objectively good footy. It was Ethan Strange, Haumole, Hudson. Then you had a couple of guys, like say like a Tolu, who was solid, but we were getting dominated, right?
Maybe Cleary you could throw in there as well.
Cleary, sure. But again, like we didn't even get to a kick, so like a lot of what makes Cleary super valuable, he wasn't getting a lot of opportunity to show it early. But 2 of those guys I just said aren't even in our team now, seemingly. Like I know Strange is on the bench, and I still hold hope that maybe they have a plan to use him anyway, but when you look at the bench, that doesn't make any sense because you've got Appy there, so you assume he gets used.
Especially if AFB's there.
100%.
You know, if AFB has been selected over Olakau'atu as well.
Haumole hasn't missed a tackle since round 9.
But how could you...
We're going into round 15 for those playing at home.
How could you look at game 1? AFB's second stint was amazing relative to the first one when he came on with Brayley. You can have a guy like Appy there. If they're going to come on together, I get it. So he obviously started that first game. Payne was out. Payne comes in. AFB off the bench makes a lot of sense to me. I get it. Rads was great. Given it was 22-0 on the field when Cam Murray was on the fucking field in our favour, granted, there was a send-off, but momentum definitely evened out when Cam came on. Just start him. Like, put Yo at front row, like Roos said. That gives you that extra bench spot. You probably don't need to carry someone like a Barnett. Like, it's not fair on guys like Barnett and Dill too. Like, they're in a little bit of a different situation. I think Barnett's just underdone at the moment. I think Dill's absolutely ready for Origin, but fuck, like, to throw him in there at the expense of the form back row of the comp, let's say we do lose, like, puts him in a very awkward position that he doesn't deserve to be in. Like, I think he deserved to be on the bench there, ready to sort of cover when Haumole needs a break. Like, that just makes sense to everyone in the state except for the guy that's coaching the state.
What do you feel like if you're Olakau'atu when you get that call?
Well, you're devastated. You're shocked beyond belief, and you like. I cannot believe we just fell arse first into an Origin win, which doesn't happen very often. We were not the better team and we won. I reckon you can count on one hand how many times that's happened in Origin history. We had to make changes, and he's gone through this entire side and he's dropped all the guys that had a red hot crack in game 1. He's dropped all the guys that were the reasons why we didn't get beat 40-0. It is I don't know, mate. Leading into game 1, I got a lot of messages. People, oh, you're a daily hater. It's on New South Wales. It's like, fuck. How can you not? How can these decisions not piss you off? How can you piece any of this together and make sense of it? We should have got flogged in game 1, and we've taken nothing from it whatsoever.
Yeah. Look, I think the only thing that will, I guess, soften the blow is if the Blues win. Like, and I know it sounds silly to say and maybe a little bit unfair, but like, even if you win, I still think this is a wrong call. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you win, I feel like you could have won with Olakau'atu out there as well in the side. Like, and you could have had a Blues back rower that's all locked into the state for the next decade. I'm not saying he's not going to be locked in, but, you know, there is a history of current players that have been pissed off with the way they've been handled with the Blues over the last 5 years. Have you just added another one? Like, unnecessarily?
You know what, though, Kempy, to your point there was a certain guy who played, he was a Manly Sea Eagles legend, and at a certain point was quite disgruntled and just went, fuck this, I'm not going to play, I'm going to play club footy. Which I think most people growing up, if you're around rugby league, if you're New South Wales or you're Queensland, everyone wants to play Origin, everyone loves Origin. Part of me sits here and looks at Haumole at number 20 and just thinks, fuck, good on him for still wanting to be there, which I know sounds crazy because it's Origin.
Yeah.
But it is such an unjust, ridiculous, illogical pick. Like, not only has he been the best player for his club, who they're probably the most loved club at the moment by other fans outside of
their
their
top
own,
four side form-wise right now.
Like, they're right up there. He's at the front of it. Not only is that the case, in game one, he was probably our best player in terms of when you look at the whole game. Like, I know Cleary was instrumental and Strange and that at the back end, but when we were getting dominated, he still had a couple of, he led the kick chase, ran really strong, defended well. We lost him when he went off. It was almost like, fuck, we might not get away with this now. You know, it's crazy.
Now let's talk about the positive though. With all that being said, I'm stoked to see Dylan Lucas in Origin. He's a gun, and I think look, guys, people listen to this podcast, you guys know that just because we're speaking about being frustrated with the dropping of Olakau'atu does not mean we aren't stoked for Dylan Lucas and think he's going to do a good job. I think he's Origin made. I think he'll kill it.
Yeah, two things can be true.
Yeah.
It's a bad decision, but Dylan Lucas should be in the side. We said after game one we'd all have him on our bench.
Well, I would have had him in my bench before even game one.
Completely agree, yes. Yeah. And had he been on the bench in game one, I would have used him. I would have put him on the field because we needed someone
as soon as
like him.
Olakau'atu went like this, boom, Dylan Lucas is straight on the field.
Dylan Lucas is a great player. He is going to fit in perfectly. He's going to do a great job there. It is just the fact that it's at the expense of Olakau'atu that I cannot make any sense of. But great story for Dylan. You know, he's come from, I think he sort of played in the lower grades up there as Newcastle, winger, centre, came in. Really wasn't that long ago. He's had injuries, all this sort of stuff. I think it's unreal. And he's a guy that I look at, similar to when Hudson Young debuted, that I look at and I just go, I know you're going to be a Blue for a long time. So I'm over the moon for Dill. He 100% deserves it. It is just the fashion that the way it's been done that I just, and I like, mate, there's almost a point of me that I almost feel sorry for Dylan Lucas, that this is how he gets his debut. He's earned it. He deserves it. But all the talk is going to be about Olakau'atu, and it's unfair on Dylan Lucas.
Yeah, I'm with you. Alrighty, that was the Bushranger Battle of the Week, brought to you by Bushranger Power Equipment. Tough, reliable gear built for hardworking Aussies who get stuck in and get the job done. We'll be back next week with another player doing the hard yards. Anything else quickly on Stoke for Casey McLean?
Yep, unreal. Deserves his opportunity there. He'll do a job for us without a doubt. I just also, and I don't know, I feel like rugby league's constantly doing this to me and making me feel like an old man yelling at a cloud constantly, but I can't believe we didn't name a team last night.
It's so strange.
It's like, sure, if you don't want to do the show and do it properly, fine, but don't, like the alphabetical list, and I've had people mention me, oh, they do it in sports around the world. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Let's do our sport properly. This, name the team. Give it, they've come out and named it this morning. I mean, as far as I can tell, the only thing that has changed is that Stephen Crichton wasn't available. I'm sorry, is Casey McLean going to kick rocks and lose his mind because he wasn't the first choice centre behind one of the greatest centres the game has seen? Just a lot of things that have gone on this series that at the moment have just been blanketed by a very lucky win in game one that I think has to change in the future for the Blues.
Mate, the way we treat the crown jewel of domestic sport in this country is bizarre.
It's insane.
We're talking about something that is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and we're releasing alphabetical orders and the team sheet. There's no live show for it. There's no big build-up. Kind of just gets put on social media. It is so strange how I guess kind of backyarded all this. It's all just kind of throw it out there. It's like, mate, we're past that as a game. We are a professional game.
Yep.
We can't have this old school, she'll be right. It's a big profession now. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for she'll be right, but not something as big as this deserves the
happens
proper...
3 times a year.
Yeah.
It is the absolute apex of the rugby league mountain. Let's fucking get it right.
Yeah.
Or get it close to right.
It's the only, it's one of the clear things where you could say, we are better than every other sport in the country when it comes to Origin. Like, it's a clear winner against AFL, against every other sport, and yet we treat it like it's a fucking second thought kind of stuff. Like, yeah, sorry, out there, fucking.
And you know what? Like, I as I said last week, when it comes to the show, I think they should do it. But I can understand from the coach's perspective, because of situations like that, you might want to wait. But why is the Blues team dropping at 9 a.m. on a Monday, or in this case, a fucking Tuesday morning? Like, if you don't want to name it the night before because you want to check injuries, fine. 7 p.m. Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Do it properly.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what's funny too, though? Like, just do something. Like, people froth Origin so much. It wouldn't matter what you did. Like, even if you did a show and it was objectively shit, no one cares.
Yeah.
If there was a bit of occasion around it, like,
Yeah.
people would still froth it. The other thing I will say too, just quickly about the Dill Lucas thing, as much as we just spoke about Haumole, we've seen other back rollers come in, be used as a bench middle, or I think at least for Dill, from looking at the side, unless something goes wrong, he probably will get an 80-minute crack, which I think suits him.
That's why I think he's been selected.
Yeah.
But what happens if there's an injury? Like what? Like
Well, I think they would do what
you
they
go Radley, but you could have had Olakau'atu go on fucking
100%.
mental coming off the bench.
And again, like, Haumole should have been starting, and then you have Dill there as cover. But I'm just saying, from Dill's point of view, at least he's coming in and he's like, look, for my club, I did my best work as an 80-minute
you know
back
what
rower.
frustrates me the hell out of that? Not from a Dill. Oh, you're totally right. Like, Dill has been put there to play 80 minutes.
Yep.
How did you not know that Olakau'atu couldn't go 80 minutes in Origin?
so-
Like, it is basic physical anatomy. He is too big and has too much muscle mass to go 80 minutes in Origin.
Or at least, if you thought he could, have a plan in case he can't.
Like,
We seemingly didn't.
it's bizarre to me. It is bizarre. Like how you couldn't sit there and go, there's no way a bloke that big's going 80 minutes. Like, it's just not going to happen, especially if he's going to get himself involved. Like, if he goes 80 minutes, it's because he's conserving himself. That's what I just don't get. Like,
And I think that's the other nod, as much as I complimented it last week, that was the other nod to, I don't think they had a plan around it, is that they didn't even use the middle forward they had sitting on their bench in Jacob Saifidi.
like Matty Burton
That's the
got
other
on.
thing as well. You didn't even use one of your middle forwards last game. You've added Payne Haas to the squad, and we still can't find a spot for Olakau'atu in our team. Like, I cannot believe we're going into game 2 and we've got Olakau'atu, who will be in a tracksuit, and then we've got Ethan Strange, who all going to play and will not get on the field.
Yeah.
2 of our 3 best players coming out of the luckiest fucking win Origin's ever seen. We're good.
Yes.
so
You've also got 3 middles there, like Payne coming in now. You got Payne, Isaiah, and Murray, who could play for 5 days on a field if they
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah. And Radley too.
And Rads, yeah, exactly. Fuck.
This is where, once again, I'll be over the moon if we win. I'll love it. But I look at this side and I look at what happened in game 1, and if we do win, it will be the most hollow victory in Origin history. And that kills me to say that. But is there any pushback on that?
Yeah, game 1 has really soured like this.
It's
whole
soured the whole
situation.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if we win game 2 and then you win game 3, I think that might like
Yes.
cover it a little bit because you had to go up to Suncorp and things were evened up. So there's this like even playing field going into game 3 to a degree. But yeah, it has kind of like because it was a touch and go decision. Who the same guy that made that decision and overruled the bunker literally didn't even penalise a guy for doing one worse that weekend. I think that's just like put a bit of a. I think if it evens up and you go to game 3 and you win up in Suncorp, I think it'll feel great. But yeah, I'm stoked for Dylan Lucas. Payne Haas obviously comes straight back in. I tell you what, it is the first year in a long time, probably since the Fox, but even then, I'm trying to think of the centres you had, but it's the first year where you guys have had true speedsters in the back line. Like, Staggs is quick, McLean is quick, Kohler is quick. That is super interesting.
Yeah, there's some movers out there, without a doubt.
Usually it's big boppers on the bench for you boys.
I think as well, this halves pairing is going to be interesting. I think what I did like about game 1 when we got to it is that it was clear. This is Cleary's team. Strangey, you run the football. That was as clear as it possibly could be. I do still have a fear that it is going to get a little bit murky between these two, especially if Mitch Moses isn't training properly until later in the week. I will say this, I do like that Laurie Daly has, I heard Brad Fittler talking the other day and he sort of said, as long as Mitch Moses is okay by Saturday, that's enough. I don't think that's enough time, personally. I like that Daly has said Thursday's the deadline.
Yep. Good to get early.
And if Mitch isn't 100%, which I've got to really question with Parramatta's season on the line yesterday afternoon, when he had the long turnaround to play there, they didn't even name him a week before. I just find that bizarre.
One thing I will say, and look, I still think Mitchell Moses, I would have picked him at 6 game 1 before Strange had his incredible game. If you go back to the one game he has played at 6 for New South Wales, he ran for 30 metres. Like, he didn't play bad, but he actually didn't really do that much. He was almost unnecessary to what they... Now, they still won the match, which is the most important stat. But Cleary ran for 100 metres, and Cleary was the one that played really well in that game. So, like, there is that. There is that.
I think, though, like, with that, he kicked really well that game.
Even in that game, he did... Cleary still kicked for way more metres.
He was the main kicker, yeah. But I think Moses and Cleary, we've only seen them play together once. It was a good win. I think with the strange thing for this game, it's more the principle of it for me. Like, you've got Moses under an injury cloud, which is concerning, and I get that. And that's obviously, that goes without saying, that's the main thing. But then the principle of he was under an injury cloud game one. You gave Strangey 5 minutes notice. He was one of our best, if not our best. Like, I think you actually could make a very good argument across the whole game that he was just as good, if not better than Cleary. And I thought Cleary was great. Dropping him to the bench for someone who hasn't played any footy is just...
And out of position too.
That's right. It's not the right thing to do.
Like, right now, Strange has played better at 6 in Origin than Moses has.
And you know what? Like, no one really threw this out. But when everyone was talking about it, I was like, if Moses is touch and go or thereabouts, why wouldn't you just name him in the 18 spot that Strange is in?
And then bring him in.
Put Strange at 6. So you've got him there. If you decided that Cleary went down or for whatever reason you're like, we need Mitch out there, you can probably guarantee that he can give you 20, 25 really good minutes if he had to, or have him as cover if it's that important to you. But then you've got, like, in saying that, you got Katoa there ready to go too. So the idea that he hasn't played any footy, and it was the case, like, people were forgetting, he was under a cloud going into game one. It wasn't like that rogue. They reported on it like it was rogue on the day that he pulled out, but everyone knew it was coming. So that was 3 weeks ago. He's still touch and go. It's just it's the principle of it for me. But if you're Strange, you're just scratching your head. You know, if they go out and play relatively well, when does he get another crack? Strange.
Yeah. Or if they don't win this and we go to a decider, who's the 5-8 in game 3?
We have to go Strange, but
you have to go Strange, don't you?
They've proven that they won't.
But that is ridiculous because, like, you know what? And this is the thing, and I hate being a Blues guy who says this, but Queensland's always had this unwritten rule where if you've done the job, we trust you, and you go again. That's sort of always... I can't remember a single example in Queensland's history where they would have done something like this, outside of maybe if someone had filled in for Cooper Cronk and he was 100% fit, ready to go.
Well, this is what it would be like. And Munster has a far bigger resume in Origin than Moses, so it's actually not even a one-for-one comparison. But I'll grant you, it would be like Queensland win game 1 and Munster comes in for Sam Walker. Because it's Munster playing out of position at 7 rather than... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so... anyway, look... It's just the thought process. I think my main thrust of the argument is, if I'm a Blues player, I have no idea what it actually entails to be selected for the Blues. And funnily enough, we'll get to Queensland now. I actually am getting in the similar vein of thought with Queensland at the moment, because for many years, Billy Slater would say, form, we pick players, they've got to be up to the Queensland jersey. They've got to be setting the standards that's worth a Queensland jersey. I mean, Reece Walsh literally said it himself. He picked Shibasaki game 1, Ezra Mam game 1. He's now brought Reece Walsh in for I guess Kalen Ponga is a 7 if Sam Walker goes down. And he's also Britton Nikora, who has been indifferent in club, and actually I thought he struggled a little bit game 1, is starting. I've got to be honest, it's one of the first years where I've disagreed with Billy before, like in his selections, and clearly proven me wrong how good he's been. But it's one of the first seasons where I said, "What's your reasoning here?" Like, if your true intangible thing was you have to have all of the not even tangible, sorry, tangible thing was you have to meet these certain levels to wear the Queensland jersey. Is that can no longer be true with some of the selections that have been made? Yeah,
I think though, based on the last couple of years, Billy still has my trust in terms of, like, I'll admit I'm the first guy before game 1, and I'm a massive Sam Walker guy, but I was like, as if you couldn't have gone with Clifford. But watching them play game 1, the way they were using Harry Grant to sort of jump the wrong way, get Teddy on his bike, the early kicks, it suited Sam Walker. And having quick guys in the centres that can chase those kicks, like, made a lot of sense.
See, I'm okay with Sam Walker, but, like, how did Ezra and Shibasaki get selected last week?
They were there as cover. I don't know if he just looked around and thought, these guys have done it in Origin before. If they're there as cover, I trust them.
I could understand Reece Walsh because of his history.
100%.
You go, okay. But, like, Ezra hasn't even played Origin.
Oh, for sure. But I think we have seen him for the Broncos play a similar role when he's come off the bench and he's changed the game. So I don't know if he looked at it and based on Ezra's career to date, he thought, I think you're the best guy for that role, as opposed to having a Clifford there. I'm not sure. But with the game plan, with some of the selections, I was a bit sort of what's going on there in terms of the actual side. it made a lot of sense. Like even having back rowers that just work really hard from the inside out to counter the fact that you got two halves that aren't the greatest defenders. Like Munster this year's probably had his worst defensive year, which, you know, he's always been so good, but this year's definitely been a drop off. So that all made a lot of sense to me. The difference with the Blues, like, what was our game plan game one? Like, I know we dropped a lot of ball out of our own end. Like, if you look at the tries we scored a try for kick early as well, where Cleary put it through for Huddy Young. Outside of that, it was like them being a man down and us capitalising on it, and then a crazy play from Teddy off a bomb. Like, what were we trying to do? Like, I could see with Queensland, like, they were trying to, you know, get to their back rollers or their centres out of yardage, generate some speed through the middle. Like, it made a lot of sense. And then when they got in good ball, like, what they were doing with those kicks, and they iced all of them. Like,
Yeah, Billy's game planning is outstanding, incredible.
And
I'm
he
just
picks
a
to
bit
it.
unsure about the selection process. What do you reckon, Rune? Are you with me, not with me? Your thoughts?
Mate, I'm in so many minds with this series because there's decisions there that I don't agree with, and I also think going into game one, I think it's a completely different game. If New South Wales just hold the football for the first 20 minutes, like we essentially handed the first 20 minutes to you on a platter, and like you played good footy, but the biggest thing was you just didn't make any mistakes. You just played the ball, you just played the footy down our end. I still look at this side and think there are some issues there that if New South Wales actually get off the bus and play some footy, we could find some problems there. I'm not as negative on the Britain selection there. I'm sort of okay with it. I would have gone Fino Fuiaki starting on that edge. I think it's interesting that Max Plath has dropped back to the bench.
Bizarre.
Like I love that role that Pat Carrigan plays for Queensland, but I would have thought Ruben Cotter would have been the perfect guy to play that role personally. Yeah. Leave Plath at 13. I get it. The resume, what he did last year, Reece Walsh is incredible. What's Reece Walsh done in the last 3 weeks that is enough to put him back in? Personally, when Phil Sami burned him the other day and he didn't get anywhere near him, I thought that's the red Sharpie through him. He will not be in this team.
Or even you know, we can get into the game, but like he didn't put his body on the line of that Kinney. He could have put him. Yes, he might have hurt himself, but this is rugby league. And last year, if that was the grand final, Reece Walsh puts his body in front of Kinney there, and he does what he. And so, like again, Billy has been really strong about you have to be of this standard to wear the Queensland jersey. And can you honestly say that this year with some of the selections? That's where I'm a bit unsure.
Yeah, I think you can see a massive shift with Walsh. Like say last year, situation like that, he would have made the play where it's like, I need to stop this guy from scoring first.
Yeah.
Where body on the line, get in front. There, in that moment against Keeney, he went for the moment, well, if I come away with the ball,
It'd be great.
I score.
Hand down like that, trying to get away from the contact.
If I do scoop this though, I go the length as opposed to I need to play the percentage here. He was also so cowboy last year where it was just like there were still passes that went to ground or that he made the wrong decision, but he was just like, give a fuck, I'm going to go again all day. You know, whereas there's been a couple of times he's made errors the last few weeks where he'll stay on the ground or he'll just be so rattled. And I just think that's why it's interesting that they've brought him in. But
So do you guys agree with the fact that KP is essentially our backup 7?
Yeah, he has to be. There's no other way you can do it. It has to be.
Do you agree with that selection choice? I don't agree with it.
Oh, no, I don't agree with it at all. I've said all along. Jake Clifford should be sitting on that bench, in my opinion. I would have had him at halfback, but Sam Walker was great in game one, so credit to Billy on that decision. Once again, I am keen to see how it goes when we don't hand you 9 sets of 6 to
And
start
also when
the
you
game.
actually target our edges with big back rowers and you had Olakau'atu.
But will we? Because we've just made changes to what we should have been doing. Like I
think as well, if you're trying to target Sam Walker, I understand going with Mitch Moses, but Hudson Young isn't that guy. Like Hudson Young, like if you're trying to spot up an individual guy, Hudson Young he's a rogue. Like that's not how he plays his footy. And we saw that in game one as well.
He's not like a Boyd Corner on the edge. Boyd Corner will spot you up all day.
If you want to do that, you pick Angus Crichton.
Yeah. The game plan and everything, he's a master. He's absolute grand master. The selection criteria, I would love to know, say, why Aluki isn't in this side, you know, or I'm the Walsh situation, I can get because of his history, but I don't agree with it. Not because I don't think Reece Walsh is not a superstar. He is. More just like, I don't want Kalen Ponga in the front line. Like, I don't want him defending there. Like, what?
So, assuming that is the side that they end up running with, Plath is playing that Carrigan role. Is that right?
Yep.
And then you've got obviously Collins there, cover middle. Is Trent Leo just coming on as part of that rotation as well?
Do we think Trent Leroux got on so late in game one because that was a game situation thing? Or
Yes.
do you think...
Yeah, I think he was like, we're in the washing machine here. Let's get a good defender on to try and hold on to it a little bit.
Yes, wait, but do you think, had there not been the send-off, do you think Trent Leroux would have got on earlier? Or do you think
No.
was Billy Slater holding on to Trent Leroux for the last 15 minutes to go, okay, do I break the glass and put Ezra Mam out there or put
Yeah,
Trent
probably.
out there?
Yeah, they'd probably break the glass. Because, like, funnily enough, like, I don't want Reece Walsh there in the middle, but Ezra in the middle, in regards to, like, could he defend in the front line in the middle at a pinch, like at a number 9, 14 kind of role? Whereas I don't want to see Reece Walsh defend in the front line. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I know a lot of people get a hard on for, oh my God, we'll have Kalen Ponga and Reece Walsh on the field at the same time. But it's like, man, we've been here before. We got so many weapons. We don't need more weapons on the field.
The other one that I think could have fit that really well is Jaden Campbell.
Yeah, he defends in the front line each week, and he's a fucking magician with the ball.
Can play multiple
and he killed
positions.
it on the
Yeah.
weekend.
So I think game one, had there not been the send-off, I think Ezra would have come on. I think he would have broken the glass. I think that's why he would have picked it. Like, the Ezra pick was rogue enough that it was like, this has to be specific.
It has to be some kind of plan,
So
yeah.
I think, once the send-off happened, you just thought,
Because Ezra's speed through the middle is lightning, and he defends each week in the front line, and he doesn't mind the physicality of it. Now, granted, his reads aren't great at the moment, but he likes the physicality.
yeah, and we see him, when he played that role at the back end for the Broncos off the bench last year, he'd come on, and that was like one of the best parts of his game was
He changed
the
the grand final.
physicality in defence, just the way he went after blokes. So I get that. What would have been interesting in game one is, had you guys not been up by so much with the send-off, does he still go for a Liero to just try and hold on, work hard from the inside? Or does he put him out there if it was game in the balance sort of stuff more?
Well, it's interesting with hindsight, did they do the wrong tactic of let's hold on? Should have they gone, let's fucking Wild West it
Yeah.
and go, great, let's get Ezra out there, let's just start spinning. Because they did. They parked the bus. They thought, you know what, let's just defend it to the death.
And they almost
almost
In
did it.
saying that, to be fair, like it was a kick on the last
Yeah,
play.
for sure.
Yeah,
For
it was
sure.
crazy.
Nah, for sure. Like, I'm not knocking that at all. As I said, Billy Slater's coaching and everything he's done has been phenomenal. I think we can all agree that. I don't know what the reasoning is for some of these selections. Very similar. I don't understand some of these selections for the Blues. So I have to be fair. Like, even though I'm a Queenslander, very easy for me to sit there and talk negatively about the Blues. But I have to be fair, and it doesn't add up for me, some of these selections.
Do you not think, though, Kempy, like, and I'd be very confident this will be the same, because I've looked at sides from Queensland before and thought, doesn't make sense. As the game unfolds, it then does make sense with Billy a lot of the time, whereas with Laurie, like, that is just definitely not the case.
I honestly, and maybe it's because I'm just nervous and I want to get the win, but I think you guys are going to be surprised. If you just hold on to the fucking ball, it is going to be a much closer affair. If anything, you might actually have some fucking fun, like some, I don't know, what are the...
That is the one thing that I take a lot of confidence from in game one. We couldn't have played worse. We couldn't have started an Origin game worse.
Yeah, so I mean, like...
Stephen Crichton, Brian Toe, all these guys that are safe as houses making all these errors. Queensland scored, 2 tries off kicks in the first 20 minutes?
Yep.
There is an argument there that if we just get off the bus with the right attitude, unfortunately, it's been a bit of a trend with us.
And also, form-wise, you've 3 of the... Like, Staggs has been outstanding this season, most of it. McLean's been phenomenal. Kohler's been phenomenal. Like, you could argue, form-wise, this is a better backline, form-wise, than your game one backline. So I just think, hold the fucking ball and we're going to see a different game. I
Yeah,
really do.
and the other thing, I think we all agree, AFB, Barnett, they both missed the start in game one.
Yeah.
We're bringing Payne Haas back.
Yeah, huge.
Like, bringing Payne Haas back alone should have me feeling hyper confident.
If there's one man that Tino and Flegler, you aren't sure whether they can lock him up, it's Payne Haas. Whereas I'm pretty confident Tino and Flegler can lock up every other forward in the competition for that first 20. Payne, they can't. He's a different beast.
We just need no errors coming out of yardage. That's all we need.
Literally.
Sorry, just quickly. The other thing I don't understand, though, with Loz is, like, he's obviously, because he named Crichton. I am fully confident if Crichton had to play, he'd be able to. But he's obviously been able to make the call. Okay, well, he's clearly busted, as we've seen the last few weeks. Casey's good to go. Let's back the young kid in. Why does that not apply to the Mitch Moses strange situation?
Yeah, it's fair.
I don't get it. Like,
It's fair. Like, and you could argue... Well, you could argue Critter's done just as much as Moses in Origin, you could argue.
I would argue that Critter's done way more than Moses at Origin level.
Okay.
Like, I know he had the massive moment. That was awesome when they won at Suncorp. But across a number of years, and in terms of being a big game player, like, I think Critter's...
Well, at Clubland, he's definitely done more.
Yeah, Critter's resume is there. So the fact that he was willing to go, you know what? Even though he's busted, we'll back the young kid in. how does that not apply to like Stranger's actually like weirdly Stranger's actually like pretty sure he's a couple of years older than Casey still as well. Like I know they're both super young.
Yeah, 21 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think, I think for the roles that they're set to play in this game, I think Critter's done more in Origin as a centre than what Mitch Moses has done as a fighter.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So that,
I think,
it does
but
make
I do
sense.
think it's fair to say they've done as much as each other in Origin.
As a whole, I agree. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. Cannot wait. You guys know, if Blues come out and kill it and they win fucking 40-5, we will come out and say 40-5. My God, 40-6. We'll come out and say, well done, Laurie, you killed it. Just like last time with the Victor Adley decision and some of the other ones, we came out, we said he got it right. So, this is our judgment now. It could be totally different after the game when we get more information, and we are more than happy to put our hand up and say we got it wrong. Alrighty, time for the Code Sports Story of the Week. And guys, do not forget, use code EOFY for a Code Sports subscription, a very, very special $19 for the entire year. This is a very limited time that this is going to be a discount. Trust me, guys, $20 essentially for the whole year. You don't have to worry about paywalls anymore. Plus, I'm going to be writing my first ever article, guys. So go to codesports.com.au, use that code EOFY. Tyson, you're at camp today speaking to Laurie Daly. What's the latest, mate?
Yeah, look, there was a couple of surprises from the selection. Like, we got the squad last night, but then they did an announcement this morning with the actual team and Olakau'atu, obviously the big omission from Game 2 of State of Origin. And speaking to Laurie this morning, he's kind of just put it down to how good Dylan Lucas is. We actually didn't get a reason why Olakau'atu's been dropped. And, I mean, I asked to talk to Olakau'atu, and I got told Olakau'atu wasn't speaking today. They just put the 19 up that are going to be playing the game.
Hard to speak when your jaw's on the fucking floor.
That's like, hey, we're dropping you, and also you're not allowed to speak about it.
Yeah,
It's insane.
And I was looking forward, when the announcement came out, I was looking forward to talking to Haumole, because when there's been moments like this in Hamole's career where I remember when he ran on the field in Game 3 of Origin that year, and there's been a bit of controversy. He's always been very open to talking about it. So I would have loved to have heard his perspective, but I can reveal that all these players came into the squad last night not knowing where they were going to play, what positions they were going to be in. So I asked today a couple of the boys, like, oh yeah, when did you find out about Haumole? And they said this morning. And I said, so did you find out about Haumole this morning, as in you didn't know your position either? And they also said yes, we didn't know where we were going to be named until this morning when they got into Blues HQ before Laurie did his live stream announcement.
So he found out when he walked in, Olakau'atu. He found out when he walked in.
Yeah, so speaking to the boys, they all found out this morning.
So he's just come off essentially the best player of the weekend, outside of maybe Cleary. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I'll get your thoughts as a Blues man.
Oh, it's insane. It can't be good for team culture. I don't know. We are so lucky to be up 1-0. It's not even funny. And I just feel like we've set ourselves up for disaster.
What's the thought process? Do you know the thought process for this? Like the fact that no player knew basically where they were at until they came in?
Well, it was weird. We got word last night, probably about maybe an hour before the team announcement, that it was going to be an alphabetically ordered team or squad list, which I think Queensland used to do a couple of years ago. But yeah, the thought process, we haven't really gotten to the bottom of it. There's going to be more stuff that comes out through today and through.
Is it because they maybe wanted to keep it for their live stream? Maybe.
But they did a live stream last night to announce the squad anyway. So they did their live stream announcing the squad, and then did another live stream this morning before the press conference, saying that this was the team 1 to 20 that they were picking. Obviously, the inclusion of Mark Nwong and Ituaze and other stuff like that. But yeah, it was a strange decision. And when Dylan Lucas's name started coming up yesterday morning, which was Monday morning, we all thought that it was a perfect bench spot, right? Because he can cover in the outside backs, he can cover second row. You could probably even play him in the middle if you had to.
For sure.
But yeah, him starting, and then as a result, Haumole Olakau'atu moving completely out of the. He'll be. Manly don't have a game this weekend, do they? Or yeah, they've got a bye. He would have been able to go play for Manly this weekend if
Also could have had a holiday too, like a bit of a break from footy as well.
But it was a strange decision.
He's earned it.
Yeah, he fucking oath he's earned it.
I'd say it's the biggest shock out of both squad selection calls, to be completely honest. Like, and being at the game, a lot of people probably missed a lot of the work Olakau'atu did in game one, but he was their main kick chase leader. Every time that they put a bomb up, it was towards Selwyn Cobbo, and their goal was to get Olakau'atu one-on-one with Cobbo. Dylan Lucas is obviously a worker as well, don't get me wrong, but the fear and presence that Olakau'atu brings to this team, it's weird that's the shift.
So when Laurie Daly said, "I'm rewarding Dylan Lucas for good form," did any journo ask, Olakau'atu has also been killing it? Like, I don't understand. Did any?
Yeah, it was a back and forth, and it kind of Daly kept reiterating. Someone had to go, and that's just how the cards.
Why did
fell.
someone have to go? I don't get that.
Well, it's interesting because out of all the positions you could have changed, it felt like Olakau'atu and Hudson Young were the two safest ones from game
Especially in the
one.
forward pack. Like, you Barnett, AFB, you could go, okay, probably missed the jump a bit, so we're going to bring someone else in. Saifidi, he didn't even get an opportunity. Like,
So AFB's moved to, I think, from what I've heard, they were quite impressed when AFB came back onto the field. Obviously, his first stint was quite slow and quiet.
They weren't impressed with Olakau'atu. Oh, bro.
But then you moved Olakau'atu, and I feel really bad for Haumole. He's not only a great bloke, but just he's climbed back from his first couple of games in Origin were off the bench. He's not a bench player. You have to start Haumole Olakau'atu. He comes back into the team. He does his job, and then loses his spot after doing his job. It's going to be interesting how this kind of pans out over the next couple of days, because more will come out. Someone will get access to Haumole when he gets a chance to talk. I've got no doubt that he will voice how he feels. But yeah, it's interesting, especially when we've all heard about how the Blues won, and they're happy that they won and all that, and they were reluctant to make too many changes. But they've made a change that didn't have an injury attached to it. He's played really good since Origin 1 as well. And now we're going to see the results of it. And look, this is no flack on Dylan Lucas, because
of course not.
He's
stoked for him. Absolutely stoked.
Especially the way he's been playing the last couple of weeks. He definitely deserves a spot in the Blues, but I don't know if it's at the cost of Haumole.
Hamole's too much of a good bloke to voice how he feels about this. There's no, like, he'll do what's best for the team. Which is infuriating. Was there anything on Mitch Barnett about why he doesn't have to play games to get picked?
Well, I spoke to Mitch Barnett today, and Mitch told me he felt, he hasn't had as much footy as he needed to. I think from Laurie's perspective and from the Blues' perspective, he just brings a factor of leadership and a senior head in that team. Again, that's not my voice, that's theirs. I even spoke to Payne about Mitch, and he kind of voiced the same thing. But I mean, look, both front rowers to start that game weren't amazing. And I mean, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure that one out. But they've chosen to just move Adam to the bench. And I'm kind of keen to see what Adam can do off the bench. But Mitch Barnett was apparently never in jeopardy of losing that starting jersey.
The thing I just don't understand is, like, why does AFB and Barnett get this, like, extra life of, like, well, here's the reasons why they struggled a little bit, whereas Olakau'atu gets, like, no grace at all.
Yeah, I hope there's been some sort of admittance from Laurie Daly that things had to change from game one. Like, he owns that, I assume. The things that he's told us has to change was Olakau'atu, who played unreal, has to go. And Ethan Strange, who was also fantastic, also has to leave the side immediately.
Well, yeah, what he did say, I'll touch on the Ethan Strange part. He said about Ethan Strange this morning that, Ethan's going to be an Origin player for a long time. There's thoughts that there's going to be a time where they can insert Ethan Strange into the game, and then you're going to have Mitchell Moses, Nathan Cleary, and Ethan Strange all on the field.
And Appy as well.
And will just depending on how the game goes. You've got to think that Victor Radley will definitely get on, Cameron Murray will definitely get on, and you'd say AFB would definitely get on.
Well, probably won't. If he's Saifidi on the bench and Stranger's getting on.
I think, well, it just depends how the middle of the field goes. They were quite, when Victor went on in game one, they were quite successful around the middle of the park.
Which is a great decision, by the way. Like, I want to praise Laurie for that. That was a great decision.
He had 15 runs, a whole bunch of tackles. Victor was probably, in the top 5 best players for the Blues in game one. But you'd have to think they're they're going to have to pick between Appy and Ethan Strange on who gets on the field. They got lucky in game one. They literally could. I think they got to play everyone except for Jacob Saifidi because of the HIA. So,
but they brought Burton on.
Yeah, so they got to play every single player on the bench except for Saifidi. So they didn't use their middle replacement. But for mine, looking at that team, you have to think that either Appy or Ethan will miss out. Out of the four.
Why carry Appy then? Like anyway, okay. Any other big news breaking from the chat, mate?
Well, there's going to be heaps of Blues news all week. There was a bit of stuff I'm sure you guys have touched on around Israel Folau today with the Tigers and whatnot. So, look, it's one of the busier probably news weeks that we're going to see. So, Code Sports is where you can get all your news, and we're going to have a whole lot of Origin content.
Okay.
It was very successful today.
Awesome. Thanks so much, mate. Guys, don't forget, use code EOFY for Code Sports subscription for $19 for the whole year. You never have to go into the article and it says paywall. Like, oh, my God. $19. This discount's going to go very soon, so make sure to use it. Thanks, Tyson, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks, boys.
Alrighty, it's time for Team of the Week. And also, this is brought to you by the Buy Round because we are going to do a live stream, a 24-hour live stream. Well, sorry, they are going to do it. A 24-hour live stream on, it starts on Thursday, June. Oh, my God, those reshare things getting away on Instagram. It pissed me off. Thursday, June 25th, it starts, and until Friday, 7:50 p.m. So it starts 7:50 p.m. Thursday, and it goes till 7:50 p.m. on Friday. And I will be a part of the first game. So I'll be opening it. So be there. And this is all to raise money, partly to help Jai Arrow with his motor neuron disease situation. And then anything over the target will go to motor neuron disease research. So get around that. That is on June the 25th to the 26th. So team of the week anyway. Let's get it out. Team of the week is Kinney at the fullback position. Sammy on the wing. Bostock, Toya, Marky Mark. Jaden Campbell at 6. Cleary at 7. Lindsay Smith at 8. Harry Grant at 9. Nafua White at 10. Olakau'atu 11. Dylan Lucas 12. Connor Watson 13. Kurt Donahue 14. 15 Leota. 16 Stefano. And I thought Will Kennedy at 17. That's the team of the week. All righty, let's get into it, shall we? Manly defeat the Rabbitohs 28-14. Look, we've already spoken about the big calls, but we'll just go over it really quickly. The big calls. Thoughts on, we'll go to the no try first when it comes to Cossie's no try.
Cossie, live, I thought try, personally. I would have given it. I'm understanding rugby league less and less, Kempy.
I'm with you.
Genuinely, like, I feel like the more I'm watching, the less I understand at the moment.
It's true. Goes up as a try. You've got one angle that says that's a try. The other angle that says I'll just give you it too. It says no try. How's that enough evidence to say it's not a try?
Yep.
Tell me that.
I'm finding myself more and more often watching games going, am I in the wrong profession?
And like,
Because I don't know what I'm fucking looking at sometimes.
it's true. And also, like, sometimes they'll be like, by the book it says this. And then other times they'll be like, we'll just grey area this one.
Yep.
It's just like the Cossie one, I thought. And look, I want to be really clear. Manly were the better side, for sure. They deserved to win that game. They had 10 in the bin. Thoughts quickly, and then we'll go to the 10 in the bin.
Yeah, I think we covered it on Friday a lot. I think it's a try. I love how introspective Rue gets about this stuff. It's fantastic.
Blames himself. He goes in.
Yeah,
he goes in with first rather than blaming it on someone else.
They butcher it, but yeah, am I in the wrong profession? I thought it was a try. They should just go for what feels right. I think most people watching it were like, it looks like it's a try. Got sent up as a try. Should equal a try, but
And can we get some more frames per second? Fucking hell.
You've been big on this, and I agree. And what's the highest frame per second you've seen?
I'm in the war room on my PC on 244 frames a second. And they're going at 25 frames a second.
Oh Jesus!
I'm fucking shooting people on Call of Duty at fucking 244, baby. I'm playing Path of Exile 2 at 244. These guys are watching it's $1 million game essentially, or millions of dollars worth of rights deals, and they're at 25 frames per second. It's disgraceful.
iPhones are 60 frames a second.
Yeah, how's that happen then? Like, how can you shoot like a game reaction video at 60 frames per second, but not watch the actual?
Mate, I've got monitors that the hertz rate is matching the FPS rate.
That means nothing to me, but it sounds amazing.
same.
I don't know why I said Call of Duty because I don't play that game, but I'm playing PoE 2 right now, framed out of my mind. I see everything. It's like smooth as butter. I see everything. There's a lifetime between the frame where the ball's here and here on the screen. There's a whole lifetime happen.
Give us Edward Cossey at 244. That's all I'll add.
That's what I want to see. Edward Cossey flying down the wing at 244 with my 244 hertz monitor. Lock the frame rate, baby.
What game are you playing at the moment?
Path of Exile 2. And First Light 1 game as well. Just started playing that yesterday. Good too. And you know what? That's at about 120 FPS.
Rugby League 3 on the Wii still. So
Not even on the fucking PS.
I'm the PS2 guy.
Yeah, he's a wee guy.
I'm the next gen.
What other game am I playing at the moment? So PoE 2, First Light. There's another game, Far Ever. I played a little bit of that, but just mainly those ones right now, I think.
When are you going to stream it? When do we get to see it
I
in
just couldn't
action?
be bothered. I'm so tired when I get home. I'm just like, oh, fuck. It's a lot of work.
Even just set up an iPhone.
Do you think like the audience would be impressed with where you're at, or
Probably because like there wouldn't be that many, neckbeard, deep hardcore neckbeards there. There'd be some hardcore neckbeards, but like I think there'd be because we did do a stream and there were some impressed comments, which I was like, fuck yeah. Like I mean, I get some people say, oh, that's a great try off Lockie, but when they say, fuck, you're fucking Space Marines too, you were killing it, that actually means more to me.
I mean, it makes sense.
if you were to rank yourself as a rugby league player and a gaming player, which do you think you're better at?
Oh, rugby league player.
Rugby league,
yeah.
But by
yeah.
a distance,
by
or?
a fucking country mile, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Like fuck me.
You seem pretty keen though.
No, I love it, but like there's professional gamers out there that are unbelievable, and I was okay at footy, I guess. So I was like, there's a big difference. There's a big difference.
What if you got a full preseason of gaming under your belt? Because obviously you're one of the better
No,
civilians.
but I was fortunate with like it'd just be sport.
Yeah.
I was essentially born to play sport.
So you think you played a few sports? You think all those sports you were better at than what you are at gaming?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm nowhere near that level. Whereas in sport, like, I don't want to speak about it because I sound like a wanker. So it's just fucking, sport. I'll say sport. But anyway, just give us some frames.
That's how much I believe in you as a gamer, though.
Yeah, I like that. And you know who the hardest people to impress? They're nerds. Because they're all arrogant. They think they know everything. And I'm impressing nerds. That's,
I know you don't want to talk about yourself, but I'll just add in on my behalf. I was terrible at both.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Okay, so you weren't genetically born to play sport?
Not genetically born to play sport or gaming. Rugby League Life 4, I'm okay, but there's 3 guys in my family that are better than me. So move on.
Anyway, back to the game. The 10 in the bin. I actually thought Manly got dudded here. I watched that back a million times, and I was like, he didn't have a second crack at him. It's a one-on-one tackle. I actually, look, I don't think it was a worst call ever, but I actually didn't agree with the 10 in the bin.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a shocker by any means. I can go either way. My bigger issue was stop taking the fucking 2 points.
Oh, yeah, that's Rabbitohs.
I know it's easy to say, that's a hindsight call. No, it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't at all. I think with the way the game is played now, with the 6 agains and the way the momentum swings, all that sort of shit, you've got Cody Walker in your football team.
Yep.
You tap that football, you go.
Oh, essentially the best attacking footy side in the comp, really, in the 20 metres they should be. It was a bizarre decision. I'm sitting there just going, in today's game where, like, once you get a bit of fatigue, the likelihood of more fatigue and more errors happen, like, I was shocked at that decision.
Couldn't believe it. Yeah, I think teams need to take a lesson from it.
Well, the NRL is basically screaming at you, we want you to score tries. They're like basically saying, please score as many tries as possible. Quickly, was it 10 in the bin?
I could have lived with it either way, but I don't think any of us were sitting there thinking that game was going to be decided 8-6. So, like, the idea that you're not a fit side, but you are one of the best good ball sides in the comp. Like, what was that? I think, you guys summed it up perfectly.
The Edward Cossey try. I said it on Friday, but I'll say it again. The rugby league ball is not a rectangular prism. The belly of the ball had to have hit green before it hits white.
Well, they would argue, because one frame it's flat, then the next frame it's tilted. So they would argue, no, look, it's tilted on the next frame. But as I said, there's a lifetime between the frames, babe.
I'll say it again. The ball is not a brick. Like, it had to have hit the green. And I would argue this even if it got called up no try. But I would accept the decision because you can't 100% say, you can't 100% go either way. But they called try. Well, I'm saying you can. But, according to the letter of the law, can't do it, blah, blah, blah. And then we go up the field a minute later and, we can't use the bunker for that, which I agree with, by the way. That actually was the right call for the bunker not stepping in. But now we'll use the letter of the law. Now we'll go 100%. That's absolutely.
It's true. Like, you're sitting there going, okay, we're gonna. It used to be you have to have overwhelming evidence to be able to overturn something. But we're going to go grey area here. We're going to overturn it, even though it's essentially a 50-50 call. I don't think it's a 50-50 call, but I'll give the 50-50. Then you go up and say, nah, black and white. We can't rule on anything that's not foul play in the play, the field of play. Let's talk about the knock-on. I'm actually surprised the bunker is copping all the flack. They couldn't do anything. What I can't believe is how are 3 officials not looking at the play of the ball? Now, I'll cop 1 official not looking at the play of the ball. I'll even cop 2. All 3 weren't looking at the play of the ball. And it's not like it was this crazy quick play of the ball or it was a bobble in contact and there's all these arms over him. What were they looking at? Look, I try to give refs as much credit as possible because we without the refs, we don't have a game. It's one of the hardest jobs you can do. And they love rugby league more than anyone. Trust me, it's the most it's the most thankless job you can do because the better you are at it, the less you're noticed. But this one, I just can't give any grace because one of you should be looking at the play of the ball.
Well, there's layers to this, Kempy. So there's the fact that you're right. Like, for 3 of them to miss it isn't great. That's like the human error side of the game, though, right? Like, at some point, you're going to get... I would argue that it was a howler between the 3 of them, for sure. Why would you, when the bunker came in, and we spoke about this a bit on Friday, so I won't harp on about it, but when the bunker came in, the main thing about the game was wrestle, ruck speed. The ruck's like one of the most important things of the game. It's won and lost. Teams win comps when they win the ruck. Why would you decide that the bunker can't rule on that when it is like the most crucial part of the game? Like, everyone's like, oh, it was the right call because the rule is the bunker can't rule on it. That is ridiculous. Like, they should have been able to go, oh, he basketballed it, no try. Easy. Like, who came up with that?
I think it's also just insane by that same logic that according to the bunker, the next play starts when the dummy half touches it.
Yeah.
Not when the ball is played on that play.
So strange. And
after
also,
the ref calls held on that tackle.
Tackle
complete.
Yeah.
Then you play the ball.
Then you play the ball.
Why would it not start when you play the ball?
And what I can't... Look, I think the reason why they don't let the bunker rule on in field plays is then you could go, okay, let's look for a play the ball where he doesn't try to play it with his foot or something. And then we get into these really fucking weird areas of like the bunker is looking at every play the ball before a try and like some guy didn't touch it with his foot and it's a no try. Like I just,
to be fair, if we did that, we would have no tries in rugby league.
Exactly.
It would be Parramatta v Bulldogs 8 times.
I disagree, though, because I think it would only be on the plays where tries are scored. Because people are saying, like, if they were doing it on every play, so let's say you had it so that the bunker was going, hey, that last tackle.
But even
But that happens all the time on plays that tries are scored. They never touch the ball with their foot.
For sure. But, like, you would see players adjust the same way they did when they were harping on about it for 3 weeks a couple times each year, where they'd penalise it, right? Like, you could see teams adjust to it. Teams score tries because that extra half a metre the winger needs to get the ball down is earned by a guy not using his foot. Objectively, that is unfair. So if they rule on it properly, I'm sweet with it.
See, I think the easiest answer is, what the hell were the 3 officials looking at? That's the easiest answer.
100% it is. But you've got the tech, and then you can't use the tech. So what happens to the game? Those guys, the officials miss it. They cop more shit for missing it in the moment than the people that are watching it at 25 frames per second over and over again. Can't say anything about it, so everyone just talks about it more. Like the whole thing just contradicts itself. It makes it worse.
I think it's also one of those things that if you were allowed to rule on it and there was a general understanding by the bunker and within the NRL that they weren't going to rule if your foot didn't touch the ball, they wouldn't penalise it. I don't think you'd find anyone at a pub getting upset about it if it's the same for everyone. I think what you do find is when there's blatant knock-ons in the play of the ball.
It's a howler. Not even
And
a
we're
little
ignoring
bobble,
that. That's where people have a problem.
Yeah. I think every coach should have a fair dinkum card, and he gets to radio down. Are you fucking serious card? It's literally called the Are you fucking serious card. You get to play that once a game. Goes down to the references. Are you serious, bro? Are you fucking serious?
Might be hard to get a sponsor on board for that.
Now, in saying all that, I thought Manly were great. They were gutsy. They hung on. They had 10 in the bin, and I think that it sucks for Manly because it's being overshadowed by the Kossi and the Ben Trbojevic situation. Mate, they had a bloke 10 in the bin, and they still won the game.
Yeah.
It was a great performance from Manly. And what I like so much about this from Manly is that, look, they've been winning when momentum's on their side. You know, like everything's going great. They're in a honeymoon phase with a club legend, essentially. All of a sudden, they went into this game, essentially the first game in this whole run where there was expectation, where there was like, holy shit, we got to win. Even Jake Trbojevic said after the game, like, I was on the way to the game, and I thought, oh, crap, we actually have to win this. All the drama and craziness around it, we actually have to win this game. And so what I like for Manly is they didn't crumble under the pressure. You know, they didn't sit there and go, holy crap, we're supposed to win, therefore we're going to be nervous and make errors or whatever. They rose to the occasion and they got the W.
Yeah, obviously 2 weeks ago, a win over the Titans was a little bit scrappy. A poor loss last week to the Sharkies, so there was pressure on them. And, there was obviously all the build-up around. How good was the fucking KFC replacing the melon with
So pure.
So freaking good.
So
How good is
That's
that?
pure rugby league.
That is sensational.
Pure rugby league.
Obviously also going into a bye next week, all that sort of stuff. They found themselves down early. Once again, they put in a good kick. It was caught a metre or two out. Jai Gray makes a break. They've got Manly on the back foot. They get a player sin bin, and then South Sydney go, thank you. I think that just filled Manly with confidence at that point.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, you're basically seeing a message like, we feel like we have to take every point we can get because we don't feel like we're going to score against you.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, our defence is going to hold up.
If it's on Monday and it's Parramatta doing that, I can get around it. But if I'm Manly
Even
and I'm
the
standing
Dogs.
there and Cody Walker goes, we'll take the 2, I go, thank Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Now, before we get into more positives for Manly, some negatives. Their 3 defence is a real concern. Real concern, especially that the channel between Ben Trbojevic and Brooks. That is like, if I'm talking about somewhere to hit in the video sessions, it is right between those guys. Even a kick return between, I think it was Trbojevic and Kohler.
Correct. Yep.
Jai Gray came through. I think they scored 2 tries through that channel. And if you go back to the week before that, Billy Burns, he got 2 tries. I don't know if it was through that channel specifically, but anyway, either side, I think Manly's Achilles heel is their 3 defence right now. Everything else is quite good. That's the only little concern I have coming out of the game.
I feel like with Burbo, I watch some games some weeks and I'm like, wow, he's improved out of sight. And then I feel like every few weeks, despite how good they've been going, you still do see it. I do think it is one thing when they get to September football, the good teams will execute on it. I have no doubt about it.
Penrith will be hammering those channels.
Yeah.
But outside of that, let's talk about Olakau'atu. So Olakau'atu ran for 136 post-contact metres. That was more than all of the Rabbitohs forwards' normal metres. It was more than every single Rabbitohs' normal metres except for 2 players, Campbell Graham and Jai Gray. And Jai Gray made a line break. So you take that line break away or you just give him 10 metres and he would have run more than him. So just one player.
Underwhelming.
Drop him.
Drop him.
Yeah,
Drop him.
Drop him. No, all jokes aside, mate, Olakau'atu, what I love about Olakau'atu is that, when you're in a system, there are guys that come in that are so physically gifted and you look at them and they're these big, massive forwards and you would almost say to yourself, yeah, but I know that he's not going to work hard enough to go with me for 80 minutes or I've just got to take that first 20 minutes and then after that, and Roo, you would have seen it in the juniors as well, like these guys, they come out and they are just bigger and stronger than everyone. And in the back of your head as a smaller player, I know that I'm going to go 80 minutes because I've had to learn to do that as a smaller player, and I know they're not going to. What I love about Olakau'atu is he has taken that crazy physical ability that because they're so much better than everyone else physically, usually they become entitled to success, entitled to being the best player on the field. And there is an expectation of, like, when I go out there, give me the ball, I'm just the best. What I like about Olakau'atu is he's taken that just incredible natural ability, mixed it in with footy smarts and hard work, and what you're seeing is essentially the form back row of the comp, if not the form forward of the comp. It's amazing.
Yeah, he just ticks all the boxes you could possibly want. Just this is so jarring for me to read. But anyway, as far as I'm concerned with the way Laurie's picked this side, I think his decision he had to make, once he decided Dill Lucas was going to start an edge, it was, do I want Olakau'atu or do I want Mitch Barnett? Do we all sort of agree to some extent?
Yes.
Or AFB, you could argue.
Or AFB, sure. Mitch Barnett has played 5 games of rugby league so far this year. He's run for a grand total of 221 post-contact metres. Olakau'atu ran for 140 on Thursday night. Like, I cannot, and that's on an edge too.
Yeah.
I don't want to go around in circles here, but I just feel, my word that I've banned in rugby league, robbed. I think shut the fuck up, all of you.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I
hate the rob stuff.
if I'm Olakau'atu, I'm sitting there going, I have been robbed here.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
Imagine robbing Olakau'atu as well.
Yeah.
It's the only context it would happen. You know what I mean?
Literally. Like, what's crazy as well, it's like you can't even, usually with guys as talented as Olakau'atu, you can go, no, when you watch him closely, he doesn't trail on the inside. His defense isn't great. Look at all these missed tackles. He does all that now. He does all that. The kick chases, the hard work. On top of all that, he's the reason, not the sole reason, but he's the main reason Manly are on this run. You take him out of that side, they lost against the Sharkies, and they just scraped by the Titans. You put him back in the side, and they're a different team.
But to your point before, Kempy, as well, like there are guys like Olakau'atu who would come all the way through the pathways where they would just get picked anyway if they weren't doing that stuff. So the fact that he is so good at the effort areas of the game is like, it speaks to him. Like he has to be the one doing it because he wouldn't have been pulled up otherwise. Because there's always been enough
He'd get away
upside.
with it,
Yeah. I just think it's so unfair on him too. Like I hate that we're sitting here talking about like career best form, and it annoys me because of this selection with Origin. Like it's just what he's doing at the moment. We haven't seen it from him before, and he's starting to put a form run together. It might be one of the best that we've seen in a long time from a back rower in terms of having an impact on results.
Well, he's one of the rare players that I don't care what systems you have. If he's on, he will dominate you.
I think the other thing as well, the big takeaway here is that if Olakau'atu would have been quiet in this game, I would have been like, yeah, okay, he's got Origin next week. Maybe he's got his eyes somewhere else. Like, in my opinion, well, evidently he did, but I don't think he needed to have a big game.
No.
He should have felt comfortable as shit.
Yep. And then a game like that, and like, you know, Laurie Daly, he's a lovely bloke, absolute legend. But what I don't get is to publicly say, well, Dylan Lucas has been playing well, so he deserved it. It's like, so what's Olakau'atu been doing? What? I don't, like at least, why not say, look, Olakau'atu was really good game one, but the way our rotation's probably going to work is, and look, I know we're giving it away, but I don't think it'll change that much. We're looking for more minutes out of our edges. Like, I don't think you're giving much away by saying that, really.
I just don't understand, Kevin. Like, we've spoken about his run meters, his post-contact meters, his tackle breaks, his physical dominance. If you go back and you watch that game, and 28-14, they end up winning like semi-comfortably in the end. They scored 2 tries where he's the main ball player on a block shape, where they've sort of done the hard work early. He's been the front door guy. He's found his front. He's broken tackles, and then they use him as the main ball player, which as a back rower under pressure is so hard to do, especially when you're someone where it's like, oh fuck, we need everyone like up fast on him, otherwise like he probably still will kill us. So so he literally was the main difference in this game. Like I'm not saying they wouldn't have won without him, but like essentially, sorry, I sort of am.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, we've seen them without him.
He was so physically dominant, but then to have those touches with the ball playing, like it was instrumental in the win.
Yep.
So when you watch that and you see that he's just got so many strings to his bow, there's nothing you can knock him on.
Now, some other players, mate, that in and away that Saab did at the end. Like, I said a couple years ago, I said, physically, Saab has the ability to be the best winger in the competition. And that's what I'm talking about. A guy that big should not be able to move like that against a guy like Latrell, who is he's not a small centre. And I'm talking about Latrell, the young fellow that came in. But he's not a big centre. He's not big at all. To do that to him, Saab, as big as he is, that was amazing. Genuinely amazing.
Yeah, huge move. Yeah. I think as well with Saab, I don't know if he's put on weight over the last few years or whatever, but I just think also he's so much better coming out of his end than what he used to be. I think it's something he's really improved in his game a lot.
Huge.
I think when Fox did it a couple of years ago, you could physically just see that Fox had put on weight. But I think Saab has improved. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I feel like he's added a heap more meters coming out of his end.
Yeah, huge. And look, he still has that game or two where he'll have a brain explosion or something won't work, but he's definitely worked on his game. And I just thought that in and away was absolutely phenomenal. Who stood out for you, boys?
On the losing side, Cam Murray, obviously, instrumental. I thought he was really good. I thought another key difference in the two sides, though, was the kicking of Jamal. I thought he did a really good job of keeping Kossie in his corner. And I think the main difference in the end was Ingle Ball. Like, they were just so much better at their last tackle options than Souths.
Yep.
And again, like, it's so hard because when you're a team like Souths and you've got someone like a Cody, you really want them to lean into the fact that they've just got so much upside. They see the game a lot quicker than everyone else. Like, chance your arm, have a go. But I think it cost them a couple of times where they did, and it was defended well. And then rather than build some pressure or go to the air for someone like a Campbell Graham, then they ended up just giving Manly, I guess, a bit of a relief out of trouble. I thought Cam Graham was really good as well, but I just thought he was unfortunate with... he worked really hard. As you mentioned before, he ran for, I think it was their most meters. Maybe Jai pipped him because of that line break. But he was right up there, but he had a couple of drop balls that just happened to lead to...
And he's out for a while now.
Out for a month there, Campbell Graham. So you would assume that means Tallis goes back to centre. Ewan Aiken probably comes in on the edge.
Disappointing not.
I thought it was interesting, Tallis on the left edge, Dave Fafita on the right. They obviously started the season with Dave Fafita on the left edge. Probably not one that I saw coming there.
Yeah, so Dave Fafita was outside Ward?
Yeah, Ash Ward on the right-hand side, yeah.
So it's like, wouldn't you want to put outside Ward, wouldn't you? Maybe, you know what? Maybe it was Olakau'atu. And Talis Duncan is
Yeah,
a
maybe.
better defender than David Fafita.
Yep, quite possibly.
Probably that, which is like, you know, a testament to kind of like how far, like both of those, Olakau'atu and Fafita have both these crazy natural abilities. And the fact that you aren't going Fafita goal mark him, you know, shows you that one of them is really working on their game and building it out to be one of the form back roles in the other comp. And Fafita, for all his big moments, and he hasn't been bad this year at all, but he hasn't hit the heights that I thought he was going to hit. Yeah, I guess that like there was a couple of times, like he made some really good runs. Like there was a couple of times where he didn't kick chase and that they got out of their in goal. Like he didn't kick chase quick enough. What are your thoughts on Fafita this year, Matty?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because, like, he was injured.
Yeah.
But I actually thought he was pretty destructive to start the game. He got to his front a lot. I thought he was, it was. I definitely noticed a difference between the start of the year than yesterday. I thought yesterday, I don't know if it was his best game, but he definitely was looking at his more destructive best. It's just that injury. That's kind of like, of course, you're going to take time to like settle in, and I think yesterday was his first try. Like all those I keep saying yesterday. This week was his first try. All those combinations are going to take time. I just think the injury came at a bad time.
Yeah. Look, attacking wise, I think he's been good. I still think defensively, he's got to work a bit on that.
He is exactly what we were talking about before with Haumole in terms of some guys that have that physical ability. Do you remember a couple of years ago when he was flying and Billy left him out? And the general consensus from the media was, how could you possibly leave Dave Fafita out? And he said, if you actually watch him, there's all these little things that a lot of guys that aren't like looking for it don't notice because of just how much upside there is. But even like, that's what I didn't get about the weekend. Like both their halves kicked a 40-20 each, right? And on the Cody one, this is before the sin bin. They go down there, first sort of proper look down there. Keon goes through on an out ball from Murray. You cracked them pretty fucking easy. You then get 10 in the bin. You're the best good ball side. And I reckon the game was sort of decided there. I know they got stiffed with some decisions, but I think they just need to lean into that more when they do get a chance in good ball. Like, you just have to make them pay.
We're surprised with South Sydney. Mamazelis just seems to have fallen off side of the earth.
That's why right now I can't have them as a premiership threat because their spine is still like Ward has like probably 2 weeks ago probably cemented him spot, I guess. So it's taken till like, and like I understand he's been injured, but it's taken till about round 12 or around 10, maybe longer, to settle on your 7. And I get it, you've had injuries. Your 9, I don't know who your 9 is. I genuinely like, is it Cheese starting with Garlic coming off the bench? Is it Garlic starting with Cheese coming off the bench? Fullback, Jai Gray, he probably hasn't had the same, he's had some good games, but he hasn't had the same year. He obviously, I don't know what happened last week with Duffy. I don't know what happened there. So, like, that's where I look at him and go, when I compare that spine to some of these other top-tier spines, like, at the moment, they're still unsure of who's even in the spine.
Mate, as far as, premiership contenders go, like, South Sydney have won the same amount of games as the Melbourne Storm. They've just had their 2 buys.
Yeah.
Like, they're pretty far off the boil. Like, the Cowboys are in 9th. They're below South Sydney. They haven't had a buy yet.
Well, that's why, like, some people were quite high on South maybe a month ago, and I was like, I still need to see more consistency from this team in an 80-minute performance. And I think they're suffering from that. Like, my biggest critique of the South Sydney Rabbitohs is they don't look like they want to get into a grind. Like, they'll do it for periods, but have I seen a South side this year play 80 minutes of good, grindy footy? Like, and I don't mean that they have to, tuck the ball away and not score points or whatever. I just mean, are they willing to go set for set and break the opposition rather than what happens is they go set, and then in the 3rd or 4th set, they'll go, all right, let's try and do something crazy to score here, which is bizarre because then they go for 2 points and you're like, this is the opposite of you guys, the 2 points thing.
I think we'd all agree Canterbury's season has been a total train wreck, yeah? Like, South have won one more game than them.
It's crazy. That is actually crazy. What do you reckon, Matty? What are your thoughts, mate?
Well, I mean, I get it, but it is like they've also had more games to play. Like, you can argue with both ends with the buys. Like, yeah, they've won the same amount of games as Melbourne, but they've also had 2 more chances to win games in Melbourne. Like, I can see I can see what you're saying, but like,
so you're satisfied with the Rabbitohs?
Hell no. No. I'm just the bias thing is just annoying, to be honest. No matter what way, no matter what way you look at it, whether you like the points or don't like the points, it's not going to make it even. So,
but you assume if they're running with, if something's happened with Pete Mamo or for whatever reason he's not in the side, you'd assume they start garlic and use cheese off the bench, no? As opposed to doing like the other way
well,
around.
that's what I thought they'd settled on. Garlic is the old school guy that gets through the work. Cheese comes on for the impact.
Okay, sorry, to answer your question though, absolutely not. Like we've won one. Souths have won one of their last 5 games. It's just been the height of inconsistency. The getting into the grind thing is just so true and so valid. I thought we were going to see it because like it was a 10 minutes of defensive awesomeness to start the game on Thursday or Friday, whatever. And then they scored. Keon scored. I'm like, all right. We're getting into the grind now, and then the sin bin just changed everything the wrong way. And it's
the
just
other
like
scary thing with South Sydney is too, our entire season preview was centred around it depends how many games Cody Walker plays. He's played every single game.
Yeah. It's tough. Anything else on the Seagulls before we move on, boys?
I think they're in a good spot when Clayton, he's come onto the scene. He goes down. The guy that they've built their club around for the last decade.
Comes in.
He's not even in
Crazy.
there. But also, like Tolu just is able to move to fullback. Like they're
They're in
sport for
such a good
choice there.
spot.
Yeah.
It might be the biggest ever, like, dire straits first few rounds where I'm going, this club is a shambles to they're the most exciting club in the comp. Outside of maybe the Knights. But the Knights started the year well, so, like, there's even that.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Okay, on to the next one. Storm defeat the Knights 32-30. For me, this was one of those games where you really could walk away, and I know that the Knights literally butchered a W. Like, it was there to be taken. But when you look at it from a bird's eye view, I actually think it's one of those rare games you could walk away where both fans can be relatively happy. Like, are the Storm where we thought they would be at? No. And I don't think they're going to get there this year in regards to that level. However, they were gutsy. They completed high. They found a way to win. And the Knights, on the other hand, it was like that game was there for the taking. They made 16 errors. If they had just held the ball a little bit longer, they win down in Melbourne the first time since 2015. So I was like, really one of those, yes, you could focus on the negatives if you're a Knights fan and go, what a lost opportunity. But my God, how far the club has come in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, completely agree. I don't take all that much away from this game for both sides, realistically. I do think for the Knights, I think losing Phoenix early hurt them as well. I think especially defensively around the middle. I think he's a really underappreciated guy in this Newcastle side.
Mate, the Knights, I think it was 8 to go, and the Knights had only had 12 tackles inside the Storm's 20 metres. Like, that's how gutsy they were to be in this game, the Knights. Like, they hung in. They kept dropping the ball, obviously. But, I do think there's a lot to take away. What do you reckon, Tommy?
There was a lot of very average football on the weekend, but I thoroughly enjoyed this game. I thought it was fantastic. And, I think the one side, and it's weird because they lost, but I think the Knights will take a lot out of this. Like, as you sort of said, Kemby was there for the taking. They didn't take it, but they found themselves down 8 points and, quick line break, quick turnover, and all of a sudden, they're in good ball. And KP puts that kick in for Saifidi. Like, it was very early in the tackle count, but he obviously backed himself in. They got the try. And if you watch that last 3 or 4 minutes of the game, they put themselves in a position to win. Like, the moments didn't play out for them. Like, Melbourne scrambled well, but they got to some good shape out of their own end. Dill Lucas made that line break down the sideline. They gave themselves a couple of opportunities to win that game. And I know the Melbourne Storm this year aren't the Melbourne Storm we're used to necessarily, but to fight their way back in, especially after they'd lost Phoenix, like Rue said, I think they will take a lot out of it.
We'll say the Knights are almost primetime footy. Like, they guarantee good games this year.
100%.
I'm trying to think of, like, a dull game from the Knights, like even round 1, great. And maybe you could probably toss one in there. I'm not sure. Maybe the Warriors where they got towed up, but it's still an exciting game. They're primetime footy at the moment, the Knights. Like, they really are some of the most exciting footy to watch. It's outstanding. Now, Dylan Lucas, who I thought was outstanding, he had a couple of errors on the weekend that he probably just needs to clean up a little bit. But outside of that, I thought he was phenomenal.
Where do we have the Knights finishing this year?
Like, top 8. We're on top 8.
Yeah, I got them in my top 8. Do you have them in your top 4?
No, I don't think so. I want them to be. I would love them to be. I just think, with the... I say this every freaking year about the Roosters, but it looks like they're going on the right direction. So you got the Roosters, their form will get
this week
better.
it looks like they're going in the right direction.
Yeah, and the next week they won't be. But
Last week was a train wreck.
yes.
Wall by wall.
1 week at a time. All right, let's have a look at the ladder then for the Knights, because I could see top 6. So you've got Dolphins, Manly. Yeah, no, I do think the Roosters will probably end up just above them. Got Manly, and I do think the Dolphins will as well. So I reckon Knights. Look, I don't see a reason why they can't finish 4th at least. I think the Panthers, Warriors, and Dolphins and Manly are clearly a better side than them. I think top 5, top 6 is
Yeah,
fair.
I think 4, 5, 6 is their range.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And, if Roosters having inconsistent form, then maybe that's the way they do it. But I can see that. It's one of the great turnarounds. It really is. From Spoon to this, it's amazing.
It's incredible effort. Yeah. And, for all the conversations we had in the preseason about Dylan Brown, all this sort of stuff, like, they've just been fucking fantastic.
It
And
is genuinely amazing.
It is such a nod to the coach.
Yep. I was not so negative, but I was very critical of this whole situation they'd found themselves in. I just felt like all the halves you've got in the club and you don't have a genuine 7, and Holbrook has nailed it. Like, they play such exciting, upbeat footy. And I know he's on a long contract, and I know the naysayers are like, you just wait. But it's like, look, we don't know. We don't know yet. What we do know is so far Dylan Brown's been good. KP and him work really well together. Fletcher Sharp has also been good. It's great stuff for the Knights.
I think Holbrook too, like, looking at what he's had so far, even in his time at the Titans, he's one of those coaches where he coaches to what he's got. Like, I think one of the underrated parts of him coming in at the Knights and doing what he's done this year is it wasn't his call to go get Dylan Brown. It's not like he was like, hey, this is what I want. This is how I want to play, make it happen. Like, he sort of has obviously come in, he's seen the roster that he's inheriting, and he's gone, fuck, okay. And he's mapped it out.
Well, a little bit similar to what he was doing at the Titans that he didn't get enough credit for.
100%.
Everyone was saying, mate, you need to be better with this Titans. And clearly he was like, guys, I'm squeezing the best out of this roster. I'm squeezing the best out of it. So it's a great point, Tommy Bomb. I will say, to be critical, and we always, try to give our honest opinion, 2 tries straight through the middle, unacceptable. Unacceptable. 1 try, I'll cop, that earlier one, because it's just like, okay. But so it was Stefano that scored. I'll go, okay, he's a big boy. But Trent Leoro, they need to sort that out, I think.
Yeah, which I think, I think those sort of tries in the preseason, you would have expected that would have almost been the Knights week to week
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
year. Whereas, with all the injuries they've had, all that sort of stuff, like, their DNA has been the opposite of those moments this year.
Well, yeah, I think the other thing, though, a lot of people had them in their bottom 4 start of the year. A few handsome professionals did tip them for the 8, but the main knock against them making the 8 from the start of the year was...
What about the ugly professionals?
They weren't at the meeting, I'm not sure. But look, I think the main knock on them has been the middles, right? So that's obviously going to be their Achilles heel at the back end. What a lot of people probably weren't...
obviously, I'd say they've done much better, their middles. Than,
they've overachieved for sure, but I think that was at the start of the year. If you'd asked, people would have gone,
of
they
course.
lack middles
I
depth,
thought
right?
that too.
And I think that was a fair thing. But I think what guys like Matt Croker and Trey Mooney have done has been unbelievable in terms of just coming... I think for them to actually give it a shake at the back end at all, those guys need to find another year, because those sort of tries that they let in, I think most weeks, if you went back and watched the last 2 months of their football, there's 1 or 2 of those tries here or there in most games. So I think that's something that they're definitely going to need to get out.
And he made our team of the week, and he's in Origin, and rightly so. But just that at the end there, Dylan Lucas needed to pass. Needed to pass. But he still made our team of the week because he was outstanding. And look, the thing with situations like that, I'll never forget. So when I was playing at the Broncos, I played fullback against the Dragons, and I had like a pretty good game. And the game was on the line, and I was coming out of our own end, and I was wrapping around the back, and I threw this long pass, and it went out over the sideline, and I was thinking, fuck, Wayne is going to kill me. He's going to kill me. And Wayne, being the master that he is, he just pulled me aside. He said, I love that pass at the end. And I was like, what? Like, I thought, like, it was like, because you were the only one trying to win this game. And I think that, like, with Dylan Lucas, yes, okay, he didn't make the right decision, but he's still trying to actually, instead of just going in there and saying, what's my job? I'm just going to do my job and worry about it. He's going in and saying, no, we need to win this game. And so that's where you can, it's, it's a little bit like Hudson Young. Like, he can have brain explosions where you go, what the hell was that? But at least he's trying to win the game,
I haven't heard that story before.
Yeah, scored a try, ran for a 200 plus whatever.
What was wrong with the pass, you say? Like, was it too far in front? Was it on the ground?
It was fucking like 10 metres in the air over the wing. Let's just say passing wasn't my strong suit. But did score a meaty. I think I ran for 200 and whatever metres, and had a good performance.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there you go. Cost the team a win though. Now on to the Melbourne Storm. Look, they're just brave, and I think like with the Melbourne Storm, with everything going on, like I'm not going to be. It's not like the bigotry of low expectations where I'm like, good on you, you tried hard. I'm not saying that at all, but like, bro, everything that could go wrong has essentially gone wrong for this Storm side, within reason, obviously, being a bit extreme, but like so much has gone wrong this year. that as a neutral fan that is just a fan of Melbourne as a setup, I think they've been the benchmark of Australian sport for a very long time. With everything going so negatively, I think the main thing you're asking them is, can you have a dig and control the controllables? And that's exactly what they did. I thought it was Trent Leoro's best game of the year. They completed really high. There were still some players that had a few errors here or there, but I thought Hughes was great. I think you can't ask much more of a team when they've been up for so long as a club. Everything's going wrong. Most other organisations fall apart. Like, after 7 losses in a row, most other organisations just go, fuck, that's our season. I really do admire that they're fight at the moment.
Yeah, I think the spine was really good in this game. Harry Grant, I thought he was fantastic.
Stefano was great.
Hey, what about that nudge that Cameron Munster put in?
Oh, mate.
Fuck, that's classy.
Yeah, it's all class. It's all class. Mate, I'm with you. I thought probably one of the spine's better games, to a degree. At least they're 9, 6, 7.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
I thought Stefano was really good. I think, you know what? For all of the talk, he says something before the grand final, whatever. I think, honestly, he's been one of their better players this year. I know for the start of the year he wasn't setting the world alight, but I actually think Stefano has gone from a player that you're just hoping becomes everything they can be to a player that's putting it upon himself to put the club on his back and fight out of this tough time. Because I think he's been quite good.
I tend to agree. And as you know, mate, I haven't been the biggest Stefano fan over the last few years, but I really, for all the chat about your Twelves, your Terrell Mays, all these guys that have been unfairly left out of this side, fuck, I reckon he's at the top of the list for me. I really do. If I was picking the team today, I think I would still have him in there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
well, I would have him in there over Barnett at the moment, without a doubt, because Barnett isn't playing for you.
Yeah. What do you reckon? Who stood out for you, mate, in the Storm?
Yeah, I think you guys nailed it in terms of it was probably a spine game. I think what's hard with the Storm, though, is that I think over the last 5 years with the 6 agains, there was a period there where because of Harry Grant, what he does, and having guys in your spine that are so good at running, and then having, for a long time, Pappy at the back, when they were winning the ruck and it was in their favour, they were the hardest team to stop, right? I think this year with the lack of wrestle, the increase in the 6 agains and the way the game's changed a lot and the speed is just at a level it hasn't been at before, teams have been forced to get better at defending what has always been so dangerous about the Storm. So I think even though, say, Harry Grant, when he gets out and a Hughes and a Munster flatten up and Suafalonga, still so dangerous, I think other sides by default are seeing a closer version of that week in, week out that they have to adapt to.
I think also the Storm have been masters at slowing the ruck for so long, and they're just not getting that grace anymore. Every time you played the Storm as an opposing fan, you'd be sitting there going, we cannot get any momentum. And look, I'm not trying to have a crack at the Storm. Do whatever you do within rules to win games. I think because we've been so aggressive on ruck speed that it's thrown them a little bit for a loop defensively, where they've been like, holy shit, we're used to the ones controlling the speed of this game and we can't do that anymore. So I think it's a fair comment, Tommy.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you're seeing them at a certain point not that long ago, they looked like a basket case, especially relative to what we expect from them. I think you are seeing them slowly evolve and turn that around, and they've also got a lot of young guys there. And last year the game definitely wasn't as quick as it is now, but it obviously moved more in that direction, and they were one draw and pass away from winning the comp, right?
Last year the rules as well, out of the 40 they could apply their traditional techniques, which is we will pressure the ref to to call a penalty, and if the penalty is called, doesn't matter, it slows everything down.
100%. But I just think they have also missed one massive point of difference last year for them was having Eli Katoa in the back row, where the ball playing variety that he gave them, and obviously just being such a physical presence himself as well. I think they've missed that, but I mean, maybe a month ago I would have said they were no chance at playing finals. I think they're still going to get there, to be honest.
Okay.
I think they will scrape in at the back end. Personally, they look on the up to me, and I think they'll have a lot of guys that'll come good.
Yeah, it's fair. That's fair. I'm just looking at this ladder. Look, they're 11th right now. They're 11th. They've had 6 wins. When you look how far the Broncos have dropped, the Raiders have dropped to probably the 2 other teams that would have competed for that 8th position potentially with the start of the season they both had. It's a fair point. They are pretty much, they're on the same amount of wins as the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, and it's funny because there's other sides below them, not that many, but say the Broncos, people are starting to talk about it fuck, they got to get a wriggle on here, but people trust them more. They don't trust the Storm as much, and I get it because they're a young side. I think if they do scrape in and get into the top 8, it does sort of add another level to Craig's coaching career as well, just given how many changes they've had this year.
Yeah.
And obviously like what he's going through as well. Like,
Mate, if you had asked me 2 weeks ago, will they make the 8? I would have said there's no chance. Now I'm looking at this ladder going, they probably will.
me too. And then when I was looking at the ladder over the weekend, I thought, fuck, actually, you know what? Given how if they keep moving in the same direction they're moving, like, I almost think you'd be silly to back against them when you compare the experience and the quality in their spine to others that are around them.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I thought Trent Leora, I suppose said it earlier, but I thought it was his best game of the year. Easy. I thought he was much better, looked more energetic, got through more work. He was actually my 13 initially until Connor Watson killed it. But like, he had a try, 17 runs, 155 metres, 50 post contact, 4 tackle breaks, a line break, an offload, 35 tackles, only 1 miss, no errors. I don't think maybe only 1 penalty. Usually he's, unfortunately he's a bit ill-disciplined in defence, but I think that's more his inability to quickly change with what the game style has been. He's been so used to dominating that wrestle, a little bit like Paddy Carrigan, that he's struggled with that. Outside of that, in regard to performances, Harry Grant, good. Stefano, good. Hughes, Munster, good. I thought it was the Faroia. Is that how you say it?
Fatade, I believe, yeah.
Fatade. I thought it was his best game since coming into first grade.
For sure, yeah.
He looked strong. He looked good. Yeah.
I think that's the other thing worth noting with Melbourne, like missing their 2 first choice centres there.
I will say he came good, but what has happened to Will Rawbrick? Like, just the errors that he's making. Oh, like,
I feel like he's always had this in him, but it used to be once every 6 weeks you see a game like this. It's getting pretty consistent.
Maybe he's injured, or because he still came good. Like he scored. I think he still scored 2 tries and like he scored a try. And he's gonna come good in most games, but I've been a little bit surprised. Matty, can you actually check where he's at on the error count for the NRL? Will Warbrick. Like, I know you can say, he goes up for a lot of high balls, but I don't know if this year he actually has gone up for that many high balls.
Number 1.
He's number 1 in the NRL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd find that he would be being put in a lot more positions than he ever has been before, where those errors are more of, like, they're more likely, just because he's playing in a team that's probably been more on the back foot than they have in the last 20 years.
And also, like, Coates is usually the go-to guy for a lot of things. So
What about Coates, by the way?
Oh,
Achilles on the weekend.
Devastating.
far out.
What, in captain's run?
Footy is cruel, bro. Cruel. What do you got there, Matty? Oh, so good. Mate, footy is a cruel game.
Just another little positive for Melbourne, just to keep an eye on. You've got the CBA Bowl, the Under-19s Origin. That's next Thursday night after Origin 2. Queensland have picked Hayden Watson from the Melbourne Storm. He's the one we spoke about a few weeks ago. Melbourne have signed him until 2030.
Which is like unheard of.
Crazy.
At the Storm.
But he played New South Wales Cup last week. By the way, like I think he's 18. Played New South Wales Cup last week, scored 2 tries. Dropped back to Jersey Flegg this week, scored the first 2 tries in that game and ended up scoring 3. So a very, very talented kid, ball player. You'll see him in that Under-19s Origin, but exciting. Doing really good things.
Keep a look out. I want to ask, actually, Storm fans, I want to ask you this. Does it worry you that you signed, oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name now. The 5-year deal. No. Howarth. Him on a 5-year deal before he played first grade. Now you're signing another young guy on a 5-year deal before he played first grade. And look, Broncos are in the same situation. They used to have way more sway in the market that they've got now. Storm fans, is it concern that you're having to do this now, whereas many years ago, like even Cam Smith didn't sign 5-year deals? I do think it shows you how much the game has changed, where going to a young kid and saying you could win premierships and you'll be the best version of yourself, it's not as appealing to this generation. They're like, no, I want to get paid well. And like everything after that is kind of second to it. What are your thoughts, Roo?
Yeah, I think it is more a sign of just the times, realistically. And yeah, I think, I think as well, not only a sign of the times where the game's at, but with Perth coming in, with PNG coming in, I do still look at the Howarth one and think that's bizarre, that situation. Back then, he's obviously a week-to-week first grader now. And to be fair, like it is, it's 2 guys across 6 years that they've done it. So it's not the end of the world. And if they've got this bet right, which so far from what I've seen of Hayden Watson, it looks like they have, I think Munster and Hughes, when they kick off in Vegas next year, I think they're both going to be 33, maybe 32.
Yeah. And they both alluded to like end of career-ish talk. It's not like they're like a DCE that's like I'm going forever kind of thing.
Yeah, and for all you know, one of those 2 could be lining up for PNG or for Perth, just go for a payday at the end of their career as well. So I don't know. And I mean as well, like signing him to 2030, like it's not like it's a 5-year deal. It's what, a 3-year deal
Yeah.
for a young kid. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not as concerned. I'm not concerned about it really.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about it. It is just, I do believe it is something to look at the Storm and see that is different than before.
Yes, for sure.
And I also think as well, this is understandable, but like, and maybe Storm fans were well aware of this time, but just the weight of Cameron Smith. I think that because Munster, Hughes, and Harry Grant have come, they're the best in their position at times. Hughes second best, but best. Munster at times. Harry Grant definitely the best 9. I think we just assume that they have the same weight as Cam Smith, Cooper Cronk, Billy Slater. And I think it's becoming more evident that although they are great players, like fucking outstanding players, outstanding blokes, that weight of Slater, Cronk, and Smith, it probably will never be replicated. So it's like almost a bit unfair, the standards that we do set for this Storm side, because how will you ever replicate those 3 players?
I don't think it ever will be replicated.
Yeah.
I think as well. I think the thing that has been in their favour when you look at them the last few years is outside of Slater, to be fair. But when you look at, Cameron Munster and Jerome Hughes, and if you compare them from like a highlights point of view, shit all over Cooper Cronk, realistically. But winning is what fucking matters. I think Harry Grant is the most talented, like skill-wise, the most talented hooker I've ever seen. But Cameron Smith is the best hooker I've ever seen.
Yeah.
By a distance.
I just think, like, if you say, and granted, Harry Granted, he doesn't have the resume that Cam Smith, thanks, mate. I've used it a few times, if being honest.
I've heard it's beautiful.
Like, back in the day, if you said to a young guy, come play with Cam Smith, but we'll put you on minimum, I think a lot of young fellas would go, mate, I'm in. Now, if you say, come play with Harry Grant, they'll go, I love Harry Grant, he's a great player, but it's just not the same pool. And I want to be clear, Storm fans, Broncos have the same problem. Now, Reece Walsh is a little bit different because of his size, but like, Broncos had the same problem. They were, come play with Darren Lockyer, come play with Shane Webke. So I'm not saying that Storm are unique in this situation at all. I'm just saying it's something that we unfairly expect this Storm side to be just as good as past sides, but it's not the same side with the same weight.
Whereas if I'm Penrith, I say, young guys, come play with Nath Cleary.
And they will say, yes. I'm there. Whatever, Tommy.
I think it's actually bigger than that, though. I would be concerned because I think with the Broncos, for example, you can always bank on the fact that you're going to have rugby league heartland, local people. Like, it's a massive ask to move to Victoria to fucking play footy, right? And for a long time, you had all those guys you spoke about before. A few of them are going to end up being immortals. You could argue that all of them could be, right? And then there was a weird crossover where you had Cam Smith. I think it's underestimated, though, the fact that for a long time, you're going to play under Craig Bellamy. And not only did you have those guys that you're going to play with, but you could look at a guy like Dale Finucane, who was a toiler that becomes a legend, where, like, he wins a comp, he plays Origin, he does all these great things that he probably didn't see himself doing until he moved to Melbourne, right? So, like, it's a massive, like, it's very appealing. For the last 5 or 6 years, there's been chat that Bellamy might retire, might not, right? And it's starting to head more and more that way. It's all of a sudden a way bigger barrier to get someone to move away from home, because even
I
in the
wonder how much
last
that impacts recruitment, the might not retire stuff.
huge, but it wouldn't have as much because, hey, it's fucking Craig Bellamy. Come play for Craig. Come play with Cam Smith. Come play, even like you said, like those guys like Munster and that would have been a massive reason why those guys went there. Like Munster probably, I could be wrong, but what were the Broncos?
He was a Broncos
keen on
fan.
him?
I don't know if they were keen on him, but he was a Broncos fan.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he
said one of his favourite Broncos memories is me scoring a try, just so you know. He said that. He said that. I'm just repeating what he said.
Yeah, I wonder if that changed last year. But
he said it this year.
Okay, well, there you go. But I think that you would have seen, because the reality is too, the Craig thing, yes, he's going to move on soon. They haven't won a premiership in 6 years. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, so now I'm going to lead you down this path. Billy Slater comes to the club as a head coach. Do you think that weight becomes...
Yes, I think it does.
It does.
I was about to say, I think that's what changes. If Slater does become the head coach there, I think it changes the dynamic completely of where you, as far as Melbourne as a destination to be. I think it flips everything on its head.
Yeah. Okay, Roosters defeat the Raiders 26-0. 26-0. And I tell you what, they are our NordVPN defense play of the week. Roosters holding Raiders to 0. The NordVPN defense play of the week is back for 2026. I was overseas before the season started and used NordVPN myself. Sporting events, TV shows, movies, you name it. I watch it like I was back home and was super convenient. Another great feature is that you can switch your virtual location to so many different places in the world. This allows you to save money by purchasing flights, hotels, subscriptions from other countries at a cheaper price. It's also super safe. NordVPN provides you with privacy online, leaving no digital footprint by hiding your IP address. It's like wearing an invisibility cloak online. To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/bloke. Our link will also give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan, and there's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the podcast episode description box. Let's get into it. The game has arrived. Now, I'm not saying lock them in. They're a premiership heavyweight. Everyone wants to beat them. That was 80 minutes of the vision that Robbo had when he brought DCE to the club at the start of the year. I thought DCE's kicking game was phenomenal, long kicking game, but then the way that they counterbalanced it with Sam Walker's short kicking game, I thought this was the first 80-minute performance I've seen in a long time from the Roosters where I go, that's a top-tier side that has just squeezed the absolute life out of out of the Raiders. I really love this performance of the Roosters. Obviously, now it needs to get back up. All the caveats, I get it. I know they're already being said in the comment section. All those things. But the 80 minutes that we just watched, that's the vision I think Robbo had with bringing the people that he did to the club. I thought they were absolutely phenomenal.
And that version of the Roosters can compete with anyone in this competition, without a doubt. I don't need to go into the caveats as well. We're well and truly aware. But fuck, mate, when they do put it together, like this was the Raiders in Canberra.
Yep.
It was
the season's essentially on the line, really.
The season is on the line,
Yeah.
yes, 100%. It was enormous from the Roosters, and I think you summed it up well, mate. When Robbo is sitting there in the preseason imagining what this looks like with DCE, it is this game here.
How do you defend against that kicking game? What do you do?
Yeah.
And then you got White rampaging through the middle. Like that was, honestly, I reckon Robbo's sitting there. He was probably thinking, I'll get this game, I'll get it in round 20. I don't think he was expecting it to look that clean, that schmick this early in the season. Now, it's obviously we need to see it week in, week out. But that kicking game, like, I'm almost never seen anything like it. Like, I've almost never seen two blokes, I'll do the long kicking game and it'll be perfect. Oh, and by the way, my strength is my short kicking game. I'll take care of that. It was phenomenal. Tommy Wall.
Yeah, it was. I still have my concerns. I think that there was a couple moments in this game where it sort of sums up what I've spoken about over the last few weeks, where you get away with it when you're up 16-20-0. Like at one stage, Sammy Walker, we're on the attack. It's play 1, or maybe at the latest it was play 2. He kicks it, and we get a repeat set. Now, you're up 20-0 or whatever it was at the time against the Raiders. No one cares. You get the ball back. It's all good. But I think against a Penrith at the back end, it doesn't work like that. If you're in good ball and you kick the ball on play 1 or 2 because it might be on, like I think that's still what's going to be our Achilles heel at the back end. So massive step in the right direction and a far cry from.
So would your hard rule be he's not allowed to kick on the first or second tackle?
Yeah, pretty much. And I know that's so. I know that's so hard because it's like, it's in his DNA. Like we saw him carve up New South Wales playing that sort of style, so it can be done. I just think that our record over the last 6 years indicates that we have to sort of try and adjust the way he plays a little bit against those sides, because I think those sides are just too good. When it doesn't work, one, their defense is too good that you're going to be able to catch them out enough. But then two, when it doesn't work, you're giving away a lot of value. And I think we've got the guys that we can play a more conservative brand of football.
Where do you draw the line then, though? Like, where do you?
So hard.
Where do you go? All right, why do we even have Sam Walker at the club? Let's go get a Cooper Cronk clone.
No, I get that, and I think it's hard. But that's why I think you do, like you mentioned before, you got DCE there. I think it's just about having those conversations where it's like, look, it's hard because, like I said, they scored a couple of tries off it. But I thought Kyle Weeks, like they caught him out of position a heap of times. So it's mad to be able to go, okay, well, great work from Sammy doing that. That's fantastic. Even when that Radley no try, when Ches kicked long, caught Kyle out of position again. Are you going to do that to Dylan Edwards? Like the reality is no.
Well, he did it to Teddy in Origin.
He did it to Teddy,
Yeah.
100%, because Billy was able to look at it and execute on it. But I think the record of the Maroons, miles better than our record against Penrith. Or even like we were talking about Melbourne before, they probably won't be one of those sides at the back end. That's where I'd be I'm still a bit concerned. I'm stoked with the win. I think we played really well. I thought Toya was outstanding. I thought our other centre, Hugo Savala, I want to get him tattooed on my chest. I can't believe what he's doing at the moment. Fluff. But I'm still just a little bit hesitant because we get into those games and like we're just
my concern with that, like if you go with that mentality, because I've been under coaches that cultivate your strengths,
Yes.
and under coaches that treat you like you're basically an army. You're in the army and you do what I say no matter what. So and they I guess they grate away all the flair of your game. And I just think that like when it works, you've got to give it praise. Like On the flip
100%.
side, when it doesn't work, go hard on it. But it works. So it's very hard. If you were to go to Sam Walker and go, I know that we scored a couple of tries and we actually got a repeat set there. If you were to say that after a big win, it's like he's sitting there going, like, is his wings getting clipped with that kind of mentality? You know,
I get that, and I know I sound like a dick because I love the boys and I was stoked with the win. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
I understand where you're coming from. I'm not saying that I don't.
I think the
do.
boys would be very aware though. Like they're all there to win comps. That's what they want to do. They literally, for whatever reason, decided this year that we're going to have it on our jersey. That's how much we believe that. If that's the case, I'd be looking at it and going, okay, well, these are the sides we need to beat. At the moment, we're about 36 points away from that. The last look that we got at it. Why? Like, what can we do differently? You know?
Roo, what do you reckon, mate?
I disagree with you. You've had 6 years now of Sam Walker. He is the absolute gunslinger of rugby league. He's the cowboy. You've built a side around him. I think you have to lean into him. Do I think it'll beat Penrith? No, I agree with you on that. But then go and find a different halfback. Don't build your side around the ultimate cowboy. And you only play your best footy when you completely lean into him. I don't think it's going to win them a premiership. But this is the avenue you've decided to go down, that if Sam Walker's going to be your halfback, you have to lean into his skill set, similar to the Broncos. They win a comp last year, leaning into Reece Walsh as their main guy. History tells us it was never going to happen. History tells us Reece Walsh wasn't going to be the best player on the field for 9 weeks straight and do what he did and win unwinnable games. I think the Roosters, they've made their own bed by backing this guy in for years. I kind of think you do just need to lean into him.
I reckon you lean into him in a different way because, to your point, watch that run last year. Walsh's best footy was actually when Ben Hunt was his 7 because he knew how to just unlock him. Ben Hunt played his role. Why would you not just swap Ches and Walker? Like, they're so adamant, obviously, that it's such a knock on Sam to be like, take the 7 off his back and give it to Ches. But, like, in good ball, I would, like, you want Sam Walker doing whatever he wants. But, like, if he's at 7 and he's always first choice with the ball, I don't think you can beat Penrith. But if he's second fiddle and you almost lean into it, to me, it would be like having him play almost like what Ethan Strange played for us in Origin. But the fact is, he's a better kicker. He's not a big body, but he's way more creative. That version of the Roosters, I think, can beat Penrith. But we haven't seen that. And we actually haven't seen them try it either. They've never had a DCE there, though. They've never had a guy where it's like, even when they had Kiri, the best footy they played, I think they did switch the numbers on their back for a little while, but not really. But you watch them play, and when they were at their best, Kez actually was a lot more on ball, opened him up to do what he wants. When they swapped that again, and all of a sudden it was Sam's ball first, it was the same dilemma. You know, so I don't want people to think that I'm saying like I tell Sam Walker that he can never kick the ball again.
Sounds like you're saying you hate him.
I love Sam Walker massively. I need him to know that. He does know that. We're friends.
But just quickly, I do understand what you're saying. I just think that if you've got a gunslinger in the side, when it works, you just got to back him in. Now, when it doesn't work and it doesn't come off enough, like if it doesn't come off one time, you can't be like, mate, get rid of it. But if it happens once or twice leading into finals footy or whatever, then maybe you could say, mate, just pull it in a bit. But I think when it's working, you just got to lean in. I thought they're great. Just quickly, we wanted to send a shout out. First of all, Kane Evans came out. Very brave interview with Channel 9. To be honest, one of the bravest things you could that I've seen in a while from Kane Evans. I just wanted to give a massive shout out, obviously, to Kane Evans, but also to Trent Robinson. You know, so go and look at the clip. It's on Channel 9. But basically, Kane was going through a tough time. Trent Robinson's got his number, and also shout out to Joe Nalaval of the RLPA who helped Kane Evans going through a tough time. Robbo got his number, gave him a call, and essentially brought him in and said, Roosters will take care of your mental health payments to take care of your mental health, but also I will take care of, out of his own pocket, essentially, paid his rent. He just moved into a new place, 4 weeks of rent. That's incredible from Trent Robinson. Like, that is, to do that, you know, and I'm no knock on Kane Evans, but like that's usually reserved for like legends of the club. But to call a guy that's played, can you check how many games he's played? Maybe 50 games for the Roosters, 70 games for the Roosters. To call a guy and say, mate, I got your back, you'll be a Roosters forever, and he played for 2 other clubs, like, that's amazing from Trent Robinson. I got nothing but admiration for Trent Robbo.
Yeah, 100%. I think that whole situation last night, obviously, first and foremost, you know, Kane's a mascot guy that's grown up with us and everything. Absolute champion fella. It's funny with Kane, like I remember I fucking couldn't play football to save myself. But at 15, 16, Kane was the same size he is. It wasn't that scary. Then he went to the Roosters and played SG ball and he just went bang, just exploded there. And he played 70 games, but he spent like 8 or 9 years at the Roosters from late Harold Matts all the way through. I thought Channel 9, that interview, Bracey was fantastic in that. That was it was just boxes ticked all over the place from the RLPA to the Roosters. But yeah, I think that, we get so caught up in the Roosters, are they going to win a comp or they're not going to win a comp, that the things that Robbo does that you don't hear about, this kind of stuff is just so important.
Well, and we make jokes about it or whatever, like the Roosters take care of their players, but like they do take care of their players. Like if you're in with the Roosters, they will take care of you forever, essentially. And I think this is just more proof of it. Like this is more proof of it. I just hope one day that we can get to a point where, a guy similar to Kane isn't too afraid to come out and say
Shouldn't be a news story. Is the
I
reality
wish,
of it, yes.
a guy that can run it straight against Cassiano, be in the toughest sport in the world, and he can run week in, week out, run it straight at the biggest, most scariest athletes in the world, but he's too scared to come out with something so personal. I hope one day we can just get to the point where it's not even a thing. Who cares? Who cares? Who loves who? Seriously, that's what I hope.
Yeah, and I think this is unfortunately, this is the avenue that we need to go down to get to that point. I think.
Yeah,
Shout
so
out to Kane
brave
for
from
being the
Kane.
one.
Far
Yeah,
out, so
unreal.
brave. Tommy, particularly, anything else?
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think everyone can relate to feeling about something where it's like you feel like you're on your own in it, and you don't want to share it with people, or you think no one else will understand it. I think Kane took one of the most extreme examples of that head on, and I think like there's no doubt. I think not only would he have saved lives doing it, but like it sort of is like the modern day. Like it's such a big step. Like I remember whenever everyone used to speak about when Ian Roberts first came out, right? I think this is such another big step for us as a game in that space. So yeah, I'm stoked. And I think on the Robbo thing, like everyone talks about how like ruthless the Roosters are. I think it speaks a lot to his character that like no one would have known about that unless like we only know because Kane said it, right?
Yep.
So I think that always says a lot about someone's character and there's things like that in rugby league all the time where guys go above and beyond for someone and you're not going to hear about it because they're not doing it so you hear about it. They're doing it because it's the right thing to do and they care about someone. So all round I thought that was pretty incredible.
And the RLPA, they're not perfect, but this is why they're there.
Yep.
This is why they're there to help former players, current players through extremely tough times. So what an incredible moment from Kane Evans. So brave, so brave. So hopefully it takes us a step towards a more comfortable environment. Okay, let's continue on the Roosters' performance, boys. Bobby Toya. Mate, I thought he was outstanding. That pass back in, Greg Inglis-esque. Look, I know he had an error or so, and I know he also in Origin he had an error. I think he did an early kick. He didn't need to. But is he the most... Like, he's rated, but not many people speak about Rob Toya, but he's basically locked his spot in the centres for the Queensland Maroons for a while, but not many people speak about how good he is.
Yeah. Once again, I don't know if underrated is the word. I don't know how to describe Rod Toya, but I think he's also just incredibly consistent.
Yeah.
He just seems to do the job every single week, whether it be Origin, club football, whatever it might be. And
he had this game probably 6 weeks ago where he missed quite a few tackles. And he's so consistent, it blew my mind. I was like, Rob Toya, to your point, he is usually so consistent. And he's been that.
Yeah, and I think people do just forget just how young he is. Like
22?
Yeah, it's crazy. It is insane.
Like any other centre at a glamour club that's 22 playing Origin, it's like a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, like it's someone
without circling back to it again, but he played in this under-19s Origin in 2022. Like it's now 26 and he is, I don't see him falling out of the Maroon side for the next 10 years.
And he was a huge part of one of the most famous series wins ever.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Also like the pressure that I think gets like forgotten that because they won last year, when he was picked out of obscurity for game one last year, they were coming off a series loss. And he was the guy coming in with Gamut Shibasaki's the other centre.
Against Critter and Trell.
Like, fucking hell. Like, I'm sorry. Like, to be thrown in the deep end into Origin at that age anyway.
Actually, you know what? Roosters put up a post. Because, I know I was sitting there going, Latrell Mitchell, that's who you're going to mark in Origin for your debut. Thinking Latrell's physicality would... And obviously, Roosters kept their receipts and posted after, which is it's all a bit of fun and a bit of banter. But, like, That's how incredible it was. It was incredible. He held his own, and we don't speak about Rob Toyer enough. I don't think we do.
Yep, I agree. I think he would have played 40 NRL games by this point. Would he even be at 40 at the moment? Just getting up he's played 33 NRL games.
No way. Bro, that's crazy. That's actually insane.
Oh,
He's 21, 33 NRL games.
And he's 21. So as a 20-year-old, he's had a famous series victory, and he had to mark up against one of the most intimidating centres of the modern era of rugby league.
Yep.
Far out. That's crazy. So, yeah, I thought he was great. I'll go to you, Tommy Bomb. Who else stood out for you?
yeah. As I said before, I thought Hugo was incredible. Just to go against everything I said before, like Sammy obviously had a nice hand in a couple of tries. Good to see Billy Smith doing his thing too. Obviously, like it's crazy that he's being forced to play out of position by a halfback.
Is that the
centre.
tallest centre wing conversation ever?
Oh, it's crazy.
It's so tall, bro. Imagine being an outside back rolling out and you see Billy Smith and Hugo Savala across from you.
Do you reckon in the locker room, it's like everyone's lockers and then theirs are just like,
They got big lockers.
yeah, like just way higher up.
Not to mention Billy Smith's replacing Daniel Tupou at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
tallest ever. The tallest ever. Yeah, no, I'm with you, mate. Hugo Savala, like, what I love about his story is like, especially, so the negative trait that we like to paint the young athlete with is you can't take criticism, you'll break contracts, if you don't get your way, you kick rocks. Like that's what they get stereotyped as, selfish and entitled to a degree. And look, sometimes there's some truth in a stereotype in regards to young players. Sometimes that could be true, but like it's not true for every young player. And there's also a lot of good things that young players do. What I love about Hugo is that he had every right to be like, "Are you serious? Like I've just come into first grade, unlocked Sammy Walker to a degree, then you go and sign DCE and like I get brushed out of the 17." There are so many clubs that are desperate for halves, but he said, "Nah," and this is a testament to Robbo as well and the culture at the club. He said, "Nah, that's all good. I'll go away. I'll work wherever you need me to work." He's now locked himself into a centre position.
And I don't see him falling out of this side at any point.
I think Robbo would want to reward that kind of
Yep.
loyalty and commitment and attitude of like, I'm not kicking rocks. I'm going to go out there and get even better.
Especially when you look at how much they have persevered with Billy Smith after all he's been through all these years. They've always stuck with him. To now, like once Tupou returns, I don't think he's going to get near that side realistically, Billy Smith. And it's just off the back of Hugo's incredible form. And, he still does things every fortnight that you go, oh, that was average. Like, because he isn't a natural centre, but he's just working on it so well. His defence is what's really impressed me in the centres as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because initially, some of his cover defence wasn't great.
Yep.
He's worked on it. What are your thoughts, mate?
I think, like, Rue and I crunched the numbers the other day on who's, like, the most rugby league person ever, and we arrived at Ricky Stewart. I think Hugo Savala is starting to make a real case for himself as someone who's sort of in the most rugby league echelon. Like, you think about at NRL level, like, he'll openly come out, and he has, and been like, hey, I just fucking love the club. Like, he'll pretty much do things where, like, if you were a manager or you were someone, you'd be going, hey, like, you're very valuable. Like, you know what I mean? But he's very, like, he's just sincere. He'll cover any position. I love the fact that, like, I remember speaking to him about, like, how's training going? And he was like, like, backed himself to just give it the best crack, to learn from the other guys and to learn from Ches, but also, like, push him all the way for that spot. And that was sort of the conversation I had with him. And then to see that he's just turned into, like, the best bench cover. He's played centre for us before. Remember, he had to cover wing at one point this year. I think that when they took Junior Bauger off, like, and coming through, he was always just a half. Like, he was a half. He was always the half. It wasn't like he's someone who's come through playing that role. So to just jump in and do it at NRL level is absurd.
I hope when he tackles, he pulls off a big hit, I hope he goes, "You just got fluffed." Says that to players in their ear.
Mate, there should be shirts where
That
it's
would,
like, you
that
just got
would rattle
fluffed.
me. If I got shotted and a bloke said, "You just got fluffed," holy shit. I just fluffed all over you.
You just got fluffed. There's merch in that.
We haven't said his name yet, but no one going to need to ask, say, fuck me.
Bruh.
He is a freak.
For any more Rooster that ever scored 30 or more tries, he's got the best try rate in the history of the club. 35
Mate,
tries, 33 games.
once again, shit down my throat in the comments if you want. I don't know what I'm talking about. But any Wallabies fan that wants to tell me he's not going to make our team, miss me. Absolutely miss me.
The only thing holding him back would be errors.
Sure.
That's it.
You're playing a home World Cup that you need to impress at. He's in your side.
Yeah,
I'd
I
have
don't
him
know
at the
much about
selection
Union,
table.
but surely.
I'd have him at the selection table. It'd be like a bunch of old dudes, and then just no one need to ask it. I reckon. You know when he came here too, like he wasn't like a Union poster boy.
He was in and out of the.
He was in and
Australian
out.
side. Yeah.
Like It's so hard to understand. Like I actually do watch a fair bit of units. It's hard to understand, given where they're at, that he isn't someone that you were trying to lean into. Like even the yarn of errors, it's like the Roosters have persevered with him because it's like, hey, like he's raw, he's new, but he's capable of, like, remember when he fucking jumped midair and kicked it twice and scored against the Dogs? Like,
crazy.
have you ever seen who else could you name that you can go, yes, they could do that? Like,
Yeah.
he sort of is like a one-of-one talent. It's crazy.
It's actually like he's actually one of those players that are a real loss to the game because he's such a highlight reel. Like he truly is. Like you could have a battler forward that's the best forward in the game, but like how do you sell that to a casual audience? It's very hard to sell that to a casual audience. He actually is like his try that he kicked midair or whatever, like that went internationally viral.
Yep.
So like in regards to losses to the game, he actually will be because he does things that he's willing to try, but also he does things that essentially no one else can do.
Yeah, but and I will say this though, Kempy, like obviously we're all rugby league through and through. I do want the Wallabies to do well, and if he's sitting in a fucking 22 jersey or something come next year, I'm gonna be. I know what I'll do with myself.
Like for the Wallabies running out. I know they were in the side together was it last year they were in the side together? But yeah, mate, he's a freak. Look, I thought Connor Watson was great. I tend to be on your page as well, mate. I'm a bit surprised at how, and maybe it is a testament of truly they were like, listen, you've got a once in a lifetime offer from PNG, you know, go and take that. But granted, they still only had 1 year left. Like they're essentially, it's more the Dragons they're allowing to go to because he could have gone to PNG anyway.
Yeah.
I'm a bit surprised the Roosters were so quick to move on because I look at it and I go, well, who's the form guy that's going 13? Like, yeah, Victor Radley potentially. But like, I think Connor Watson's such a fucking good NRL player.
Is it maybe a bit of a nod to, like, I wonder, are we expecting DCE to call it this year?
I'd say so.
You think so?
I'd say so.
I was going to say, I wonder if it's a bit of a nod to, okay, Hugo's not going to remain a centre forever. Maybe he goes into that 14 role next year if DCE does stay. Because it is bizarre to let Connor go. Like, with the amount of players they're losing next year, surely money wouldn't have been an issue.
No, and I
Losing Gus, Mark, who else you got? Like, you got
there are a couple more.
potentially
I mean,
DCE,
Toops potentially.
potentially Tupu, yeah.
Look, I think it's crazy because there's been a lot of yarns about Watson where it's like,
Did you think he played really well, just quickly?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy that he's going to get let go because the thing is, there's been a lot of yarns this year about him, and he's sort of the poster boy for this. Where people go, oh, the 6-man bench, you know, it's not as valuable to have a utility. And of course, there's truth in that because you can have cover. But if, as a Roosters fan, like you watch their games, him coming on at lock and playing through the middle, like he has changed games for us this year where we probably don't win without him. So I understand that. Okay, maybe him in a specific role, like when he was playing Origin when we won the series in 2024, like that role might not exist anymore. But him as a footballer generally, like Robson breaks his arm at the start of the year and he misses a bunch of games. We don't miss a beat because he jumps in at 9. Robson comes back and he plays that bench middle role. Like the speed of the game now, having a guy like that who can play through the middle is probably the most valuable it's ever been. So I think the Dragons are gonna, like, he could move the needle 3 or 4 spots on the ladder for them next year with the other guys that they've got around them in that pack.
In saying that, I agree with everything you just said. I think the game's really suited to him at the moment. It has surprised me the last 8 weeks or so how little they've used him.
It's bizarre.
Like you have a look against Melbourne, he only played 15 minutes there. Titans, he played 38. Dragons, 24. Like, it has surprised me how much they haven't utilised him this season.
Yeah, fair. That's fair. I just thought he didn't like blow anyone out of the water. I just thought the momentum that he created when he came on was mad on the weekend.
It's so valuable. I think, you know, the Chiefs would be stoked that they've got him for 28. But I'm looking at the Dragons next year. I really am. Like, I think Keon comes in with a lot of leadership and he brings what he brings, but there's a lot of young blokes there that bring similar attributes. I think Watson is such a point of difference for them where it's just going to be so exciting to watch that team next year.
Unfortunately, we cannot sit on the Raiders for too long, guys, because we've got to shorten the episode because we already did the Origin chat. Season's over, I think, for me, for the Raiders. I think the one thing I'll say is this, and maybe I'm being a Raiders apologist. I know a lot of people disagree with me on this one. They're like, oh, come on, mate, like, Ricky Stewart's been there forever. What's he actually done? Blah, blah, blah. My opinion, the bird's eye view of this young spine, that yes, it's still rough around the edges. I still think the long-term development of this club is heading in the right direction, even if they do finish 10th this year.
Yep, I 100% agree. And once again, which I don't think anyone's calling for Ricky Stewart's head or anything, but like, who are you going to go to? Who's going to fit better with what the Canberra Raiders do? Who's going to be able to recruit better than what Ricky Stewart has over the last few years. I think the Raiders know going into this season when they let Fogarty go and they had these young guys that they made a decision that we are looking long term, we are building for the future, and I think the proof will be in the pudding in the next 3 years or so.
Yeah, I think so. Just look at this spine. Like, I think Sanders has developed really well. I think Strange, obviously, you've got Paddy that's getting better. As in, he'll get more minutes when he'll get even better the more minutes he has in the NRL. I will say that right edge defense, it's like the black hole. No matter who they put there, they struggle. They struggle. And Ricky must be sitting there going, I don't know how to fix this. Now, granted, like Sasangi got put there, it got a little bit better, but yeah, they still struggle there on that edge.
It's wild how much they've missed him.
Yeah.
Jimmy Sasangi.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else quickly on the Raiders, boys? As I said, sorry as Raiders fans, but like we've just got no time and we have to.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, yeah, they're on the up. Like, it's not panic stations at all. I think that, you know, we put up a Ricky Stewart post the other day and someone commented saying, oh, he's done nothing at the club. I was like,
I get them all the time. So.
He took a team that was like widely tipped for the spoon. They won a minor premiership. Like, it's in Canberra. It's same thing we were talking about with Melbourne. It's so hard to get people there full stop.
He's got the best young spine in the comp, essentially.
And you want to look at who's a gun coach. Like, we spoke about Strange the other day. Kid who was playing Central Coast ball as a bit of a centre. And he's turned him into like one of the best 5'8" in the comp very quickly. Like, won a minor premiership last year. So you got the right guy at the helm there, and you've got some guys coming through. Sanders is going to be so special over the next couple of years to watch him just continue to evolve. I think they've just been unlucky. A couple of results haven't fallen their way, so very quickly it starts to look like you're pushing it uphill. But they're definitely heading in the right direction for sure.
Alrighty, on to the Dolphins defeating the Cowboys 40-14. This game for me was almost like a boxing match. And in a boxing match, you think of round 11 and 12, they're called the championship rounds. And what it was for me, this game, is that last 20 minutes, it was a championship round. And I think that the Dolphins showed their quality. And I think the Cowboys, although they've had a good season, showed that they're still a bit away from that championship level. Because it was a relatively good game for most of it. But when the heat got turned up and the pressure became more and there needed to be a team that took the game by the reins and increased the momentum, increased the tempo, the Cowboys just had no answer. Matter of fact, they actually crumbled. And I actually think this is a really good sign for the Dolphins that their ability to go, okay, you know, we've gone essentially toe-to-toe for 40 to 50 minutes. Now we need to ramp it up in the championship rounds. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, blew them away late, which good teams should do. Elephant in the room. Let's get it sorted. Chester try. What in fuck's name is doing?
Look, I know technically, you know, all that good stuff. Technically, it's grounded. Technically, you could argue Selwyn Cobbo had, but it's just like, okay. But for me, that hasn't been a try for 100 years.
It had feathers. It was quacking. It's a duck. No try. It's me.
Bizarre call. Like letter of the law, I understand. Like, but if you want to go letter of the law, Ben Travojevic, technically in the wording, it says that you can drop the ball to play it. So it's like, I don't know. Look, I can live with it because it's just like letter of the law, but it's kind of like, it's not a try. Anyway.
What I find bizarre is when you look at it and they rule that he's playing at the ball, you look at the last play of the Knights game on Friday night and Dane Gagai slaps the ball out. To me, that's playing at the ball. I think a guy diving from like 2 meters away to try and save a try when he's behind him and he's trying to get under the ball and wrap the ball, I think the onus should be on the individual that's got the ball to hold it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it was a deserved
At the very
try.
least, you should have to regather it. Like you go, for example, funnily enough, Galvin later in the week regathers it and kills the play.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah. I also don't think Chester meant to actually ground it with the other hand. I think
And that's what's funny is like sometimes when someone drops the ball and it comes off their foot, I think you've got to show intent to kick.
Yes.
It's almost like with the Chester one, surely you've got to show intent to score.
Intent to ground.
Intent to ground. But look.
With that out of the way.
Yeah. I can live with it, but it just didn't look like a try to me.
Dolphins, I love watching them play their footy.
They are red hot.
They are red hot. If they were playing Penrith next week, I'd back Penrith. If they were playing the Warriors, I'm starting to lean towards the Dolphins.
I think it'd be, I'm honestly 50-50 call right now. That's how good I think the Dolphins are going.
They are looking sensational at the moment. I really do hope they keep this form up. Injuries don't hurt them because I want to see them play come September.
They stay injury-free. They are a premiership threat, in my opinion. They are a premiership threat. Selwyn Cobbo is playing like Greg Inglis's spirit is in his body. He is playing unbelievable stuff. Like, I'm so happy that, for whatever reason, it didn't work out the Broncos. He has revitalized his career so much. And look, the talent's always been there. It's just more about making sure that the young fella's happy off the field. He's clearly happy as anything. That try against Tommy Chesbrough, like, that's a Greg Inglis try. Like, only Greg Inglis could do that stuff. Fending a bloke twice whilst running away, that's crazy.
Take it a step further. GI couldn't have picked the ball up like Selwyn did.
That's crazy.
That one-hand pick up with his right hand at speed, that was fucking crazy.
Insane. Like, he's just playing so well. How do you stop him when he's in this kind of form? He's too big, he's too strong, he's too fast.
He looks super fit, and I've said that a few times this year about him. I think this is the fittest I've ever seen him. And I think that he would also fit that mold of just so much talent that throughout the pathways, just do your thing, bruh. Like, would have always worked. And then I think in NRL, a couple of years when he probably wasn't as fit as he should be and got caught out a little bit on like the lack of detail that he probably never needed to worry about being so gifted. But I think you've seen him really bring that together this year. I remember speaking a few weeks ago about how, where do we see the Dolphins? And I sort of said in terms of the comp, I've sort of got Penrith, Wars underneath them, and then sort of daylight. I think coming into this game, the Cowboys are sort of one of those teams too, where on their day, like, they can sort of give good sides a run, but then sometimes they turn out some stuff that you just like, they're worlds away. This was a massive step in the right direction for the Dolphins. The fact that they had a try like the Chester one go against them, but were still able to just sort of be composed enough that they end up winning 40-14. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is so dominant. Like, I love watching them at the moment.
Kurt Donahue when he came on. I love watching him play. Like, that was an indictment of Cowboys. The fact, especially his first try. Sorry, he only scored one try. I think he set up another one. But the try that he scored, it was just like a flat foot, nothing play. And he just goes, bang, bang, thanks for coming. What's crazy is them at full strength, he actually struggles to make the 17. That's how stacked they are.
The other thing that's scary about them is that Herbie's 26. Like, Jermaine Osaka's going to leave next year. Cody Nagrima's getting older. Outside of that, there's almost no reason for this team to change in the next 5 years. Like, they are all 27 and younger, but all playing like they're at their peak at the moment. And, you've obviously got Izzy in the halves. Miso's 24 years old. Like, Jack Bostock looks like he's been playing first grade for 10 years. He's just come back from an injury, and in his, third year of first grade?
Yeah.
Where the first year he looked incredibly underdone. But they are just so well set up for the future. You got Finay Feliaki, who's just gone into the Origin arena. Tom Flegler back from injury. Max Plath is long. As you said, Kurt Donahue can't even get into the fucking side. They are in an unbelievable spot, the Dolphins.
Well, I think they have more Origin players than the Broncos this year. So you got Haas, Carrigan.
Yeah, they've got
Walsh.
5 in Queensland, and Isaiah's in the New
Blues.
South Wales squad.
Haas, Carrigan, Walsh, Stags. Yeah. So right now, I think they've got more Origin players, which is like insane to think.
Yeah.
Insane to think. Like, that's what the Broncos have been known for so long.
I think Bostock's a centre now too. Like, initially, I thought he might just be there as cover in the meantime. I wouldn't be moving him from centre from here on in. I reckon he's a centre.
They tried to start him at centre in the preseason last year, and it sort of got into it, and I think they sort of backed off it a little bit. But, mate, he looks unreal there. He looks so comfortable.
Well, there's an argument like Herbie and Bostock at their best footy is the best centre pairing in the competition.
Yeah.
And then you go Selwyn on the one wing and Asako initially. So it'll be the young fella. What's his name? That's Nafahu.
Yeah, he'll be on the other wing.
Who's also a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dare I say, if Mark comes back the other night and he doesn't score 3 tries and blow the world away, I think Bostock's probably sitting on a 6-man bench.
Maybe.
The Blues.
Yeah.
I think he's every
fair.
chance. Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, I wouldn't push back against it. He's been that good.
In fact, like, if they would have picked Jack Bostock, I don't know, me personally, I wouldn't have sat there and gone, oh, geez, Mark's unlucky.
No
He's
way.
been in mad form last
100%.
since
Like,
his return.
I think if he had been injury free this whole year, he's probably
And he
in
can cover both spots.
Yep. Big body too. So Selwyn Cobbo, I know we just spoke about him, but this is his stats. 2 tries, 20 runs, 320 metres, 73 post-contact, 9 tackle breaks, and 1 line break, 1 offload. So it's not like he had 4 line breaks, and that's why I had 320 metres. And then he had 3 tackles, only 1 miss. Like, he's a freak. And then you look across the rest of this side, like, you got Isaiah Katoa only getting better each week. You got Flegler that's going to get better. Finny Fuaki is going to get better from the time in camp. I mean, you got Jerry Marshall King having to play less minutes now because they can mix things up. Now he still plays around 68 minutes, but at least they aren't like have to play him 80 to a degree. It's just it's such a good win for the club. Like I think their confidence right now must be sky high. It must be sky high.
100%. Yes.
Like they really, when they turn it on, they can bash opposition into submission. Anyone else stand out for the Dolphins boys?
No, I think you sort of mentioned the ones. Donahoe was unreal. I think you sort of ticked all my boxes there.
I'll tell you what, if you Donahoe, if he can't get in that 17-inch week at full strength, like if I'm another club looking for whatever position he wants to play nearly,
Anything.
like get him there now. I would love him at the Broncos.
Surely they don't lose him, but like surely.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can't fit him in your 17, like he's going to get offered a bigger deal somewhere else.
Of course he is. Yeah, I would be trying like hell to figure out how to. It's hard when you're a winning side, but yeah, I just think that the confidence they're playing with at the moment is outstanding. It'll be interesting though having that many guys in Origin. If they can just get through that period, if they can jag a couple wins in those games, like when they're missing a lot of them. The back end, like let's say like it goes how most of us would expect, where they don't make the 4, but let's say they end up jagging an 8th spot. Fuck playing them in an elimination final,
bro.
Like,
No way. The last people we want. We'll just go quickly on the Cowboys because we've got to move on, guys, because we've already done the Origin stuff. Just they actually played really, really well for 60 minutes, or I'll say 40 minutes. Just when the game was on the line and the pressure got ramped up, they just didn't go with the Dolphins. They just had no answer.
Yeah, agreed. Boys, I really like this 5'8", Liam Sutton. I know you're going to have Tom Dearden return in a few weeks, but I really like him as a footballer. I think this was going to be a good litmus test for the Cowboys to see where they're at. And I thought the Dolphins would win, but I thought it would be a little bit closer than this. I thought we'd see more out of the Cowboys personally.
And it just if you're Todd Payton, you're sitting there going, oh my God, every time it looks like I got enough evidence to be re-signed, something like this happens.
Yes.
And the club goes, well, so...
And if you're the Cowboys yourselves, you're sitting there going, fuck, we were almost there to
nearly
re-sign, but you're also not enough of a train wreck right now like it was at the start of the season to move off you.
Well, even in that
weird
game,
spot.
If you're the Cowboys, even in that game, you're going, wow, what a great first 40. What a great... And then the second half happens. So hopefully they can bounce back. Okay, let's get into the Titans v. the Broncos, 28-23. Obviously, we'll get into the negative stuff about the Broncos, but I wanted to focus on the incredible positive of the Titans. That might be the toughest win I've seen a Titans team have in, I'll just say 5 years. I'll say 3 or 4 years. They had no right to win that game. They were under the pump, had no field position. The Broncos actually, outside of finishing points, actually played a pretty good game of footy. They almost, to a degree, I felt like they were almost a bit too complacent in attack. We're like, okay, we're going to win this game. We're dominating this team physically. It was one of the toughest performances by a Titans team I've seen. And that match winner from Kenny is one of the greatest match winners you'll ever see in your entire life. The bravery, the guts, nothing doing. There's no set-up play, pass, one off for the ruck or whatever. And to take the ball and the game into your own hands and say, give it to me now. I'm going to win the match for my team. And there were 2 people that landed on that ball at the same time. One bloke just wanted it more. And his name is Kenny, and he won the game for his team. An absolutely incredible win for the Titans. This is exactly what Josh Hannay has been trying to build towards. They've been brave before, but finally they've been rewarded for their bravery. Outstanding win for the Titans.
Yeah, 100%. I think that moment just sort of sums up Keeney. Obviously, the last 18 months has been fucked for him. Like last year, we weren't sure if he was going to play rugby league again. He started this season in pretty bad form. His confidence was just low to come into that moment. And, I think it's one of those moments we've spoken about for years about, who should be the Titans fullback, Jaden Campbell, Brimson. I think Keeney's the only one that scores that try out of those guys. I really do. Yeah. Like, I think he's the only one that puts his body in that spot to take that ball. Just an unreal moment for him. Also had a big play in defence a few minutes before that as well, cleaning up in the in goals. So, yeah, unreal from Kano Keeney. Great moment.
What do you think of the Titans, mate?
Yeah, I thought it was really impressive. I don't think, when you look at the team stats and they ran for less metres, they had less offloads, they had less line breaks. Like, you wouldn't really identify a Titans win like that, let alone against, like, I know the Broncos are the Broncos at the moment, but they also did win the comp last year. So, and they need to win now. Like, they're a mad side that's desperate for a win. So I thought to get it done despite that was pretty awesome. And, we know they've got guys like Keeney in the system there and Jaden Campbell who are capable of moments like what Keeney came up with, but it's one thing to know that, and it's one thing to put yourself in a position where they can win a game off those moments. Like normally with a Titans game, they lose by 20 points. There's a couple of mad tries, but doesn't make that much of a difference when you're down by that much, you know. So that was a crazy play. I just think that was very telling with Walshy. The fact that I think last year he probably just worries about stopping Keeney from getting the ball, as opposed to if I catch this and go the length, like I still, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't as much of body on the line as what you'd expect from Walshy. But in saying that, he still ran for 254 meters, broke 10 tackles. Like I still think that there's a lot that he's doing well. It's hard.
With the Titans, what I love about it as well is like when they win, it's usually off the back of incredible attack, and Campbell's had a field day. And don't get me wrong, Campbell played quite well. But this was just pure grit. This was just like hanging in there. Like essentially 3 of their tries were just hanging in their tries. Like the Philip Sammy came out of nowhere. They held the Broncos off their line for like 15 minutes straight. So that puts them in a position to, if they score one try, they're still in the match. And that's what I think Hane, and look, it's just one game. We've been here before with the Titans to a degree. But I think Hane is just going to be so stoked they won a gritty, tough game. Like you can build on that. You can really build on that.
I'll tell you who personifies that as well, mate. Ollie Pascoe, this hooker.
Yeah.
I think he's been a revelation for them, and can be nothing made me happier than looking at his profile on the weekend and seeing birthplace Gunnedah, New South Wales. Thank God. I think in the future he will be a guy we have a serious look at.
Okay.
I love him. I love what he's doing at the moment. He goes the distance. Defense, he's great. I think he ticks so many boxes.
Yeah, mate, he's been outstanding, and I agree. In regards to relative to the season, he has been a revelation for them, because before that, they were umming and ahhing about Sam Verrills. I mean, even in the trials, they were umming and ahhing who the 9 was going to be. And he probably would have been 3rd or 4th in the pecking order at the start of the season. And he's fought his way into it. Man, I've always been a big fan of Philip Sammy, so this comes as no surprise to me, but he showed his class on the weekend. Like, you know, obviously the line break, 271 metres, 68 post contact, 3 tackle breaks, a line break, 6 tackles, but he showed his class. He showed his class. I thought Campbell showed, like Jaden Campbell. He's electric, isn't he? He's a serious footy player.
He is one that, and I mentioned earlier in the show, but as far as this 6-man bench goes for Queensland, he'd be just about perfect. The amount of positions that he can cover and everything, he would be
as well as, you know, his ability to like, oh shit, we need points. Go out and just do something.
Go do something.
He can do that.
Yes.
He can do that. And he's done it for the Titans at 7 for quite a while, and now it's 6. But yeah, I thought he was great. I thought Brimo had his best game at centre in a long time. Just a gutsy win. Just such a gutsy win. Who stood out for you, Tommy Bomb?
From the Titans, yeah, I think really telling thing from them is that their back 5 are all actually getting through a fair bit of yardage. Like every single one of them ran through, for over 100 metres, which I think is very, very telling for them. Like that's not always something that you can just expect from them. And yeah, I think Phil Sami, at the end of the day, like he's sort of been a little bit up and down over the years, but I think to see him really starting to find consistent form at a new level has been really impressive. And yeah, just to double down on what Roos said before about Pascoe, like thank Christ he's a New South Welshman, because I think he's definitely going to be someone that ends up wearing sky blue at some point.
I thought, I was quite critical of the Titans in regards to naming a co-captain middle of the year. I thought Fodawaker, I was a bit surprised at it, but so far so good. I thought they were quite good together, Fodawaker and Tino. So hopefully that brings the best out of Mo Fodawaker going forward.
Is that a Mo Fodawaker as a co-captain for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think, yeah, it's interesting with it, because we did speak about that on Friday. I mean, he ran for 123 metres. I thought he was good.
And his average has been about 90 for the year.
Yeah, so I thought like there was a bit of an increase there, but I do wonder now how much of that is around like locker room culture, like at training, things that a lot of us wouldn't be privy to. Like, but yeah, I mean, they just beat the Broncos, and it was tough, so must be all right.
I thought Tino was much better in attack than he has been, much stronger hitting the ball up. I thought Curtis Morin had some moments off the bench, which were great. I did think they got quite lucky with that video ref call on the try line, like essentially 2 head highs and a hip drop. And there was what frustrated me the most about the head high bit was you can clearly see contact to the head. Now, if you want to set the standard that that's not a head high, it was only 5 minutes before that I think Ezra got done for a head high on Kinney. That was softer than what we saw in the video ref. I was a bit surprised that didn't get, at the very least, the Broncos didn't get the ball back. But you make your own luck, and the Titans did that with their defence. They did that with their defence. So, look, it is just one game, but think about how far they've come. At the start of the season, it was a disaster. Super gutsy. Hopefully they can build on that. Now, quickly onto the Broncos. Wow. I think for the Broncos, now I don't know, I don't know whose fault it is or whatever like that, but I think that Ezra Mann play at the end is evidence of a disconnected, let's say, not very happy playing group. And I don't know whose fault it is. Maybe it's the players, they've won a premiership, so they don't have to worry about it. But they're playing like a team, in my opinion, that needs to get in the beers together, need to get more connected, need to, I just want to see them smiling when they run out, ready to go. They don't look like they're enjoying their footy. And for Ezra Mann to take they're trying to solve things themselves instead of solving things as a team. And Ezra last year, there is no way he is kicking on the last play when he's got all those people out on the right. And it was essentially a nothing kick. Maybe Justice Arthur was trying to get there. I'm not sure. That suggests to me it's a disconnected playing group that needs to find a way to get that connection. Now, the reality is depending who you believe, again, I don't know what the answer is, but depending who you believe, Ben Teo used to be that glue, that connection between the coach and the playing group. But it is clearly missing. And I think that the game on the weekend is a perfect example of that. They did most things really well. They got field position. They won the ruck most of the time. But they looked clunky and disconnected. Root, what are your thoughts, mate?
I think disconnected is the perfect word for it. Obviously, everyone's focusing on that last play, but mate, I also thought there was the other one that Ezra Mann went through and it sort of looked like a simple draw and pass to me. And they just seem to be on different pages at the moment, the Brisbane Broncos. I'm so hesitant to go too harsh on them because they look the same to me this time last year. And then all of a sudden the world fell in and they blew it away. But I can't see it happening this year.
I don't think so. I think, look, this is a reality for the Broncos. And I know we don't, as Broncos fans, we don't want to talk about it. We've had essentially the greatest forward of all time say he doesn't want to be at the club anymore. And I know we've swept it. No, it's all good, it's all good. The facts are he's leaving for whatever reason. Payne Haas is leaving. We had Paddy Carrigan come out and say he's open to playing for PNG. We've had an assistant coach leave mid-year after a premiership because he didn't agree with the way things were being coached. They are the facts of the matter, and we can massage it and pretend that it doesn't exist and everything's okay as much as you like. But there is a lot that's gone wrong at the Broncos. And I don't know. I'm not trying to assign blame. Because I don't know. I'm not there. I can't tell you that. And this, as I said last week, this team hasn't, they have one good year, one bad year. And also, Michael Maguire also has a history of the GOAT at getting teams a premiership, essentially, but then also struggling the year after. So I don't know what the answer is, and I don't know who is to blame, but there's absolutely more going on there, surely.
Has to be, yes.
Everything I just pointed out, if that happened at any other club that wasn't as good as at controlling the narrative, would we be sitting here going, no, it's fine. It's all good.
I think it's interesting to look back on last year because a lot of people talk about their defence last year, right? I think the Panthers game, they scrambled really well. I thought there were certain moments in all those finals games where they scrambled really well, but for the most part, they were just crazy comebacks. And I think if you actually look at the run they went on last year, you look at the team, they were just guys who were playing with so much confidence. I think Reece Walsh's defence and his effort areas went through the roof last year, but he just backed himself in more than we've sort of seen him back in. You had Ezra coming off the bench for a lot of that, playing a role where he'd just come on, he'd bring all this physicality with his D. We're not seeing these guys play with the confidence that we saw last year. And I think that's the most telling point to me. You're seeing like Reece Walsh especially, he looks rattled after errors more so than usual. Payne Haas, even what he said last week was just so he's still running for crazy meters. But
for example, I've got to be critical. How is it good for Payne Haas's longevity that he's played 280-minute games after back-to-back? How can
makes no sense at all.
How can we honestly sit here and say that we're being fair dinkum about making sure his season lasts, or at least his career goes as long as possible? Are we serious? And I've got a friend that's a stats man, and some stats across the board is Payne Haas's attack is great, but if he makes 3 tackles, the likelihood he's going to miss his 4th tackle is quite high. Also, stats would suggest, so basically what I did is I went to my stats mate and I said, my concern is we haven't done well enough in recruiting depth in the forward pack. And I think in Michael Maguire and the Broncos' defence, I don't think they expected to win a comp in the first year. So I think that they were all kind of a bit I think Michael Maguire thought he had probably 2 years to build the squad he wanted. So it's not really a knock per se on the club in that regard. But the stats would suggest, so last year, statistically, Kobe Hetherington, if he made 3 tackles, he was actually more likely to make the fourth than not. And so he was doing a lot of our cleanup work in the middle, and we don't really have that anymore. Like, Paddy Carrigan plays as a more of a front rower. Payne Haas is getting played 80 minutes because he has to, because he's got all these injuries. I think our recruitment and retention hasn't been that great. Like, I look at it and I go, I love Jaseski's story, and he seems like a lovely bloke. Is it Charlie's Charcoal Chicken up in Brisbane? Get in there. But unfortunately, he missed a tackle and then dropped the ball after it, and they scored. I just think our recruitment and retention hasn't been great. Like, we've recruited Pezza, and now all of a sudden we're sitting there going, like, shit, will Duffy be the guy? Corey Pakes, unfortunately, defensively, sometimes he can be a bit leaky. We're missing Billy Walters massively in the middle there, like massively. There's a lot of concerns.
I think the one positive I took out from the other night, and thank God because you needed it, Xavier Willison. I thought he was good.
Bro, he
gets
so
through
good.
so much work. For a big man, the
It's
motor on him
crazy.
is crazy. Yeah,
He was phenomenal. Him and Payne was phenomenal as well. He's phenomenal. I think he's the kind of guy that he's earned the right. I mean, we're missing Jensen as well. Like, he cleans up a lot of our stuff as well. So, like, there are reasons, but Willison was great. Haas was great. I will say, and both teams did this, we are playing with fire, leaving blokes out with head knocks. Like, I get it. Win at all costs. I get it. I've been in the system. When the huge lawsuit comes, you're going to be whinging and complaining and saying, oh, but, it's rugby league, blah, 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 and you'll be worried about what's going to happen to the game. The amount of clubs that leave players out whilst they've been essentially flatlined is, honestly, it's unforgivable. Because what is that extra 10 minutes getting you? What is it getting you? Yeah. Other than putting the entire game in risk and also putting that player in risk. Get them off the field if it's a clear head knock. Don't wait for the friggin' NRL to force you off the field. Get him off the field. So that was a little pet hate of the game. But yeah, there's clearly concerns there. Like, that they look flat, they look disconnected. I do believe in this playing group. I do believe that with some tweaks, they're actually not that far away from what they need to be. But can they make those tweaks quick enough to finish in the top 8? It's getting less likely each week.
I think the other one is just the Pat Carrigan injury is enormous.
Huge. Absolutely huge. But, I feel like a lot of these other stronger clubs, they would have players that can come in and so Payne Haas isn't forced to play back-to-back 80-minute performances after an injury. Whereas at the moment, they're doing an admirable job and they're trying their hardest, but we just don't have the depth. Like, our edge back row depth. Like, we're missing Jordan Ricky. We're missing him massively. And it's a compliment to him how far he's come. But, like, we let go to Kate well a few years ago. That wasn't Madge that did that, obviously. Anyway, to me, I think the main concern is it's not actually ability. It's no longer really injuries to a degree. I do think at times Reece Walsh does look a bit hindered. But I think it's a connection. I think that sometimes it's all well and good for a club to be professional all the time and, serious and intense and it does work. But at the end of the day, we like to romanticize rugby league players and say they're machines. They're machines. They just need to train even harder. At the end of the day, they're young men. And if they're not happy, go look at Manly. Do you reckon Manly's training any harder?
No.
No way.
I think it was really telling in the press conference when Madge was talking so much about, I've got a playing group that's really trying. It's just not working at the moment. Like, you look at the roster that they've got, and week to week, just how it looks different. Like, even against the Dragons, like they were poor against the Dragons, but at least in the last sort of 15, 20 minutes, they really turned it on in terms of, like, they were going edge to edge. Like, similar to what they looked like last year. Now, I'm not wrapping them heavily for that, but it's sort of like, at least somewhat looked like the DNA of the side that won the comp. Like, on the weekend, the way they went about that last play and trying to chase points was just nothing like what we'd expect. Like, it didn't show the confidence that they've been known for. So yeah, lacking confidence. And if you've got a coach that has seemingly had all the answers before, and he's got a roster like this, and he's saying we're just trying hard, it's just not working. Like, it's concerning. Well,
that suggests to me there's a lack of connection, and they're not keen to go out there and play. They don't 100%. Anyway. So I guess we'll see. But guys, the KO can't miss was the Kinney try. Watch all games live and ad break free on KO. This week's games are Souths versus Broncos, followed by Dolphins versus Roosters on Friday night. Then Super Saturday, you've got Warriors versus Sharks, Eels versus Raiders, both exclusive live on Fox League, included with KO. Then Sunday, finish it off the round with West Tigers v Titans. Remember, the only place you can watch every game of every round live with no ad breaks during play is Fox League, available on KO. The cricket action continues as the Aussies now head to Bangladesh for an ODI and a T20 series with tough subcontinental conditions, set to test their white baller credentials. Watch Bangladesh versus Australia live and exclusive on Fox Cricket, available on KO beginning today. And the F1's EuroLeague continues as we head to Barcelona for a true test in speed and strategy. As the championship battle intensifies through European summer, expect another crucial weekend with big implications on the title fight. Watch Barcelona Catalonia Grand Prix exclusively live on Fox Sports, available on KO races on 11 p.m. Sunday. Alrighty, Panthers defeat the Tigers 68-0
What a nail biter.
in an absolute spanking. Panthers were essentially perfect. Like, granted, they didn't complete perfectly, but they were essentially perfect. And Tigers were diabolical. Let's speak about the Tigers first. And don't worry, Penrith fans. There's plenty to talk about with Penrith, so we will talk about it this week. But I'll go to you first, mate. The Tigers' performance.
Look, room for improvement there for sure. I think we can probably all agree there. I'm just looking for some positives here. We lost the first half.
What did you learn? That's the main thing, you know.
So, too much. Almost too much.
Okay.
Walked out of there.
You study for too long. You're supposed to have breaks.
Walked out of there. Undergrads walked out with PhDs. Us Tigers fans yesterday on Sunday. Sorry, it was a lot. First half 36-0. If we're looking for some positives, only learned the second half 32-0. Thanks to some wayward goal kicking there.
So you essentially won the second half, really.
Well,
think about it.
If that trend continues after we played them another 5 or 6 times, we might challenge them and win a half. It was a tough one. It was not good. I think a few guys there a little bit overawed by playing the Penrith Panthers. Our depth was tested. A few guys kind of came in. Obviously, we've still got some injuries. I don't think that undoes 68 points worth of damage. But, yeah, our own worst enemy at times. A lot of kind of just unforced errors, dropping the ball second or third tackle. Penrith off the next set would go down the other end and score. You can't do that against a good team, even when you're at full strength, let alone when you're decimated a little bit. So it was just a perfect storm. They absolutely spanked us. A lot of guys there, they were rested from last week. To'o, Cleary, Yo all came back in. They all killed. Nathan Cleary was just mucking around on another level. He was unbelievable. Unfortunately, I thought these days were behind us. Sadly, no. This is a bit of a reality check. Benji did not miss the boys in his post-match presser. I thought he was pretty direct there. Will be interesting to see how they respond, but it was toughwatch.com/West Tigers out there at CommBank on the weekend.
Is this just perfect storm? You played the best team in the competition at the worst time. Are we starting to get concerned? I think I saw a stat the other day since Romy signed with PNG. I think it's 200 and something points to something else. Where are you sort of sitting, Ham?
Yeah, well, I'm not liking the fact that we're conceding sort of 40 plus regularly. Obviously, we conceded 50 against the Sharks, 40 against the Storm, 40 again against Manly, and then we produced this one on the weekend. That's not good. Early in the season, everyone was going, look how well they're defending. After the first 5 or 6 rounds of the season, we were one of the better defensive teams in the comp. Yeah, we're missing a few guys, but yeah, it's really gone by the wayside now. It is concerning stuff. It's just gone back to a lot of people told me not to get carried away early in the season. I ignored them. I'm probably starting to think, maybe I should have reined it in a little bit.
In regards to Jerome Luai, look, I think up until him signing, he hadn't finished his job, but he was doing his job.
Yep.
So his job was to bring them higher standards, get him into finals footy. The worry I have for Jerome is that, geez, it can change quickly. And if this continues, all of a sudden it'll go from one of the more beloved signings, like that he really came here, took us off the bottom of the table, created new standards. If this trend continues and you just fall off a cliff, it will truly go down on one as of the worst signings, even if it's not factually true. Like even if you could say, hang on a sec, well, like let's say these guys finish like 14th or something or 13th. That's still better than the wooden spoon. However, he needs to find a way to turn it around as a squad, because otherwise the legacy it won't be there. Even if it's not true, optics matter. In the back end, if you go all the way from mid-table to the bottom, it's going to be a really negative end to such a great signing initially.
And optically, there won't be anything worse than if they were to lose at Olakau'atu Oval in the farewell against the Titans this week, which that price for the Titans, I like what they're doing at the moment.
They were gutsy as last week, the Titans.
Yep.
Nervous times.
I can't really work that one out either, but yeah, Tigers 13 plus still last game.
Well, look, I just think Luai needs to lean into all the great stuff he's done.
Yep.
He's got to find a way to dig deep into himself, and doesn't mean that has to make. Look, I think making the 8 is something that
Yes.
at the very least by the time he leaves, because he leaves after 27. Hey, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I think like 10th this year and then 8th next year. I think you could give it a tick and say, you know what, he truly did what he was brought to the club. If you guys go 14th, 13th, it's very hard to say that the purpose he was brought for was achieved.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's such a polar opposite to last week where he was unreal. Led the charge in defence. He was up in people's faces. He, and we did a clip last week saying how well the Tigers defended and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I've certainly been taking that one a few times over the past 36 hours. Thanks for that, everybody. But yeah, I think they came up against a team that was humming. They had a bad day. It was a bit of a perfect storm. Hopefully they can just put a line through it. Bounce back, but far out.
I think they can turn it around. I think it is Penrith. They're just another level. And when I say another level, maybe 20 levels above essentially everyone else. Plus, I do think the emotion of the week before and how much they did put into it. Like, this is what you see with a growing team or a growing club that's going from the bottom of the table trying to make it to the 8. You see dips and stuff like that.
Yep.
Whereas you look at Penrith, like, what is their strongest asset? It's their ability to stay at 8 out of 10 pretty much every single week.
Yep.
What do you reckon, Tommy?
Well, it's funny, like, obviously 6-8-0, pretty big learn. But by circumstance, I found myself out at Concord on Saturday, and I was at their captain's run. And they had the music on, and Benji was jumping in and running shape with the boys, and they were all laughing and up and about, and the standard looked really high. I actually thought to myself, like, fuck, like, Tigers have come a long way. So this wasn't on the cards my end, but yeah, I think it's hard to pin it on the Luai thing. Like, I think it's not. It's just unfortunate. Like, he's obviously doing what he's doing. I think it's gonna be big for the game, but
Well, that's the thing though. Like, whether it's true or not true,
yeah,
optics are the only thing that really matter, and that's what's going to suck for Luai,
yeah. Because I think, to be honest, even watching it, I know it's hard to say when they just got beaten 1,000-0, but like, the optics of their culture was so good on Saturday. Like, it actually looked awesome out there as a group, and a lot of younger guys starting to come into their own. So I think he's definitely done a good job of that. So I think it is going to be a shame if they can't sort of turn it around. He won't be remembered for having such an impact on that. But, you look at, I think it was a bit of a perfect storm. Like, Panthers ran for triple the number of meters. Like, it was 15 line breaks to 1. Like, that is crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
And the errors, the errors coming out of your own end to start the game were just like, what is happening, bro?
Terrible.
What is happening?
Oh.
And then there was 2 or 3 offloads straight to guys in Panthers jerseys as well. Like, it was just all going wrong.
And whilst it might have been perfect storm taken on Penrith, like just optically looking at their last 6 weeks of footy, it's worse than I thought it was, realistically.
Yeah.
Like, they played Canterbury last week, they won that, but we'll get to them soon. Canterbury's a literal dog's breakfast. They are all over the shot.
Mate.
Well
They had a bye the week before that.
that was a good one.
That was good. That was gutsy.
Don't steal it. Manly put 46 on them. Melbourne, who have been out of form, put 44 on them. Cronulla, who you don't know where you're going to week to week, 52 on them. I said perfect storm earlier, but it's been a fucking bad 6 weeks.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, whether it is factually correct or not, this is why Luai gets paid $1.2 million a year to turn clubs around. So this is why it is on his shoulders. He's the club captain. He's on the big bucks. And he would know this better than anyone. That's why he's a leader. All good leaders know that they're responsible for turning the club around. That's why he's getting paid so much. So it's really important that he does. I do think you'll find a way. It's just, I guess it just depends on what the draw looks like. Look, if you're playing all the top dogs, I think it could be a very tough end to the season. If you can find some middle of the table teams to like clash with, then maybe it won't be as tough.
Is Adam Dewey back this week? Is he a chance?
There's a pulse, I think.
Because Jock Madden's going to be out this week. He got injured on the weekend. He's playing Origin this week.
Yeah, that didn't come at a great time.
So Tristan Hope will come in then, will he?
Yeah, probably.
And he struggled last time against the Storm.
He
was it?
did. Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing Jared Hayward, the young guy, come in. I don't know if
Yes.
they want to kind of rush him in, but like he looks pretty good. Schoolboys.
So they play after the Titans game, which, I mean, I guess that's a good matchup. I don't love it, though. They then play the Dolphins after that, followed by Newcastle, Dragons, Warriors. So some hard games in there.
I'm just trying to have a look. Yeah, like we could sit here and pull apart some of these performances, but like, was there anyone that played well for the Tigers?
I thought Terrell May ripped in still, but sort of beyond him, it was pretty slim pickings, wasn't it?
Like Freddie Lussick got 2 tries.
Straight through the middle. That was really
That's
bad.
tough.
Around the
Like,
ruck.
Yeah,
like-
you just can't.
Yeah.
It's just not NRL standard. You know,
No.
unfortunately, it just isn't.
Terrell was tough, but like he made
Yeah.
48 tackles, which
Yeah.
in a team that you get pounded, that's one of the toughest days of work of all time.
And he still ran for I think 125 meters, which is good.
I reckon like the inexperience and like the youth of their side sort of had a light shone on it yesterday, though, because like, sorry, not yesterday, Sunday. I just think that when you're that young as a group, you find yourself down sort of, I think it was like 24-30 nil already, and you're trying to 2-pass out of your own 20, like against the Panthers. And we spoke before about a few of like the turnovers, some of the intercepts and stuff. Like it was just an absolute shit show. And it just, yes, Panthers were on, but you could tell the inexperience and they were rattled, and they definitely contributed to making it go from bad to worse. Like there wasn't.
It was a possession rate. It was 64% to 36. The whole game. Tigers only had 11 tackle breaks in total compared to 46. I guess the big concern for the Tigers is the gap in physicality. Like that's what I get worried about, where I go, oh shit, like they actually don't right now. And granted, there are still some injuries, so it's not like they're full strength. But like they actually physically can't go with some of the top sides.
Yeah.
But maybe it was just because they got fatigued. Like your first 5 minutes, I thought you actually defended really well. The first 5 minutes, they propelled them multiple times off their line. But yeah, it really
Just
does.
The next 75
Were tough. Yeah, the next 7 are tough.
a little bit to be desired.
Yeah, unfortunately, whether you agree or disagree, it really is on Jerome Luai's shoulders to turn this around. Like, and Appy as well, But you know, he is the main guy on the big bucks.
If you're Benji, you make mass changes this week, or do you give that squad an opportunity?
Yeah, I don't think. Do they even have the luxury?
I don't think they really have that many they can
I don't think
make,
they've got
right?
much. Who are you going to bring in, really? For most of them.
I know we disagree on this, Sammy. I did think that there were some early decisions from Ivan Cleary's game planning that really did kind of expose some, like for example, that Nathan Cleary try, like that was brilliant. Sending those 2 front rowers through on a flat line on the line, and then Nathan Cleary hitting out, like clearly identifying they can get a bit loose around the ruck there if guys go through flat. Now, I know we disagree on this one, but like the Lindsay Smith pass, I thought that was brilliant coaching. But we'll get to that in the Penrith stuff. Anything else on the Tigers, mate?
No, disappointing. Although I will say, Tigers fans, at least, hopefully you're not also North Wales Crusaders fans, because they got towed up 134-0 by the London Broncos on the weekend. So it could be worse, unless, of course, you also support that team in the English Championship, in which case, commiserations on a very tough weekend.
So you go Titans, Dolphins, Knights,
Yeah.
Dragons,
Yep.
Warriors, Doggies. So there's a few games you can pick up here. Raiders.
Yep. We've already got more wins now than a couple of the Spoon years at this
Yep.
point. We're 6 and 6.
Eels. Okay, it's not a bad run home. Like it's actually, and then you got a bye, and then round 24, you've got Dragons again. So it's actually not a bad run home.
Jooks at Twilians. Did a number on there last year. So
Just on that, do you reckon this shows how big the outs of Dewey and Twal actually are? Like, I'm not saying, if they're playing, all of a sudden they're going to beat the Panthers.
I think Twala especially.
But do you think it
Twala's a big
shows
ruck.
how much they miss in terms of experience
I
and what those
definitely
boys bring?
think-
Like,
yes, I don't think it undoes 68 points worth of damage, but they're big. And then you throw in Taylor May, Sam Finder. There's still some big big outs, but I don't think it would have stopped the Panthers. They were humming either way.
I think I would just say to Tigers fans, your team needs you. Get out to Leichhardt this weekend, fill it out.
it big.
Don't go watch soccer for a month overseas.
Yeah.
Your team needs you right now.
Right, like literally needs you more than ever.
Don't go watch another sport overseas for a
Yeah.
month.
Well, duty calls, Tough job, but someone's got to do it. So I'll see you in a couple of weeks, boys. And the Tigers will be back in the 8 entrenched. And the Socceroos will be out of the group stage. See you guys.
Okay, I tell you what. Service of the week. It is the absolute clinic that the Panthers put on the Tigers. So, guys, don't forget, end of financial year is coming in hot. If you've got an ABN, need a car for business, don't overpay. Luke the Car Man's hooking up exclusive pricing for Bloke members before June 30. Shoot him a DM. Trust me, even if you just want to get an idea of the car game and what's good, what's not bad, what's not good, he's the man to speak to. LDC_01. He's also a finance man. Jet skis, motorbikes, caravans, you name it. Luke can finance it. Any deal, any budget, all credit welcome. Australia-wide DM Lukey. And of course, ex-rental news cars, used cars, whatever you're chasing, you get it at Astley Mazda. And right now, buy any car through Luke, mention Bloke, and you not only get the best deal, but you could score a Brisbane Broncos corporate box experience with NRL legends at Suncorp Stadium on Saturday, August 1st with myself, Luke Draye, and Alex Glenn. And also, if you do join us, you and a friend, Lexi will take you into the Broncos dressing shed after the game as well. So an incredibly money can't buy life experience. Okay, Panthers. What an absolute clinic. They essentially, now, it's not a perfect game because they made errors, but honestly, it was close to a perfect game. And the scary thing is I feel like they've been building to this since the start of the season. At the start of the year, what did we see? We saw Cleary taking more risks. We saw the whole team willing to risk a little bit more, and it all came together in an absolute clinic. And honestly, now I know, look, Tigers didn't play well. The playing group didn't play well. So I'm not saying it's just a coach versus coach thing. But I would say I reckon Benji learnt a lot against Ivan Cleary with some of those plays they were putting on. That early play with Nathan Cleary tight around the ruck with 2 front rows hitting short balls. The Lindsay Smith one, they clearly identified something there with the cutout ball off a kick return. I thought it was a masterclass in coaching as well. And as I said, I know that Tigers made a bunch of errors or whatever, but I don't think that the Panthers get enough credit for how well coached they are. Like, how many teams have they pulled plays off against? How regularly can you look at the Panthers and say, oh shit, that's a play I haven't really seen happen very often, but it's just torn that team apart. The Panthers do it all the time. Absolute masterclass. They right now, they are the favourites by a country mile. They almost look unstoppable.
You mentioned this in the green room earlier. You got a lot of pushback from one resident panel member who's not here anymore, Hammy.
Respectful.
Yeah, I think that was the man that was hurting.
Yes.
There's no doubt. They pulled them apart in this game, and they've done it on a number of occasions throughout this season, 2 different sides. Mate, the play that stands out for me is that Nathan Cleary kick over to Brian Todd.
Oh, my God.
Fuck me. How good is that?
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
So, would be so easy to fuck that kick up. The stuff he does is unbelievable.
Like, we're just not appreciating it. We really aren't. Like, he does it so often, so regularly, that we're kind of just used to it. Like, that the ability to get the ball across to Toto in that fashion, like 9 times out of 10, you're shaking that kick. Yep. 9 times out of 10, you're shaking that kick. And just all the other little things they did, like they clearly identified coming out of trouble, the Tigers' defense, it squeezes in quite a lot. So, Jenkins is down the sideline nearly every second time he gets the ball. Too big, too powerful, too clinical, too well coached. And I just think that Ivan Cleary, because he's at one club, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. But as I said, think about the amount of times they've had a very specific play made specifically for a team that has worked. Now, tell me another club that as regularly as the Penrith Panthers does that.
There isn't one.
There just isn't.
It scares the shit out of me, Kempy. Like, I think I love with that kick. Nath would have done 10,000 of those in the last 12 months. I love it. He's all reps, and the fact that we're seeing him get more confident in trying these different things, that he's backing himself more, put it that way, which is mad. But I think, to your point, like I think back to that first comp they won, the prelim against Melbourne, they win 10-6. One of the tries is Cleary kicks crossfield to Fox. Because he's identified, for I think it was Critter, but that identified Fox comes really far in early in the tackle count.
Yep.
That proves the difference in that game. They go on, they win the comp, they win the next 4, right? Then they had that play against Melbourne in 2024 where they ran the same play 3 weeks in a row, but just different variations on it. So they're obviously very well prepared in terms of their review and that. There's a lot of things against the good sides that they keep for the back end. Like They spoke in both those scenarios I spoke about just then. They said they identified that during the year, but they held on to it for the back end. So I think, as you said before, they identified a few things here with the Tigers where they really went after them and absolutely nailed it. So they end up with, a 68-0 scoreline. What scares the shit out of me is what do they know about some of these other sides we're talking about, like say like a Warriors, where we saw them get kind of close the other week. I know both sides were missing a couple, so it wasn't a completely accurate picture, but what have they ID'd about some of these sides that they haven't used yet? That scares the shit out of me.
Remember, it was your connection in Vegas, where they went over to Vegas and they had identified, was it AFB?
Yep.
Someone, and they had basically Isaiah Yeo was set up to score that try or set the try up or whatever. Like they do this on the regular, the Penrith Panthers. They identify things that no one knows or sees, and they just keep it up their sleeve and they nail it. They absolutely nail it.
That Vegas one, I can't remember the exact context, but it was absurd. Like I think from memory, did they get Nathan Cleary held on last on AFB to get him
something
at
like
first
crazy?
marker?
That's exactly what it was. It was that on last tackle, if I think something about just AFB being really slow off the line or being really wide at A, so they let Nath go in on 4th.
Yep.
And then they just hit Isaiah front ball.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
And that's what I mean. Like, we often talk about, there's levels in this game. There's levels between players. And, I'm speaking about a bloke that's freaking way better than I'll ever be. But there's levels to coaching too. And Ivan Cleary right now is on another level than any other coach in the competition. And it doesn't get spoken about enough. He regularly tears apart your favourite team. Tears apart my team. Tears apart your... You know what I mean? Like, he regularly does it. They've lost one game this year. And they played like shit. And it wasn't that big of a loss. They've only lost one game. We're not even talking about it.
You know what, too, just on that, Kempy, I'm hyper confident that he won't be the coach of the year. I think it'll be either Foz or
Because
Justin
it leans
Holbrook.
a lot on most improved a lot of the time.
100%, which I think, and you've made that point before, I agree with it, because I think objectively, if you were just to give it to someone who just watched everything without context, like, how could you not give it to the guy who's lost one game and it's like the 5th year in a row that they've been this dominant? Like,
There's not a single team in this competition where he hasn't created a play for and torn them apart with it. Or a style of rugby league, or and the scary thing the Panthers have now is they're heading into finals footy with multiple ways to beat you. If you want to have a grind session and win, and we can beat you 12-6, or if you want to gunsling, we'll gunsling. And I wonder whether that was a little bit of a reaction to last year with the Broncos. I wonder whether Ivan Cleary went back to the drawing board. And it did line up with, you've got to keep evolving your game. You can't have the same. But I wonder whether Ivan could see, the kind of direction the game was heading and said, look how rewarded Broncos were for this gunslinging style of footy. Okay, let me take a little bit out of that. Because all of a sudden, you've got this Panthers side that goes, if the game, for whatever reason, the environment suits gunslinging, let's do it. Whereas, did they really have that 2 or 3 years ago? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Well, I'll give you a good example of that from them. 3 or 4 years ago, if I had suggested to you guys that Tungo would play back row, you would have thought I was an idiot. And I think with the game speeding up so much, and given the fact that there's been different games where they need a point of difference and they want to fit him in somewhere rather than throwing him on at centre, or, we've seen like in Origin, for example, Maroons have always been privy to throwing on like a outside back or a half through the middle just to be a point of difference. He was willing to throw Tungo in at the back row, knowing that with the speed of the game, you can probably get away with the fact that you're not as big, especially like when there's fatigue set in. And was it the Manly game, I think, where he actually ended up playing an integral role? He changed the game and was the key difference in the end. So, I think he's going to go down as one of the best ever without people fully understanding. It'll just be based on the moments and the results. I think if you spoke to a lot of players that have been coached by him, they would have a much greater appreciation for the detail.
He's unbelievable. Like, their ability to continue to evolve and dominate. Like, again, we're talking about a team that's only lost one game this year, and it's not even a fucking headline. That's how dominant these guys are. It's not even a headline. Like, this, 5 years ago, this was a huge deal. Like, the Panthers are on this crazy long winning streak. Now it's just like, yeah, sweet, no worries. It's just amazing. Like, his ability to, and I will say, I'll back your point, NRL clubs absolutely do hold plays in their back pocket for finals footy. 100%. When I was playing, we did it. Clubs do it. So, yeah, the scary thing is now not only does he have the mastery of coaching that Ivan does, he now has the squad that can do it as well, that can really, gunsling and tear a team apart. In regards to your performances, mate, who stood out?
Well, just on that as well, as you mentioned, they've lost one game. Stop me when they lose their next game. Titans, Cowboys, South Sydney, Broncos, Eels, Raiders, Warriors in round 23. Be tight, but if I'm Penrith, I'm going, well, we just beat you without all of our Origin players that we rested. Roosters, Storm, Bulldogs, Tigers.
They might go undefeated. Seriously. It's a joke. It's an actual joke.
Yeah, and once again, this is without a home ground too.
Just on the road, just flogging.
On the road, just belting teams.
Yep.
It is amazing.
They have the best attack by 3 points per game and the best defense by 5.
Yeah.
Just that doesn't usually it's like one or the other. Usually it's like best defense and then second or third.
And usually it's like half a point or like 0.2. It's 5 points is actually outrageous.
Defensively, 5 points.
Defensively, 5 points. Attack.
I can't
3
believe the Bulldogs beat them. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Like,
oh. Man. Like, and I say this respectfully, like, Freddie Lussick was a squad player. And their systems are so good with him at 9, the first touch point to every game. Not only did he service Cleary really well, he scored 2 tries. It's just like it doesn't matter, but like to a degree, like for example, Blaze Talangi hasn't even had that good of a season. And they're still dominating teams. That's how good they are. Like, what happens when Blaze Talangi hits his straps? What happens when he starts killing as well? Like, it's just amazing. Look, I like Nathan Cleary, obviously, 3 try assists, 118 metres, 2 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, 2 line break assists, 10 tackles, 0 misses. One guy I want to give a shout out, and I know I do it pretty regularly now, but I just still don't think he gets the credit. Moses Leota's ability to win the ruck is like a joke. Every team he plays at Clubland, that first 20 minutes, he will win the ruck. I'm trying to think of a big game where he didn't win the ruck, and I honestly don't know.
Yeah, and I think for a long time we sort of went, okay, but he's with Fish. Now he's not. Nothing's fucking changed.
Well, he's got Lindsay Smith with him, who is more of a 13 than a front rower, honestly. He's more of an Isaiah Yeo than a front row. Whereas at least with Fish, you had 2 guys relatively similar that could like punch holes, get quick play the balls. Moses just does it week in, week out. Like, I honestly cannot remember the last time Moses had a bad game, or even when he was injured. Like, when was the last time he was injured as a front rower? Then you've got Liam Henry coming, like the forgotten man, coming off the bench, rampaging through teams. I actually think he's going to be a bit of a loss. I'd be interested to see who's going to replace him at Perth. He was incredible off the bench. So you got Liam Henry, 17 runs, 163 metres, 58 post contact, 2 tackle breaks, a line break, 32 tackles, only 1 miss, no errors. You've got Scott Sorensen, who has also been a bit of a forgotten man. Like 2 or 3 years ago, he was their main momentum guy. Now all of a sudden, he's almost just a cherry on top to a degree. He came on and did a job, or when he was on, he did a job.
Just on Moses Leota, as you just pointed out, assuming he gets to 20 games this year, he's already at 13. That'll be 8 from the last 9 seasons. He's played 20-plus games. The last 3 seasons, 23, 24, 25, he's played 26 games in each of those seasons.
In the most brutal, fittest system the game's essentially ever seen, he's still playing every week, essentially.
Yeah. Assuming, fuck. How many games would Penrith have played last year? 27 minus the buys. That's 24. They played 2 finals games or 3?
Last year,
it must have been 3 because he played fucking 26. So, yeah, he played every single game last season.
Oh, yeah, because they missed the 4.
Yeah, and the years before that, he played 26 games. So that's essentially means he's missed 1 game across those 2 years.
In the front row of today's game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what sucks about Leota too? Like, him and Fish have obviously done what they've done for New Zealand, and that will add somewhat to their legacy. And I think a lot of people who closely follow the game appreciate it, but it sucks. Like, Moses, from what I understand, has missed the origin cutoff for New South Wales by about 5 minutes, which just sucks. So I think, obviously, they've only changed that rule this year, but had he been available to be able to play, let's say he got a few origin series under his belt, like, I think it just would have changed his legacy so much in terms of how he gets remembered. Like, obviously, Penrith
Imagine
fans
how much he would suit Origin too.
Yeah,
100%. Like,
he would just come on, punch holes, and just get quick play the balls.
He's 30 years old right now. Like, he doesn't look like he's slowing down in any way, shape, or form. He's already got 215 games of first grade. Like, he'll be a 300 gamer. He'll be one of the few that has 4 comms. Fuck knows how many more he's got by then.
he might have 30 by then. Fucking hell.
Mental.
Seriously.
Alamotti, phenomenal. Another guy, couldn't even get a club when he was at the Dogs. Couldn't get a club. Goes to the Panthers. We're hearing whispers that he's going to be a back rower. And then in one of the hottest fields in rugby league, the hardest backlines to get into, he's one of their better players.
Yeah,
and then you got Jenkins fucking ripping on the edge as well.
It's bizarre, though, how last year I remember talking about Alamotti and going, fuck, like, if there's an injury or two, is he a chance at Origin? But with the emergence of Casey McLean, he's just fallen out of that conversation. Like, Alamotti isn't even someone that gets thrown up now.
Like, he was nearly one of the best
another
outside backs of the final series last year.
100%.
Like, he's so good. Then you got Jenkins. He's making line breaks for fun down the edge there. 5 line breaks.
But out of their entire back 5, the only guy who has not been spoken about by anyone for Origin this year is Alamotti. Everyone else has been thrown in the conversation for their position. And I think it's only because he's playing next to Casey. Well, he's not playing next to Casey, but you know what I mean? Like, Casey's on the other edge, just taking all the limelight. It's unbelievable.
Toto looks fresh again, which is fucking scary as shit. He's 2 tries, 20 runs, 252 metres, 58 post contact, 7 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, line break assists, 3 offloads, 5 tackles, and doesn't get the ball kicked to him as well. So it's just all hard yakka. It's just all hard yakka. It is like, bro, these guys, like, I know people will disagree with me here, and they talk about, the St. George Illawarra Dragons, the Dragons in the, was it 70s? Whatever it was, the 11 in a row.
60s. Yeah.
For me personally, this is the greatest squad we've ever seen.
Yeah, miss me. This is Dragons played a different sport, let's be honest here. In the salary cap era, to be doing what they're doing when you have to play 27 games a year plus finals, to do it back-to-back years when no one's been able to do it, crazy.
Like 4 out of the 5 years, they've like if you take out last year and you put in those other 4 or 5 years, they might have lost like 6 games, 7 games in 4 or 5 years.
But also in 2020, I'm pretty sure they lost 2 games all year, one being the grand final. And they didn't win that comp.
Mental. Absolutely mental. I thought Lindsay Smith, I think Lindsay Smith, the fact that I've had Isaiah Yeo come out and say he's going to test the waters, I reckon Lindsay Smith is their long-term 13. I reckon that's what they're looking at.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like,
Yeah. I think they need to go out and find another prop. Maybe it's like one of the young guys there, like Toby Crosby or one of these guys. But once again, this is the other crazy thing. Like during this whole run, it's not like they've gone to the market and brought everyone.
No, they got guys that weren't really wanted. Like
Who have they brought? IPAP, Blaze. Is that sort of it?
And Blaze is an untested rookie. Paps was not really wanted at the time.
Alamotti they got from the Dogs when he'd sort
Wasn't
of
really
fallen out of
wanted.
favour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so that's the other thing about Alamotti. Out of favour. Like he was brought through, I'm pretty sure he played Harold Matts at like 14 or something. Like he was playing 2 years up during junior reps, fell out of favour there. So they got him when he was sort of been a bit down on confidence, and they've turned him into what he is. You got Jenkins there who couldn't even make cups sometimes in Newcastle. Like they haven't gone out and bought superstars. They've made them superstars, you know, like it's crazy.
Alrighty, guys, it's State of Origin time, one of the best times of the year. It's all powered by Jim Beam. I've got to ask you guys, first of all, were you going to watch Origin? I know I spoke to you on Friday, mate. Were you going to watch it? Roo, were you going to watch Origin Game 2?
I'll be in the CBA Centre of Excellence.
Okay.
Where I belong.
Which is just upstairs?
Bunkering down.
Okay, bunkered down. Now, I need to ask you guys. So Jim Beam knows every group. In every group, there's always one person who flakes at the last second. The person who says they'll be there then cancels because something's come up. They've dislocated their little pinky. And Jim Beam are on a mission to solve the cultural epidemic that is flaking on your mates. And I wanted to ask you, Roo, who is the most likely to be the biggest flake as a mate of yours?
Tim Williams. There's no doubt about it whatsoever.
Wow.
Flaky as they come.
Okay, what's some of the best excuses he's used before?
Well, there was obviously, I cop stick every single year for leaving Magic Round early. He also leaves every Sunday morning, conveniently. Never mentions it.
He also flaked on the entire show and quit.
That's true, yes.
Yeah, so there's that.
Every single time.
Yeah, disgraceful stuff. All right, guys, don't let them remain a flake. Remind them, footy's best enjoyed with mates and Jim Beam. Head over to Jim Beam AU to see how you could best enjoy the footy together. And don't flake on your mates. I tell you what, an Origin win with some Jim Beam next year on the rocks. Whew, I tell you what, doesn't get much better than that. Doesn't get. You're on the rocks guy. You're a Coke guy.
I'm a Coke guy.
Okay.
Keith Urban and Coke for me.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay. Let's get into the rest of the game. All right, Sharkies defeat the Dragons 34-12. This is a tough one. Dragons, I thought they started the game relatively well, at least in the first half. Second half, not so good. Sharks, basically they did what they had to do. Not overly convincing, but at the same time, like as in, it was a convincing win, but like it is against the Dragons. It's hard to be too harsh or negative on the Sharks because like they did what they were supposed to do. They're chalking wins up. How do you be too critical of that?
Yes, for this game, hard to be critical on them. It's just the flow of this season. I still have no idea where I have the Sharks placed this year. It's a top 8 roster, in my opinion. They should be there based on the last few seasons. But, yeah, I'm very concerned about them, especially now that you are finally starting to see some players actually leave this side and go elsewhere. They obviously lost that right edge heading up to the North Queensland Cowboys. So, a little bit concerning there. You've still got to bring Hines back into this side and make that all gel. Brayley's out at the moment. That's obviously out of their control. But yeah, just as a whole, mate, I thought this would be a year that I'd be looking at the Sharkies as a top 4 side that can win a premiership. I'm not even in the ballpark of looking at them like that at the moment.
What do you reckon, Tommy?
Yeah, I think this game sort of sums up where they're at. You know, like they find themselves down at halftime and then seemingly just run a train through them in the second half for the most part. I don't understand. I don't know if it was because there was other stories going on. When was the last time that an entire edge just got poached by another side?
Just went to another club.
Yeah. Like they've just obviously like eyeballed these two guys, centre wing gone bang. To me, that's a fucking massive deal, especially like North Queensland. It just didn't really get a lot of airtime. Everyone announced it, but that's pretty big. No, like those two guys when they leave this side, like to be honest with you, I don't have them getting anywhere near it anyway this year.
Yep.
They're two huge outs going into next year.
Yep. In regards to individual performances by some of the Dragons players, boys, who started here, me is Will Kennedy. And I've said this so many times, so I won't stick on it too long. But like, I do really feel like he's in this really unfair spot because he's playing what you would pay him, maybe even outplaying what his pay packet is. But he just can't seem to get that longer contract. He's obviously re-signed, I think, for 27. But I thought he was phenomenal in this game. Outstanding. I get it. It's against the Dragons. I get it. I understand all the arguments about going to another level in finals footy. Trust me, I'm the one that I make some of them with the boys. But I thought he was so good.
Yeah, he was very good in this one. The other one I really liked. He only played 35 minutes, but I thought Jesse Colquhoun, when he was on the field, very good. Ran for 137 metres in 35 minutes.
Is he doing enough to get that starting role off you? Cam McInnes?
I think he's getting very close to it. Cam McInnes only played 40 minutes as well, to be fair. I'd be leaning towards yes at the moment, yeah.
What do you reckon, Tommy?
Yeah, well, I think they're going to need to make some sort of change in order to try and compete at the back end because it's interesting, like the Kennedy thing. For a number of years, that's like been the main sticking point. Do you think, hypothetically, if, like, say, you did give them Walsh at the back or Teddy at the back or Dill Edwards at the back, I know they all of a sudden become a better side in theory. Do you think they're still good enough to beat a Penrith? Like, I think
that was my argument the other week. Like, and I was putting on the Kennedy glasses, but it's like even if you put Walsh in the back, has Kennedy and Hines proven as a duo and Brayley that they can go to another level to win a comp?
But that's what I'm saying. I think there's enough holes or enough of a gap between the rest of their side and what they're capable of. And say like a Penrith, I don't think it's that one change that makes a difference. I think if you watch week in, week out, like Kennedy's always sort of one of the top performers in terms of his run meters and always involved in a couple of tries. He saves a lot too. I just think he's been hard done by like certain moments in big games. Like for me, one of the biggest ones that stands out when he got caught in the line when Munster kicked through from the 40 last year in that prelim, and it ended up being pretty costly. Like I think people sort of have this narrative in their head around Kennedy. I don't think the Sharks are.
See, I reckon they need a front rower more than they need.
I agree. I 100% agree. I think that they're lacking that extra point. I thought AFB would be that point of difference, but I still think that there's just the rest of their pack brings a lot of the same. I mean, Jesse's been great.
Jesse Colquhoun, could you start him in the front row? I mean, the bloke friggin', as you mentioned, Root, 35 minutes. 35 minutes, he had 14 runs and ran for 137 metres. In 35 minutes, without a line break. 20 tackles, 0 misses. Like, that is a knock. Far out. Is there any work?
You blokes reckon that they need a front row forward more than they need more out of fullback?
I think so. I just think that, like, I don't think AFB is enough with the current forward pack to go toe-to-toe with teams like Panthers. I'd be more, like, let's say you had AFB and then one of the best young forwards. Like for example, Haas has Carrigan, Wilson to lean on. Could you imagine if, let's say, Wilson and AFB were lining up? Because, like, a lot of the time when they play Penrith, they don't even get good ball to try to score a try. And I personally think they need another front rower before they need a superstar fullback. Now, granted, it's a bit of a weighted one because you're saying a superstar fullback versus another front rower. Now, if you said superstar front rower or a superstar fullback, I'd say superstar front rower.
Yeah, okay.
I reckon if you could just get another 5% out of Brayley, Trindle, and Hines, then that's enough.
See, I personally think that because Hines came in that first year, had the Dally M season, I think it takes a lot of heat off where he's never the guy that they talk about. It's always Kennedy. Like, I think the biggest problem with their side in terms of competing with the top teams is we've seen, and we've spoken about this a lot, but when Trindle's out and Hines steps up, they look unreal, and vice versa. You know, if Hines is out, Trindle steps up. When they're both there, especially in bigger games, when you don't get as many attacking opportunities, it seems like there is a bit of a weird dynamic there in terms of like whose team is it, who gets first shot at having a crack. You know, so I think because of that, because Hines did have that year, rather than the narrative being, look, he's only played fullback for 3 or 4 years of his career, could we go for a top tier 7? And could that be the difference? It's not even spoken about. It's just Kennedy. Because Kennedy hasn't had one of those years where he's won a Dally M.
I mean, like before they signed Adam Fanua-Blake, who I think we would all say he's in that echelon, front row forward. Like, they finished 2nd, 6th, and 4th the 3 seasons coming into that. They then added Adam Fanua-Blake to the forward pack. Am I forgetting? Is there a front row forward that they've lost during that period? That's
no, not at all. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I look at Will Kennedy's stats over the last couple of years, and the last 5 seasons, he's had one season where he's had double-digit try assists. He's had one season where he's had double-digit tries, essentially. I don't think that stacks up to the other great fullbacks in our league. I don't think it's even close.
Look, I'm not saying he's stacks up to the great fullbacks. I'm saying when you look at how much he's being paid and you also look at those other 3 people in their spine, that I think if you could squeeze a little bit more out of them, that's where you get the... Whereas, like, right now, the reality is who could you possibly sign at the Sharks at fullback? A, because you can't, you don't have the money.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
B,
fair.
who's on the market?
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think value-wise, Will Kennedy is unreal. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is that they need to take a punt on a young guy that they can get on unders somewhere to play there. Because, I just
compare, okay, so their front row is an age, now, and granted it's, it's a year later, but like when I look at, Isaiah Yeo, Leota and Fish, for example, when he was there, or Lindsay Smith, that compared to AFB, Rudolph, and either McInnes or Colquhoun, like I just think that is a tier above. Whereas when I go Brayley, Trindle, Hines, Kennedy, like I don't feel like that's that far off some of these other spines. Now, granted, it's still not as good as like your Broncos one when they're on, or the Penrith one or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I just think that Anyway, either or. To be honest, I don't feel that strongly about it where I'm going to die on the hill. But
I just feel like they've been top 4 consistently the last 6 years or whatever. Like for me, if you're making it there, but then you can't win those big games, like it's the icing on the cake. I think they're missing there. And you're right. Could they get more out of their halves? 100% they could.
Yep. Because have we ever seen a final series where both halves are playing, killing it?
I mean, we haven't seen 6 weeks where both halves are killing it, realistically.
Yeah. But honestly, either or, I'd be happy. I'll put my hands up, I'd be happy. In regards to some other performances, I mean, I tell you what, like whether we're unsure about the Sharkies or not, Mulatalo is just like, he's fucking unbelievable, that kid. He's not even a kid, my bad. Young man. He is so good, bro.
He doesn't look like he's he doesn't look like he's just come back from injury.
It's mental.
It's
actually mental. And talk about like he's one of the rare wingers in the comp that is the heart of their team. He's 26 still. He's 26 and he's the most top try scorer for the club or whatever.
Yeah, I think he's second or third. I think
He's pretty far behind, but he's second, I think.
Yeah,
He's
the amount of time he spent in first grade.
He could have another 8 years in the league.
Yep.
He is the heart and soul of the side. He is so good, so underrated. He's a top tier winger and probably doesn't get spoken about in the top tier, but I think he's a top tier winger.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, we can't spend too long on Dragons, guys, because we've got to move on to the next game. We've got to wrap it up because I've got an interview very soon. So apologies, but Dragons, second half, really poor, started well, but yeah.
Ronaldo's third.
Sorry?
Ronaldo's third on that list.
Third, okay. On to the Dogs, Eels.
What happened in the second half, Kempy?
Sure
as shit,
God.
nothing happened in the first half.
Like, look, a win's a win and good on the Dogs. Like, a win's a win, but that was against the Mitch Mosesless Eels that are sitting second last and have essentially the worst defence in the competition.
Yeah, the Mitch Mosesless, the Jermaine Hopgood-less, the Junior Bolo-less, like the list goes on and on for Parramatta. It's, I don't know. If you're right, a win is a win, but fuck, if I was Canterbury fans, I would be beside myself because they just don't seem to be getting better in any way, shape, or form to me.
They had 57% possession for the first 20 and hadn't scored a try. Hadn't scored a point. Like, the amount of times Galvin will hit short but then not go on a short side is bizarre. Like, if you hit short and get a quick enough play the ball, you can just run over the try line. But in the first 20 minutes, Galvin and Burton had nearly 15 runs combined. That's your 6 and your 7. And look, I'm all for running halves, but like, that's too much for both of you. There's got to be some kind of they have backed themselves into a corner. I hate to harp on it because I feel sorry for Galvin. He didn't put himself there. They've selected and put him there, and they unfortunately, is O'Sullivan injured? He's not. He was on the bench, wasn't he?
Yep.
I just think they need to make the tough call.
They actually flirted in the end of the first half about pulling the trigger and putting Sean O'Sullivan into the game.
Like, what more do you need? Like, that attack, it was so pedestrian. And the thing is tough is like, Their forward pack and their entire team is working their backsides off to get field position, working their absolute backsides off. And honestly, they have a short ball and that's about it.
They won run meters by 500 meters. They won post contact by 175, 7 line breaks to 4, 54 tackle breaks to 29, 12 offloads to 6. They won by 2 points and were lucky to win by 2 points. Mate,
the Eels missed double the number of tackles. Like, the Eels missed 60 tackles and the Dogs missed 31.
honestly, an impressive loss for the Parramatta Eels, all things considered. Like, they didn't have any ball in the Bulldogs half the entire first half. I think this is... it's weird to say a win could be the low point of the Canterbury season, but for me, I think it's close to it. That was disgraceful yesterday.
Like, look, I've been very forgiving with the Dogs, and, you know, for many years I was be patient, and to a degree we were right, be patient. But there's got to be some accountability. They were on top of the table. Yep. And now they're playing like that. Like, I'm sorry, but there have been decisions made by the higher-ups. I don't know who made the calls. But it has completely derailed the club into a potential rebuild. Not a premiership, into a rebuild. And, like, I know it's super harsh. And look, I just think Serraldo's too smart to be making such calls. Like, there's got to be something else going on. It just doesn't feel like Hayward, for example. Only a few weeks ago, they came out and told everyone, no, Hayward's our 9. Like, he's our 9.
I feel so bad for their fans. Like, I think there's a certain Perth-bound halfback walking around the south of France at the moment with his chest puffed right out. One of the great I told you so's. Like, as you said, Kempy, from top of the ladder to essentially looking at a rebuild. Like, they interviewed Critter straight after the game, and obviously, like, him being like a captain and being a good leader, he sort of said, look, when we're going how we're going, it's just important to get a win that puts us back in the right direction. And I get that, but are you feeling that way in the, like, as Roos sort of alluded to before? I think the Eels are sitting there going, fuck, we have a lot of guys missing, and we're pretty brave. We didn't get a lot of footy. Like,
mate, they got to give Critter a break. He's clearly busted. If he's not good to go for, and I said this, I've been saying it for a couple of weeks, but, like, he clearly looks like a couple of reads that he's missed, a couple of balls that he's dropped. He is
like,
busted.
He's got
injured.
one arm, this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at what point, and I get that they're under pressure to win, and he's such a big culture guy as well as the moments he's able to produce for their team. But fuck, like, I reckon 3 weeks ago was the point to go, hey, yeah, we're really struggling, but we need you to be 100% at some point this year, because like, I don't think he's going to get there. Like,
so Connor Tracy ended up starting at fullback, didn't he?
Correct.
I'm sorry, but, like, really? Kiraz had shown...
To be fair, Kiraz was next to no hope to play this game. If you listen to Serraldo after, he sort of said on Saturday he thought there was no way Kiraz could play. He didn't train all week, all that sort of stuff.
Torn calf.
If you cross the dotted line, the white line, you're in.
Yeah, I don't think tore his calf in the warm-up last week, Kiraz, and played that game and then played this game as well.
27 runs.
7 offloads, Kiraz.
27 runs, 246 metres, 83 close contact, 9 tackle breaks, line break. Like, that's the thing. The team is working their dicks off to get good field position, and they cannot execute. Like, I would love to... I want to know what they do at training. Like, obviously they're training hard. There's no denying that. But, like, they only have a short ball or a grubber for a repeat set, and repeat sets don't mean anything anymore. Like, surely...
I can't believe how many passes for Canterbury went over the sideline yesterday too. Like, it was either short ball or throw it into the third row behind our wing. It was insane.
Like, I actually thought Max King and Leo Thompson were really good.
Really
yesterday.
good.
Like,
yeah.
I actually think, like, as I said, like, if you just looked at what their job is, which is win the ruck and get field position, or even the outside backs, you would go tick, tick, tick. Like, they did exactly that. But these huge decisions that have just... It is torn the club to pieces, these decisions. Like, for example... Who started at 9? Was it who ended up starting? Because Bailey Hayward, did he start at 9? I thought he did.
Yeah.
He did, but he got named at 14. So what's doing there? Like, what is he? Was he injured? Like,
mate, yeah.
Who was going to be the 9?
The whole thing just doesn't make sense. So, like, even with their back rowers, you know, Tilly Tupanua, who was playing for him there yesterday, and, you know, if you wanted to spot someone up, like, we always wrap Ronald Volkman in terms of his upside, but probably the biggest concern with Ronnie is, like, his defence, and always has been. Like, fuck having Satili Tupanua run at you in terms of getting him one-on-one, which I know like the front door thing's not going to work. It's sort of all they've got at the moment at the Dogs.
Well, it did work finally. He bumped him and scored.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Right? But they're very, like most weeks, that's just their go-to, which I get. But then they actually had Jamin playing there yesterday on the other edge. He came through as a half. Like, he can ball play. We've seen that through the middle. Like, surely you can get a bit more creative. I get that both your halves, like the strong suit is that they run. But it's almost like there's nothing else outside of that. So if those guys aren't breaking tackles or getting quick ball, they really struggle to convert it into points, obviously.
You had Kiraz run for 246 metres, and then you had Connor Tracy run for 286 metres. Like that, so they're doing everything they can. Bronson Sheriff, 143 metres. Critter, 129. Tuala, 151. Galvin, 188. Burton, 133. 135. Like, then you've got Max King, 154. Leo Thompson, 178. Like, oh, man, I would love to know, like, what when they have a conversation internally, like, what is that conversation? Like, is it, mate, you're not getting to the right points on the field? Is it, like, the sweeping out the back, it's too obvious, you're not running the right lines? Like, I would love to know what it is.
Well, after that game yesterday, I think that it'd just be a lot of what the hell is going on. Like, I don't think it was just such a bad turnout in terms of, like, to not be able to convert points against a side. Like, they didn't come up against a team where it was like, oh, these guys are known for just scramble. Like, fuck. I reckon the happier side yesterday walking into the sheds would have been the losing side for sure. They would have felt like at least we had a lot of guys out. We were pretty brave. We didn't get a lot of ball. We missed double the tackles. Canterbury would be sitting there going, we should be a premiership threat. We're the only team that's beaten the fucking Panthers somehow.
Oh, man.
And
It's
yet
so
here we are in a brave absolute poo slinger against the Eels, like getting up by 2 for a penalty that, 10 years ago you wouldn't have even looked at. It's crazy.
So, yeah, that's a tough thing. I actually thought their forwards were good. I thought their outside backs were relatively good outside of a few errors here or there. They did everything right, but this inability to convert to points is the bane of their existence. And I don't know what direction you go. Like, I personally think you've got to bite the bullet, put Burton into the centres, especially with Critter now injured. Give him a rest. Galvin to 6. O'Sullivan to 7. I just think that's the only answer, surely. Surely they make the call now.
Sure.
Probably
Probably not. But probably
surely.
not. Let's be honest here. Like,
He's injury free. Like, you can't get worse. Like, and what's crazy is what's so bizarre about all this is, like, Sean O'Sullivan's he's not even a world beater. Like, he's had opportunities before, but surely you've got to try something.
Well, you need to be converting into points because, like, if you were to just look at stat sheets each week, their run meters would be right up there, like, especially their back five relative to other back fives. They're always running for a lot of meters. They're always doing a lot of work out of their own end. So the fact that it's not converting to results, I think it speaks a lot to how far their defense has fallen. But I think because their attack is just so one-dimensional and just they've got this complete inability to convert into points a lot of the time, we don't really focus on the fall in defense. At least last year, I don't think the attack was drastically different. They had a lot of guys working hard out of their own end. They had running halves, once Galvin took over, obviously. But this year, like, when you're letting in 2 or 3 tries a game that we wouldn't have even dreamed that you would have let in last year, of course you're not going to be in the conversation at the back end.
It's bizarre.
They got a bye this week. They take on Manly after the bye.
Like, it looks like they're going to get absolutely towed up.
They should get absolutely rissoled.
And maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're wrong. We'll put our hands up. But look, they got the win. As I said, I think most of their side, you could say, did their job really well. It's just inability to convert to points is I've never seen anything like it. Especially with such quality players like Burton's a gun, Galvin's a gun. They're just playing out of position. You've got 2 6s playing. But look, we've spoke about this before the season started. So we're speaking for us. Okay, quickly on the Eels. Super gutsy. And I don't want to single just this guy out because I actually thought when he was on the field, he offered quite a lot for their attack. But the silver at the end there, like the escort penalty, then the head high. It's just like you're sitting there as Riles in the coach's box going, like, come on. Like, everyone knows you can't escort. Everyone knows it. The game's on the line. It's a dropout. And it's a Tilly as well. And then to go out and try and put a shot on when the ruck is moving at that pace, he's got so much potential. He was so good when he did actually, earlier in the game, like the try that he scored, and he was really good down the short side. It was brilliant. but just two massive errors.
Yeah, he's got brain explosions in him, unfortunately, Talon. He's a super talented kid. I find it interesting, like Riley Smith's just playing reserve grade now. I sort of thought that he's fallen out of favour wildly quickly.
Yeah.
Can't quite make sense of that.
Yep.
I thought that try saver that Katoga had on Satelli, unreal. Incredible. And Jack Williams, I thought he was fantastic as well. And Dylan Walker through the middle too.
Yeah. No, they were brave. They really were brave. I thought Volkman's long kicking game was phenomenal, actually. That kick towards the end where he kept them in their own... The repeat set that De Silva escorted, it's like that was a game-defining kick. Gets them in their own end. He ended up kicking for 851 metres. I do think one of the positives of the season for the Eels is, A, they've shown so much fight, but B, a guy like Volkman, like he truly has come into his own. Now, and I know his defence still can be like touch or go, but I think he's been great.
Yeah. As you said, it's just his defense, the only thing holding Ron back. Shout out to Brown, who made his debut off the bench. Obviously, came up with a key moment, setting up one of their 2 tries. Congratulations, Toy.
Yep. But yeah, so super brave. Unfortunately, guys, we have to wrap up because we've got other stuff we've got to do, and we've been going. We did the Queensland stuff and the Blue stuff earlier. So apologies, but we'll get back to normal programming next week. As usual, make sure to give Rule a follow. Give Tommy one a follow. As usual, we'll go fuck ourselves. Thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.